Hello, everybody. My name is Reallyuglybug, and I'm joined by Zac. Uh,
Hello.
this this is it's part two of Zac's Kongo game on an Imperial diplomacy map. Um, yes, apologies for the delay. That I I did forget about this entirely for a while. Then we had some scheduling issues. But so if there is any like us forgetting anything that happened that we discussed, that would be the explanation as to why.
Yeah. It's been a little bit, so we're going to be less fresh, but I expect as we get into it, the memories will come back.
Yeah,
Um, so we want to jump
absolutely.
right in.
Yeah,
Um,
we
so where we
could.
left off, this is the winter of the fourth year. Um, just looking at my builds, I had 4 builds this year,
Yeah,
just like the previous years. And I put down what I see as relatively standard. The only one, I guess, question here is if you want to put army in Mapemba or army in Pango. I felt like the 2 fleets was kind of obvious because if you scroll over to the South Atlantic, that was starting to get significantly filled. Oh, and specifically we see
yeah,
Poland coming down to the South Atlantic, which I remember at this time I was trying to prevent, but seeing it happen anyway. Yeah, I was not happy with this. I was worried about a potential hostile Mapuche and Guarani. And so the 2 fleets were just very much a defensive necessity before anything else here. Um, Looking at the rest of the armies, I think the army in Darfur was a large reason for, if I remember correctly, like why I did my fall tactics the way I did, so that I could keep Darfur open for a build in the first place. And then
yeah,
just very important for controlling this region, very useful. Even if they weren't immediately going to be relevant to this Ottoman Abyssinia situation, it also is very helpful for being able to flex over to the West Africa because it's great for being able to walk right into Kanem Bornu, and that has a lot of helpful tactical implications. And then there's this Mapemba versus Pango choice. Pemba is definitely more anti-Portugal, and I think that's actually basically the reason I built this. Not necessarily like to attack Portugal, but because I had rotated Kismayo up and away, and I was going to continue rotating Kismayo towards the Ajuran home centers, I wanted to have my army back that I was doing previously that was just stationing itself in Bemba and like looking menacingly at Barot's and Moravia and ensuring that Portugal doesn't stab me and potentially takes Barot's in the future by negotiated agreement because again, Portugal had agreed to give me Barot's at some point in this game.
yes,
Um, yeah, so that kind of explains my builds. Just looking at some of the other nearby things, we see that France is giving up on Madagascar entirely. This is actually partially at my urging. I wanted France to disband here, both because I wanted Portugal to get Sakalava at this point. Portugal's a really good ally of mine. But also, not only does Portugal get dots here, but also Portugal has an excuse to send these fleets in Crozet and Mozambique away and leave me to my 3 dots in South Africa
yeah,
because they all want to go to Madagascar.
yeah. And Portugal can actually just take all of Madagascar, almost guaranteed here.
Yep, there's basically no units.
Yeah,
Um, if I remember correctly. Oh, this is also right after Portugal does a weird pseudo stab on me, I believe, in the previous fall as well. I think Portugal had just supported Ogeron into Cape Co, if I remember correctly, and then I retreated into Mapondo. I think that's what had just happened this past fall. So my trust in Portugal also isn't sky high at this point, so even more so need for that army next to Barrotes, and even more so want Portugal to be moving this Crozet Basin away.
yeah, makes sense.
Yep. Looking over at West Africa, the Dutch take off Aja here. I'm pretty sure this was negotiated and the Dutch is back with working with me at this point. The reason I wanted them to pull Aja here is so I could backfill Aja and kind of take on that role. And the thing is that we know that the Dutch are hemorrhaging builds all over the map. So it's about when can they take off the units safely. And this was a case where they could safely take off Aja and I could fill that unit's role without having to worry about it having bad tactical implications for us, I
Yeah,
believe. Yeah.
yeah,
Whereas in later cases that, it's not, you can't always pull off a unit without having consequences, but this is one of those cases where you kind of can. So we thought to take advantage of that.
yeah, makes
Uh,
sense.
the rest of the Dutch's disbands also all around the map were also, I think, somewhat at my urging. I recommended that they disband in South America. And at this point, I'm very much giving global advice to both the Dutch and Portugal in terms of what disbands and what like builds to be making every winter. And as a way for me as a little regional stuck in Africa to have wider board impact. So part of why I want the Dutch to disband all of South America is both because I don't think they can hold on to South America in the first place, but also because I want this front to open up between Poland and England faster. We noticed that Poland is pushing into South Atlantic, and there's this worrying possible alliance between the England-Poland mega alliance that's like a really big problem and was, topping the impunity charts together. Like they're a very strong alliance. And then there's this South America regional triple between Mapuche, Guarani, and um, Aymara, and I did not want those two alliances to link up and then all fight me. That would be terrible. So they have a lot of inherent tension over South America right now. You see England just kind of expanding into South America, and those dots inevitably have to go to Aymara and Guarani. And by the Dutch taking these units off, those units start to come into conflict a year earlier, and they start to fight over who gets those gains a year earlier. So that was the other
Yeah.
reason. I just think that these disbands are amazing for me, and also for the
Also,
Dutch in this position. Yeah.
it looks like either England is going to war with the Dutch here or is planning on convoying that all the way to.
Yeah, I believe England even told me that they were building Army Antigua to convoy to South America. Because at this point, I don't think I'm fighting England even. Really, I mean, there's some tensions with this England-Poland alliance, and I don't want them coming into South Atlantic, but we're not really majorly fighting at this point, I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
Because I think, yeah, England got Cormonton back.
Yeah, and I believe England had just supported me into Agadir or something like that. But yeah, so England had volunteered that information, which I was very happy to hear about. I didn't really do anything or tell anyone about that information, but just knowing that, I was like, oh, England wants to convoy into South America. Yeah, the regionals are not going to be happy about that one.
Fleets from Ottomans are also very nice.
Yes, they are.
Though the Abyssinia disbands are not favorable.
Yeah, I was pretty unhappy with these Abyssinia disbands. At this point, I think Abyssinia was basically probably even ready, but like they were basically doing no press and gunboating. Um, these disbands were not great. The army mecha build also I was very unhappy with because Ottomans didn't clear this with me or even say that they were going to do it. And I think I explicitly asked them not to because they can just convoy that over with Suakin and it's functionally another army on the African continent. And if there's anything about me this game, it's I do not want other people having armies on the African continent.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah. One of the jokes, just to remind you, was the cult of purple hexagons, which is the idea that only Congo can have hexagons in Africa.
Yeah. So far, doing good progress.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still a lot of different colors of hexagons on the map in Africa.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that pretty much sums it up for this winter, so we can move into spring.
Yeah. That's just clean maps. There we go. Here's spring.
All
Spring,
right.
not spling.
So let's see. Lots of tactics here. Um,
Yes.
yes.
I was looking at this before we started recording, and I was like, I see this convoy from Loango to Notse. I was like, that looks really good.
Yeah, I really
Um,
like that one. I was often using convoys this game to try to figure out, and even planning them like 3 phases in advance often to try to plan how to move my units most efficiently and effectively. And this is one of those cases where that's really good.
yeah,
I think if we remember previously also, Mapuche was really upset about the concept of me convoying into Nantes, and here I just get it for free. Another interesting thing here is we see Mapuche get um, pushed out of Ouagadougou here. Um,
oh yeah, by the Dutch.
yes.
Wow.
It seems like they're maybe getting stabbed as well. I think they are, or at least not communicated with by the England Poland alliance.
Yeah, England moving out of Cormonton is interesting.
It is really interesting. I'm not sure what to think of that one here. Oh, I think part of it was the entire phase I was baiting a convoy into Mandan as well. And I think England's probably trying to
Oh,
cover for that convoy. Maybe
see.
that's what's happening here. Although actually, yeah, I did have that
Yeah,
convoy available. Yeah.
yeah, because you had. Yeah, you could have done that with those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like how you've just built up an entire wall of armies in West Africa, though, in one turn.
Yep.
That is very good.
Yep. I'm very happy with how this position's developed. I believe the Dutch's move here was actually I don't know if the Dutch's move here was at my suggestion. Maybe it was, but I don't know why I would have told them to kick Mapuche out of Ouagadougou here. So
Mapuche
maybe the Dutch's
retreats to Niani, though.
oh that could have been it. But I
That's
don't
the
know.
only option, which is
Yeah, which I'm
nice.
happy with. That's great. Yeah. Anything that's moving people's units generally further away from me, great.
Yeah, like yeah,
Maybe
that
this was
is
just Dutch's only real good option. Maybe that's why I suggested it. I probably did suggest
yes.
it because it seems like at
The
this point the Dutch is
South
working for me.
Atlantic is a mess.
Yeah,
Goodness.
yeah,
Yeah, I wanna look at Africa before we go look at South American stuff,
yeah,
just a little bit.
sure. Yeah, we look at Ottomans and Abyssinia tactics.
Yeah,
Um,
it,
oh, this is where Ottomans actually stabs me. I forgot about this. So before this phase, Ottomans were like, and I were like tacitly working together, or we had this like three-way chat with Portugal and Ottomans as well, and we're all just like friendly. And Ottomans and I were trying to figure out how to split the Abyssinia centers. So the split that Ottomans offered and I had agreed to, which I wasn't particularly happy about, was I get one of the Abyssinia home centers and Ottomans gets everything else. Ottomans gets Hawara, Ottomans gets literally everything else, but Ottomans offered me Gondor. And I accepted this, not necessarily even being happy about this and expecting war to break out at some point in the future anyways over this, because of the way the Ottomans had been playing up until this point. But turns out Ottomans couldn't even offer me the one. And they officially stabbed me here when they were offering me support into Gondor. I think the reason I even like potentially took it here was because Abyssinia was just full not communicating with me and just did very terrible disbands. So I was like, okay, you know what? If Ottomans are going to give me Gondor, I'll just take the Gondor.
yeah,
But nope, they did not. So the Ottomans officially stabs me this phase, and
yeah, and they convoyed into Mekele even instead of Salkin.
oh yeah, and they moved Cairo down to Sokin. Yeah, very much not happy with these moves. Which
Yeah,
I mean, who would be? It's a stab. Um,
thankfully this western side is a little bit emptier, at
yeah,
least.
I mean,
Having
they never could
armies
really
here
had
would
an
be
army there. Yeah, I mean, they didn't have enough units to be able to do something like that. And also, had they moved there, I would have been much more on guard against such a thing. But yeah,
Cairo. Probably should have moved there.
maybe.
Maybe
Yeah, although even that's very slow. Um,
it is.
because I can just move another unit up to kind of Borneo, and you know, I don't know. It could be uncomfortable, but yeah, they can't put armies everywhere.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so Ottomans commits hard to this. I think this is a very questionable move. It's like kind of a balance of power move, but like I don't know. If you're Ottomans here, are you really going to full war using like 6 armies against Congo just for Gondor when you could give Congo Gondor? And maybe even if you wanted to like stab Congo for Gondor, just
I
like let
I
them into
would just
Gondor
ask.
first,
I would
probably.
probably ask for Gondor as Ottomans.
Yeah,
I feel like it's if possible, just because it is. Abyssinia's dots are really annoying to split.
yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. They look like a pain in the ass. It
yeah.
might
I
be
mean,
possible. It probably is. It's like one single center chain.
I agree with
So
you.
just having like
I would
one
have
in there kind of seems a bit weird.
I think I even proposed this at some point. I actually think the much cleaner swap is to give me Hawara and to have Ottomans take Gondor. I think
Oh
that's originally
yeah,
what I proposed. Yeah, because Hawara is also on the center chain with a
I'm,
literal
I'm,
core of mine now. So that's the way I would have done it if I wanted this alliance to actually continue. And I think I even proposed that to Ottomans,
and
but
then you could
they
have
were not
had
having it.
the DMZ line that goes all the way
Hmm.
through here between all the dots. That seems like a really easy DMZ border. Not
Yeah,
very easy to stab each other.
yeah, I run into this a lot. So I think I proposed that like a couple years ago, and then Ottomans seemed weirdly obsessed with Hawara, but were willing to say you can have Gondor instead. And to me, that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. But sometimes you get players who are seemingly obsessed about some particular configuration, even if it seems much worse. Um,
Yeah, I mean to be fair, Hawara having that as the Ottomans does make way prettier borders. So
does it though?
I
You want to split the Abbey centers? I don't know.
I mean if it is like say you got Wadai Gondor down here and he has all this, the border is way cleaner than Like you kind of having this purple protrusion.
I guess so, yeah.
So for aesthetic reasons, it makes sense. Tactically, it just seems like you want Gondor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
which happened. Down
yep.
here, it looks like Ajan is cooperating. Maybe.
Yeah, so at this point I had pressed with Audron a bit. Audron was obsessed with getting to some meme locations at this point. I think they wanted to get to Greenland with their fleets. So cool,
Hmm.
they're sending their fleet out to South Atlantic, I believe.
Yeah.
And I tried to
Cape
negotiate them
Co.
a slot in there, which was fine, and I was willing to do that. And in exchange, I'm just going to dislodge their unit just to make sure it gets out anyway. Um, in fact, they do not actually get into the South Atlantic, so they have a retreat here, which I remember some negotiations about. But
There
we
is
can
an
get that
open spot though.
later. Yeah, I mean, it's hard
There's
to know
two
what
actually.
everything's doing and
No, yeah, there is just
with
one.
this many powers and this many units.
Nope, never mind. There is not an open spot unless.
Oh, because SAO5 didn't. Yeah, we can look at that in a minute.
Yeah, I
If I
can't
want to go back to
process.
Africa.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Who's supporting Intercrossing here? Is that just Portugal? Oh yeah,
Portugal is supporting into Crozet. Yes,
yeah. Not happy to
they
see
get.
that one at all.
Yeah,
Because
they
that's
did just
bringing a
give up
unit
on Reunion.
towards INO to me, and I do not like that. Um,
It is probably just to get all three Madagascar dots while being a bit safer. Makes
yeah,
sense.
it's not crazy yet, but they do lose Reunion to do it, which is kind of weird.
I think it's a fair move because like Ajran is still in Cape Co. The Dutch are all right here.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm getting into Audron home centers. That's cool.
Yeah, looks like they're
Um,
throwing to you a bit.
although I don't get to Mogadishu, which is sad. Portugal asked me permission to core
Oh, you
Hobyo, and
don't? Oh, yeah, you
no,
don't.
I don't, sadly.
Oh, and then this one's not.
No, it's not. I actually think this was negotiated between Portugal and Audron. Although it's difficult to know that with 100% confirmation without hindsight.
Yeah, this is not a great.
Yeah, I did not like Lacadio to Somali either. I don't think there's any real explainable reason to do that.
It did make me notice that Ajran has Madurai for free. That's awesome.
True. So yeah, trust in Portugal is dwindling. I did approve the core on Hobyo because I thought it would lead to increased Portugal-Ottomans tensions. Uh, and I wanted Portugal to not have excuses to build in like Moravia or Beira, for example.
Yeah. Hmm. Is that Ajran?
Yes, that's Ajran.
I don't remember that
They
at
stabbed
all.
for Keshem last fall, yeah.
I don't remember that at all. That's funny.
Yeah, they stabbed 3 people for 3 different dots last fall
Yeah, what Ceylon, Kipko,
in
and
Keshem.
Keshem.
Yeah,
This is a wonderfully border gore country. Big fan.
yeah, that's hilarious.
Okay,
Okay, now
that's
we can look at
most
the
of.
SAO
Yeah.
nightmare. Yeah.
All right.
Poland moves up and stabs Portugal. Great. Very happy about that
Oh,
one.
yeah. Same with Mapuche going up.
Yeah, Mapuche also goes up. I think we had figured, I don't remember how much I was involved in negotiating that. Probably not a lot, honestly. Um,
It looks like you might have been though,
I
because
think I was just tapping Poland's
Poland.
fleet because I wanted to get into SAO and also cut support to a potential attack. I don't think I knew I was backfilling them.
I
Uh,
see. Well, very
uh,
convenient that you got into like the one fleet that left, because it looks like everything else was not going to be
it is, yeah.
empty.
I think my logic here was I think Poland was the most likely to support Mapuche or Guarani into me, right? Because there's no way Poland gets supported by Mapuche or Guarani into St. Helena. Like they're not going to offer Poland St. Helena. But if Poland wants to push them against me, like offering support into St. Helena seems like a very obvious way to do that. So I think that's like a big part of the reason why I'm cutting Poland's fleet here.
That makes
But yeah, it's
sense.
very lucky because I get to backfill Angola as well. So I'm happy.
Yeah, that's good tempo.
Yep, great tempo. Yeah,
You
I'm
got
also
into
happy to
Core
see.
Mountain here. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, this is a spring phase, and I was expecting to get it in the fall phase anyway, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, it does kind of make it a bit annoying, kind of. No, maybe not really. Just
Not really,
awkward
no.
because you have to shuffle it out eventually. Probably to Mandan just to get on Ogadogu.
Not really, right? Because I can just have an army in Knots and army in Aja. That's already 2 on Ogatugu, and I'm working with the Dutch here, so it's like fine.
Yeah, the Dutch is in Ogadogu, so.
Like I don't need to put the max amount of units on Ogatugu anytime soon.
Oh, yep. Poland also stabbed. Portugal also stabbed Poland here.
Yeah, I
So
probably had something to do with that. So Poland and Portugal stab each other back and forth a ton in this region. Partially due to me, but also partially they just decide to do it to each other a bunch and don't trust each other at all. Um,
yeah, and the convoy to Broco Pondo happened.
yep, which of course I'm pressing the South America regional spout.
Yeah. That's funny. England just supported Spain into the Dutch.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of cores from Guarani here
yeah, a lot of naval
and a lot
corps,
of
a lot of
fleets.
fleets coming to South Atlantic.
Yeah.
Fortunately, though, we see South Atlantic 3 go into the Caribbean, I believe, or at least try to.
Yes, it did attempt.
And then England convoyed, and it seems like a negotiation failure there. So I'm actually pretty happy when I see these moves. Also seeing Mapuche try to go to Serra Leoa. I mean, I was straight up expecting like support into St. Helena sort of things to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm doing a lot of press with Mapuche and Guarani, just generally, like, it's very much like, I mean, we haven't had any reason to have tensions the entire game. I'm both being like, yo, England and Poland are a bigger threat than me when you combine their VSCCs, and like they're just really strong together. And they can also like, if they win their regions, like the Caribbean, they're just gonna bomb you through South America. I forgot Mapuche was up there. Mapuche also
Yeah.
stabs.
They're in Canary.
Yeah, okay, I remember this. So Mapuche was working with England at this point, I think, and this was a negotiated stab on Portugal.
Yeah, probably
Um,
with Poland here because they both
yeah,
stabbed at the same time.
exactly. Yep.
It makes sense, though. I think there was a miscommunication there, or Poland was like, "I'm not giving Mapuche Mali. That's mine."
It was definitely more of that. I just don't think. I don't know what Poland expected to happen here. I definitely don't think they expected the retreat to Niani. Um,
No,
I
I
think they
don't. I
expected
don't
to get
think so.
Mali and Niani here, and then the Dutch to just get like popped or something.
They
What is
probably didn't
Mapuche
think
ordering
that
here? Mapuche is trying to walk into
Mapuche's
Mali.
trying to, yeah,
Okay.
trying
Yeah.
to get in Mali here. They might have thought that the Dutch was going to fight you, considering you've
I
taken like everything.
guess. What would Mali do in that situation? Yeah. And if they support hold Mali, nothing happens. Also, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. But it does look like things worked out in the South Atlantic for you mostly. You got a fleet in there.
Yeah. Oh,
Is
South
that your
Atlantic's
first? Is that your
going
first
much better
fleet
than
in South
expected.
Atlantic?
Probably. Yeah,
Because I
maybe
think you
maybe I was in
mostly
there
just
once before. I think this might be my first time though, because generally a lot of my press as well with the South America regionals was basically like, hey, I'm never going to expand west of the South Atlantic. Um,
yeah,
like you leave me alone in Africa, I don't plan on going to South America. I'll even give my picture some of West Africa, although that's kind of falling apart a little bit.
yeah.
Okay, I think that's most of my thoughts on spring. Is there anything else you want to look at on the map?
Um, not really. I don't think so.
Okay, but yeah,
We got.
overall good phase. Ottoman stabbed. Portugal's doing some suspicious stuff with Algeron.
Oh, I'm curious
And
about this. Okay, this look like it. These are agreed upon moves.
I think these are agreed upon.
Yeah. All right. Going on to the retreats.
Yep.
Ah, yes.
Yes, this retreat had some negotiation with it. The main thing was I didn't want Algeron to retreat to Cape Basin here. because that would be, or sorry, not Cape Basin, sorry, Kalahari. I did not want them to retreat to Kalahari because I'd have to cover Benguela and that'd be annoying. And also they'd be able to support into, yeah. So I believe I sent them a message basically saying, hey, can you retreat to Cape Basin or Southern Sea? If you do, I'll offer you support into South Atlantic or something, just to make sure you get through. And then I revised that saying, hey, could you just do Southern Sea instead? And I think they just ended up retreating into Cape Basin, which was not my first choice, but it was not my last choice.
Yeah. Any else? Other retreats? Niani?
Yep.
Not much else
Um,
around here.
no, not really. Yeah, that's basically
Right.
everything relevant to me. Yep.
Yep, Niani and Cape Basin.
Yep. Which is a bit nerve-wracking because they're next to St. Helena, but I did ask them to, so I can't complain too
Yeah,
much.
I mean, like everyone's next to St. Helena as well. So
That's true.
it's not more nerve-wracking than it was before, really.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. I also don't think anyone would really be interested in supporting Audron in, and I don't think Audron would be really interested in supporting anyone else in. So
You are really surrounded, though, in South Africa.
yeah,
2
look at those
units defending
fleets.
all that.
Portugal fleets right there. I was not
Yeah,
super
and
happy
all
with their
these
move.
fleets around here, too.
Yeah. Yep.
Looks like it's going to be a pain to defend that.
Absolutely. And I very much don't have that many units in South Africa, like because I brought so many of my armies north up to the Audron home centers.
Yeah.
So okay, before we return to fall, yeah, I'm looking at supporting myself into Mogadishu potentially.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Probably can get away with that, maybe.
Yeah, I'm
Though
fighting
it does
Ottomans.
look like Portugal might yoink Marie from you.
Correct, and there's not a whole lot I can do about that. The other problem, oh yeah, I just really want Portugal to cut Swahili Coast because I'm worried about a support hold in Mogadishu that Portugal can choose not to cut, and if they don't cut it, then I'm basically just screwed.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, Portugal's going to be eating good, though.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to go into fall moves?
Yeah,
What
I
do you
think so.
have?
Part of me is like, maybe I should think more about predicting the things I did, but it's easier just to see.
Yeah. All right.
Oh no, lots of stabs.
Yeah. Let's focus on one area at a time.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to overwhelm myself trying to focus on everything.
Yeah, so I think I was able to communicate with Abyssinia a little bit this phase, so this is what ends up happening. I think our
Yeah.
communication in this phase consisted of me suggesting orders to Abyssinia and saying, and trying to have a conversation, getting no response the entire phase, but sending a follow-up message saying, okay, I'm support holding Gondor and assuming that you're doing this, and then I'm actually doing it. So very fruitful conversation with Abyssinia.
Yo.
Yeah, although this was important.
Actions are there though.
Yeah,
So
and you notice it, like one of the phases where they go with my suggestion, nothing bad happens for them. They managed to bounce everything, and this is about as successful of an order set as they could have this position.
yeah, and you
Uh,
got a dot out of it too.
yeah, and I push Hora.
So
I do end
the
up rotating over.
Wadai retreat is gonna be a pain.
It's fine though, because I've already covered it with a move to Kanem Bornu.
Oh yeah, you did. Oh wow, well, this is interesting. It looks like it's you and the Dutch versus the world over here.
Mm-hmm. In fact, the Dutch even gets into Mali, don't they? Yeah, look at that.
No.
Oh no, because it gets cut. Never mind.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm helping the Dutch hold here. And yeah, I think the Dutch is back firmly on my side with all this going on.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, I
You
wasn't
do.
intending to get into Ugaduga myself. And basically, there's almost never going to be a free window for me to do that now, which is fine with me though. I can just support hold the Dutch until the end of time here.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that.
you could probably end up cycling the fleet in Cormont and be an army eventually.
Eventually, and like, or I can like put myself into Hogger and then Timbuktu was more likely actually. It's like rotate Agadir up. But I'm fine just chilling on this front, coring Agadir and going to deal with the Ottoman problem. So you see, I actually rotate an army away from West Africa.
Yeah.
I'm also covering Gold Coast to strength 2 here, because I really don't want anyone in Gold Coast. It's a big vulnerability. And I have this really strong fleet line that's just trying to be like, hey, I don't need to be in South Atlantic, but just don't come bother me on this side of South Atlantic.
Yeah. And Ajan did get into
SEO3. Nice. Yeah.
SEO3, and you were able to defend Cape Co pretty well
Yeah, not
here.
only that, I think basically no one attacks my side of the South Atlantic, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah.
It seems like Guarani is pushing all towards the Caribbean, like they've been saying that they would. And Mapuche is supporting something in North Atlantic, it looks like.
Mapuche is supporting Mapuche into North Atlantic.
So piecing out Portugal.
Yep. Pretty
And it
quickly.
seems like Portugal and what's going on here?
Portugal and Poland are both working with England, but they're fighting each other.
But they're not really fighting each other, right? Isn't Jacob Fort support holding Poland here?
Jacob Fort is supporting Bulani to Hikaru.
Oh, is it? I guess we'll see in retreats whether or not. Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess
because
you're
that's Endikaru's support
right. Okay,
hold.
got it.
It's a
You're right.
little
Okay,
bit
never mind.
cold on curved on this side.
Yeah, so they swapped Natakaru for Cabo Verde. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And oh no.
Portugal stabs me for nothing. How could they?
Oh yeah, for
And here's the
nothing.
bigger stab. Yeah. Although wait, they don't even support themselves in Marine. Huh. They
Still,
just
for
don't. They
nothing.
just don't cut Adron. So for
If they
nothing,
cut,
just slowing me down.
yeah, if they cut Ajan, then they would have gotten a dot.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's the second time then that Portugal stabbed me to lose a dot for themselves. That's
Well,
funny.
it looks like being friends with Ajan's back on the menu though.
For me or for Portugal?
For you.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't. Yeah,
I don't think that Ajan kind of has not
I
really
think
a
Adron's
lot.
about to pull off these two fleets, if I remember, or something like that, because they care much more
Yeah,
about their one dot colonies than this Mogadishu.
yeah. Oh dear, I moved to the next phase on accident. Yeah,
Yeah,
but like Madurai,
yeah. So Portugal's
it's
stabbing me again. I'm very sad about this. Yeah, I'm really wondering what this Delago attack was about. Oh, did they think they were going to get into Delago? I think they thought they were going to sneak into Delago.
yeah, maybe like Delagoa to Cape Co, Cape Co to Pondo.
Yeah,
I didn't notice
that I could do
that,
something like this. Yeah.
or that you were going to take Barotes. Which I imagine the
Uh,
reason you didn't take Barotes is because you knew that you were building at least 5 this turn. Because Baido, Arwara, House Estates, Fermenton, and
yeah,
Cape Co.
maybe. I also just wanted more stabilizing presence around Cape Co and Delagoa here. And also, I didn't want to stab Portugal.
Yeah.
Because I still want to be working in Portugal, even if, although Portugal is starting to test on my patience at this point. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Portugal stabs the Ottomans, though.
Yes, okay, I think so, but only in West Africa, if I believe. They don't do it in East Africa, which makes me
Yeah, they
very,
support hold that.
yeah. Well, and even just not moving into like the Gulf of Tadora area, like moving up
Yeah.
into Demlin Shore and stuff, like. And also their core and Hobyo completes, which I'm now significantly less happy about seeing their moves relative to the Ottomans and relative to me.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Um,
But otherwise, pretty solid turn.
yeah, I think actually if we look over at Hora, I think I was guaranteed to get Hora no matter what here, which is part of
Yes.
why Ottoman stab was so baffling to me, because it was a -1 dot stab. Uh,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, dude. They should have moved to Zagawa.
yeah, they probably should
That,
have in reflection. I mean, I think they just shouldn't have stabbed this phase. I don't think they had a good stab on me this phase.
yeah. This is This is good to see, though. Exactly what you wanted.
Yep.
All fighting each other. Not internally, but externally.
No, and I'm not trying to stir up internal conflict. I'm fine with the South America regional triple.
Yeah.
Just as a general thing throughout this game, I don't really ever propose stabs on them to each other. I do occasionally. I'm like, if you're interested in a stab, let me know. But I'm not gonna pitch you one and like say why it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because I know that they're in a triple and I don't want to do anything that would anger them.
Yeah.
And also I don't think Kongo saying you should stab Guarani is very convincing to like Mapuche or Aymara or something like that. Like I think they'd have to come to that of their own decisions and then be like, I want to get Kongo involved. Is kind of my thought process there.
Yeah. Especially since they've been working so well together this whole game.
That and also yeah, it's also just I'm kind of outside the dynamic and I'm an unknown and yeah, again, I don't think Kongo's opinion or explanation really is going to be very convincing. That's such a big decision that you're going to want to have to be kind of bought into it. Or at least, yeah, I didn't want to make the risk of doing it unless I thought that the other person was bought in. And one way to know if that's the case is if they come to you with the idea in the first place. So
Yeah.
I'm also not really looking to attack the South America triple at all right now. Like they're directed at Caribbean, which I'm very happy with.
You got Portuguese issues now.
Yeah, I've got
And
Portuguese
Ottoman
issues, I've got Ottoman
issues.
issues, I have West Africa to deal with. So I'm just
You
trying
got
to set this
colonial issues. Like you
defensive
get,
lineup with Angola Basin and St. Helena. And it's just like, hey, I have like 5 fleets here. Just don't come east. You're not going to make it anywhere.
yeah.
And part of my general press as well with Mapuche and Garnier in this time is basically like, I mean, you have an option to attack me, sure. You'll get St. Helena, but then after that, it's going to take you many years to get anything else after that. And you're going to grow so slowly in a war with me that you're already, if you look over the leaderboard, they're like midway down on the VSCC chart. If they want to
Mhm.
catch up and be an impunity contender, they can't do it through a war with Congo. Like this is just going to be too slow. This is not a path that will allow you to win the game, which I think
Yeah.
is a true statement. And thankfully, both Mapuche and Guarani are very like smart and strong players. So like seeing that and recognizing that like there is no way to really win the game unless because the only way would be if Congo starts collapsing and falling really fast. But that's almost impossible to imagine. Like even if I was being attacked in all directions here.
Yeah. I think it. If all these fleets were armies, then yes, maybe.
Yes, maybe. But I mean, it's even questionable if Portugal will get a build again. I actually know they'll probably get builds this year because of
Yeah,
the
I think they
Madagascar
do
thing. Yeah.
because they did well here and here.
Hmm. Yeah,
They
that's
even
true.
get Hanoi.
They do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a colony to rival our own, even. Yeah, do you want to
Okay.
move on to retreats, or
Yeah,
is there something I missed?
we can move on to winter. So I'm doing a lot of press with Portugal this winter. Um,
Yeah.
and oh, this is retreats. Is there anything in retreats? I guess where does Ottoman go?
Oh,
Oh, that was interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I get Ottomans to disband this one. Yeah. Okay.
that's actually
Um,
really interesting.
yeah, so I'm basically like, hey, you stabbed me. I didn't want to fight you in the first place. Can we just like peace out? This doesn't seem like it went well for you. Just pull Hawara off, and then I'll trust you. And then we can just go back to killing Abyssinia. You can support yourself back into Gondor. We can go back to a similar original agreement where I keep Hawara, and we're chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that something you're going to agree to? Or,
I mean, it's something I'm pitching, and I would agree to. Yeah, I think so. It's a bit harder now because I brought my armies over, so continuing the war with Ottomans is actually not a bad thing for me. But because Portugal is stabbing me, and I kind of want to, I have to decide between where I'm using these units, like Oromo, for example. I only have 2 armies on the Ogeron home centers front, and if I'm going to be fighting Portugal and Ogeron, I do want to be pulling those units down and over that way. And if I'm going to full-scale war with Portugal, again, that's going to be even more units. So I do like I'm somewhat invested in this idea, but I also if Ottoman stabs again, I mean, if they at least pull Hora off, I'm much more happy about what that war looks like. So
mm-hmm. Yeah, that
And
makes
they do.
sense.
So I'm much more happy with Ottomans than I am with most of our neighbors at this point. And I'm even potentially offering like a support into Timbuktu, for example, if they want to come down to Hogger and um, yeah, get that or what have you. Or if
Hmm.
I'm going to full scale war. Or I think part of it is also that Portugal just stabbed Ottomans. They just convoyed into Rabat, and it's like, hey, Portugal stabbed you, Portugal stabbed me. What if we just both like focus on fighting Portugal? Um, and yeah, Ottoman seems willing to play ball, which is great.
Yeah,
Which I would definitely do in this position. I mean, I wouldn't have started the war in the first place as Ottomans here, but yeah, I definitely would take this peace out opportunity.
yeah, makes sense.
Yep, and you get easy Abyssinia dots as well. Like that's just 2 dots you're getting next to your Gondor and Denver.
Yeah, just gotta hope Kongo pieces out with you. Actually,
Yeah,
we want to go to winter.
sure. So we'll see on this map something that
Oh,
makes
this
me
is a
very,
clean map.
very unhappy on this map.
Oh,
Um,
it's this.
no, I mean that also makes me unhappy, but there's something even more important that makes me more unhappy.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, this.
this, yeah. No, this
See,
is one Portugal
I remember
hard.
this. I think.
Yeah, Portugal's hard committing stabbing me here, and I think, in fact, I think in doing so, this is the moment when Portugal loses the game. I think if you look at Portugal's current position on the leaderboard, it was hard for them to win, but I think they had possibilities. That don't
Yeah,
involve war with me. And in particular, Ottomans is very weak here. Arabia is very weak here. Um, they have a very strong Congo ally, so Congo can help them get all of North Africa as well as all of Arabia. And because I don't have the fleet presence that they do, I'm never going to get into like Aden or Sana'a or something like that because they have all the fleets on the East Africa side that can get to Arabia. So,
yeah,
and they also have cores nearby like Kobio and Muscat. So I think they have a lot of very good growth opportunities there. They also have a lot of options through INO. And they're kind of throwing that all in the trash here and deciding instead to play balance of power. Um, and when I talk to them about this post phase as well, and even like during the winter, because they're like, "Hey, England is telling me to build 2 armies here." I'm like, "Of course, England's telling you to build 2 armies here. It's great for England, and it throws away your your chances to win." Um, and they're basically like, "The board keeps telling me that I should do this, so I felt pressured by the board to do this." Um, and that's a reasonable response sometimes. Like, if you feel pressured, especially if someone's about to win the game, right? And like, I need to stop the board leader so that I can have a chance to win in the future or so I can catch up. But the problem with doing this move here is they're giving up any potential future chance for them to win because there's just not going to be a chance that they can get enough builds to catch up to the impunity anymore after doing this move, as well as they're really not being offered anything for it. And we'll see this play out over the next few phases, as well as the next few years. But it's not like they're doing this noble sacrifice of themselves for the sake of the board, and no one's offering them any dots, no one's offering them support into anything. They're giving up builds that they could be using in other regions to supplement their ability to fight other people and get dots out of it. Um, yeah, this is, I think, Portugal's biggest mistake.
yeah. I think
Um, yeah, sorry.
it would be a really good move if these two joined them in fighting you. That would
I don't think
probably get.
so.
I think that would probably get the full coalition on you to
I'm just kind of
actually
convinced it's
get them
too
done.
late. If you look at my, I mean, I'm putting down armies in Pango and Matamba, right? I have this army in Kalahari and this army in Delagoa. What do Portugal's 2 armies do here? I just don't think they can ever make a significant inland inroad into Africa. Um,
Yeah, I don't think they do either, but it does open up opportunities for you to get coalitioned, and then
maybe?
they can.
I,
I think their dot growth is here.
I agree. And that's why I would think potentially fleet builds. Well, I don't think that's their only growth, of course, but I think that's an option and they could get away with that with fleet builds. But I don't
Yeah,
think,
that ends up here.
yeah,
But
sure.
I don't. I think the armies are just there to be a pain while they fight otherwhere, like elsewhere.
Yeah, they're kind of a pain, but they're a pain in a way that makes me dedicate more units to them and less units to other people that would be attacking me. So you're right that potentially they trigger a coalition against me, but the result would be that the way that they're triggering the coalition would be in such a way where, since first of all, they're the first to stab, and
Yeah.
also they're stabbing in such a way that those armies are requiring me to commit more units around them, like to surround them so they can't get retreats into places, that they're doing it in such a way that the other people are getting all the dots out of the equation. So for example, like
Yeah.
this is incentivizing me to do like supports up into Mutapa, supports into Barotes, which would lose them a dot, but it would also have the armies kind of clustering around where their home centers are, um, as opposed to, where everyone else is attacking me, potentially.
Probably
I
doesn't
also
help
think
the
I'm so defensively solid around South Atlantic right now with all these fleets. It's a really bad timing for people in South Atlantic to want to come after me.
yeah. Probably like 2 years earlier. Like
Earlier or later, yeah. It's a terrible
yeah.
timing. Um,
Like when Portugal had a pretty solid presence in the south, probably some more armies. I could see that stab on you being a bit more effective, especially if the Dutch still had like all of this up here.
mhm,
But
potentially. Um, Yeah, it'd be hard. I think that Portugal would have had to be more proactive about it if they wanted to do it earlier. Like getting other people to stab me as well.
yeah, I do notice that you did build 4 armies.
I did, yeah, which is a pretty interesting choice here. That's a reflection in part of how defensively solid I feel towards South Atlantic right now. Like I mean I have these 5 fleets in position. I don't think I'm being broken. Uh,
Yeah,
Also very big lack of trust in Portugal right now. And I just want all these armies on the Portugal and Ottoman front. Like that's just where I want my armies right now, where I want my builds.
yeah,
So I make the very interesting choice to make 4 armies here. Oh, the other thing is I have this convoy chain because of the way that my fleets are set up, that I can
yeah,
convoy over into West Africa pretty easily. So I have pretty highly mobile units as well. So it's not like those armies, because traditionally, like an army Soyo really sucks in this map for Congo, unless you can do something like convoy it over to West Africa.
yeah.
Because moving it over to like Ottomans, for example, takes forever.
Yeah. Moving it
But
to
yeah, it is
Portugal
interesting that
doesn't take too long, though.
I don't build any fleets here. I think part of that is also because Portugal was trying to convince me that they should be allowed to build 2 armies here. So that was also like, yeah, that's part of why I build these 4 armies. Yep, Adran pulls the 2 fleets like we expect,
Yeah,
which doesn't surprise me because they see like they have much better survival opportunities elsewhere. Um, oh yeah, and then this Army Cairo. This Army Cairo baffles me. Um, they just pulled Hawara to peace out with me, and then they built one of the like most aggressive units towards me. It confuses me because if you want to continue a war, then you should have just retreated with Hawara into something better than Cairo. But then by rebuilding in Cairo, yeah, you're retriggering the war in a worse position. So
yeah,
yeah,
that is
I don't
odd.
think I don't think this build is defensible either.
I would have retreated to Wadai and just been annoying.
Yeah, and it's like maybe if you thought like maybe if Darfur was open, for example, and you wanted Congo not to build in Darfur, there's advantages to doing that. To like change my winter builds, but they didn't really succeed in doing that. Um,
Yeah,
yeah. Is there anything else interesting in terms of builds? If we look over at South America, yeah, we see lots of fleets here, which is a little bit worrying, but also we know
yeah.
that they're going after Caribbean. And also I asked Guarani basically just tell me how many fleets you're building, where you're building them, and they told me about these two. I was just talking to
Last
Mapuche
year
about their
they
builds.
last year they
Um,
built 2 fleets there as well.
Yeah, and Mapuche built in Chiloé, which they told me they would, which I felt less scared about. And then I think they also build in Australia. So they're not building on the South Atlantic side. Oh no, they do not build. Oh, because they can't build in Australia here.
They didn't have enough builds, maybe.
Pulls off an INO. I was probably also influencing Dutch's disbands here. Oh yeah, let's see.
Oh yeah, this is a lot.
Yeah,
Oh wow,
yeah, I have them pull
The
off
Dutch has just
near.
like abandoned most of everything around here.
Yeah, which I was fine with.
Ayutthaya is in Madras. Wow, okay.
Yep.
That's cool. Where does the Dutch have units now, mostly? Just here?
The Caribbean and West Africa.
And
And Europe, I guess, but that's not going
yeah,
to last long. Oh, I think,
and
yeah, I think the reasons for these Dutch disbands, which I was partially influencing, was I just wanted them to fight England and Poland everywhere they could. And that's what this is doing. So Europe, they're keeping Caribbean, they're keeping West Africa. Whereas all this INO region stuff isn't affecting England, Poland.
that makes sense.
Yep. Which
Yeah,
isn't the
it's
hardest
a
thing to
lot of
convince them
dots
of
there.
because England, Poland had stabbed them and ended their game basically. So just defend yourself against England and Poland is a pretty easy request.
Yep.
It is kind of ridiculous how many open centers they're leaving in Oceania and INO here. It's like 5 open centers.
Yeah. Ayutthaya and Mapuche are both going to get huge and probably go to war with each other.
Absolutely, and that was also part of the hope.
Yeah.
Not necessarily they'd go to war with each other, but I think Mapuche was already telling me at this point or soon after that they were planning on stabbing Ayutthaya here.
Yeah, makes sense.
I had a good relationship with Ayutthaya, but I didn't want to risk my relationship with Mapuche because that was much more important to me.
They could go after Portugal and Madagascar as well, though.
Yes, and that is conversations that I'm going to start having with Mapuche for sure.
Yeah. Want to move on to spring?
Yep. So at this point, I'm pretty upset with Portugal. I feel like Portugal's just throwing away their game because England has asked them to.
Oh, yes, the dark mode maps.
Yes.
I love these.
And I don't.
I know, I know you
We
hate
have very
them,
different aesthetic tastes. Yeah.
but they're amazing.
Um, yeah.
It's interesting.
So I do end up. It seems like, oh yeah, because Ottomans stabbed me with Cairo. So yeah, I don't even have to make the choice of whether or not I'm going to stab Ottomans because Ottomans do it first. I think
Ottomans clearly thinks that Abyssinia is going to fight you.
yes, clearly, and that they're going to get a stab on Abyssinia for some reason. What I asked Abyssinia to do here was to tap Mekele and then to take my support into Godjam, but I think we see that they actually just sit still with Gondor, which I believe is a mistake and ends up losing them Gondor, which I'm just sad. This is another case of Abyssinia just not doing the tactics that would get them safety.
Yeah, it could have lost
The reason
them
is they
Gondor,
could force
but
disband Godjam here, which would be great.
oh yeah, that would have been really, really
I guess it would
amazing.
have a retreat into Oxum actually. I forget. Well, there's some nuances here, but anyway, I think part of it also is like Ottomans can just take Gondar in the fall guaranteed if they don't move into Godjam or something like that. Something like that. But anyway, but Abyssinia chooses. I think they want to be neutral here, which is baffling to me because Ottomans is trying to kill them. I guess they're afraid that I'm going to try to kill them, but I've support held their centers several times, and I'm clearly at war with Ottomans. So I don't know. I would think that they would not be neutral in this conflict, but they've decided to be neutral, and in such a way that loses their dot guaranteed.
Yeah.
But they're not being very active at this point, so it's not a shock that they're not really making like very detailed decisions. But I'm sad. I'm always sad when someone's doing something like this when they have a better route to survival. It's like, please
Yeah.
just take my support, please. I don't want you to lose your dot.
It is sometimes hard to
Yeah.
stay committed, though.
Yeah,
I've
I can
noticed.
understand that. Like, I also, I mean, I am a believer of the mantra that many people preach of just sub out if you don't want to play the game anymore. If you're not sending a message to anyone in 10 phases or whatever, like just sub out, let someone else play the game.
Yeah. Oh, that's not
Yes,
good.
okay. I forgot about this. Dutch stabs me for the second time, or maybe the third time. I don't remember. So this is another time when the Dutch chooses to stab me for some reason.
Looks like it fails though.
Yeah, it fails really badly.
It's your convoy tapped Mandan, which was
Yeah, and also they could have lost Ugadugu here. Thankfully they didn't. I would actually be really sad if they had.
someone
I'm also
stabbed
offering them
Mapuche.
support into Timbuktu.
That's probably the silver lining in this whole thing.
Yeah, so
Maybe.
England and Poland definitely plotted this whole thing. They got Dutch to do this and stab Mapuche.
Yeah,
And I think part of it
The
actually, it
Dutch
gets
look
me
like
into Mandan, doesn't it? I believe I get into Mandan here. Do I?
no. You got tapped in Corventon.
Oh no, I get tapped, sadly. That's why I was so sad because I would have gotten Mandan and a forced disband on England had this just worked. Yeah, I'm kind of
Yeah.
baffled because I'm the one support holding Dutch here, and Dutch is being killed by everyone else. I don't remember why the Dutch did this. I think they were just like, oh, I remember now, actually. So yeah, I talked to the Dutch after this, and I'm like, hey, why did you do this? And they're basically like, yeah, people are telling me you're going to solo this year, and I want the game to go on for longer for all the people who are small powers in the world, like Mapuche, so they have a chance to win. And I was like, you know what, fair, but also you're misjudging the board. England and Poland are in a scarier position than me, and also screwing over those small powers, like they just took Niani off of Mapuche. And I managed to convince the Dutch back on side, and I think this is the last time we see the Dutch do something like this. Um, but so it's just a purely
Yeah.
balance of power. They don't think these are good moves, but they're trying to help England stop me from winning into solo.
Yeah. That makes sense. They're kind of trapped in the middle between all that.
Yeah. Yeah, and very good. Yeah, we already covered the Ottoman tactics, but just pointing out here, I'm making very good progress here. These
Yes.
moves into
And
Sonar,
Wadai.
Tigray, and Wadai are very effective. Um,
And that
and-
leaves Darfur open. That's probably
yeah,
the big thing.
exactly that as well, and completely safe, so I don't have to cover it. Actually, I think Sonar has a retreat into Hwara here, which is a little bit annoying, but
Oh yeah, it does.
so maybe not completely safe, but still. But just to note, like I think Ottomans is so we're starting this war off with us having a similar amount of armies around here. I think 5-on-5 with the two
Yeah.
Abyssinian armies, and arguably the Ottomans had the position of advantage because they got the jump on me because they stabbed. But uh, yeah,
They
but we'll
disbanded
keep.
the army. So
That's true. It's still 5-on-5, but yeah,
this
uh,
is looks like
yeah.
Audra
This
and
Portugal stabs
Centers
me.
are just gonna disappear now.
Yeah, I'm trying to piece out Portugal. They say no firmly. Um,
Does England think they're getting convoyed?
yes, England thinks they're getting convoyed to Marie. Thankfully, Portugal does not do that one. Um,
See. Yeah, same with Mughal not doing that either.
Well, Mughal was going to until Portugal said that they weren't. There was some conversation about this as well. Uh, Portugal stabs me again. Not super surprising at this point, given the army builds, but I'm still sad about it. Um, I double core here, which is kind of interesting. I think the reason for this was that I was trying to introduce some tactical complexities where, like, for example, Portugal would want to put a tap on Baido when they otherwise wouldn't, because I'd be able to finish the core. So it's basically just like a slightly better hold here. I expect Marig to get dislodged into retreat into Mogadishu, and then I don't really know what's going to happen with Baido, but I figure having the war here is good. Yeah,
Yeah.
to force a unit having to tap it. I didn't expect them to commit this many units as well. The Comoros Sea to Swahili Coast, Swahili Coast, and Sokolabas Seychelles mean that this region is basically screwed for me.
Yeah. In hindsight, obviously, because Mayo is better. But
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I agree. But also,
doesn't lose Baido.
yeah, I don't think that's like a prediction you can really go for. Maybe it is.
I would have done it. I don't think coring works if Portugal's stabbed.
Yeah, I could see Kismayo. Yeah, you're right. I think Kismayo is probably just a better move here.
Because then you could probably get the unit down here just to help support even down here. Like it just abandon the Azuran dots,
Yeah, I
even
mean,
if it does go through.
I think part of it was I was expecting Zanzibar to go to either Makua or just Swahili Coast and not expecting Comoros to go north. Because I think they're very much abandoning their southern position. Because, for example, they're losing Burrows here, guaranteed. Uh,
Yeah. The roads. Yes, that is.
which there was no way for them to do with that anyway. But yeah.
Yeah.
I also get
You
into
did
Crozet
you
Basin, which is huge.
you bounced them out of Matupa, which is very nice as well.
Yep, I mean, that was planned again. It's part of denying them from ever being able to do anything about Burrows. But getting into Crozet is actually really big here.
Who's in, that's Mapuche,
Yep,
Dutch and Ayatash. You can maybe snipe Reunion if you want to
exactly.
be crazy.
Can. Um, or I can tap
Or
Mozambique.
more likely just support stuff further
Yeah,
in.
yeah, or tap something. I'm just happy to be there because not only am I there now, if they dislodge me or something, I can retreat into somewhere like
What is
Marina.
this?
Yes,
Oh
so
no.
this happens.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
this is a bigger issue.
I oh no.
Yeah, and if
Hey
you see
look, there's
Mapuche,
the
also SAO2 to Southern Sea.
oh no.
Yeah,
England to
so
England's in SAO as well.
So Guarani does stab me here.
Yeah, they
England.
are.
Oh, England goes to SAO. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Dude, you got enemies everywhere. Mapuches, dude, all of SAO is filled with enemies.
8 dots away from 100% VSCC.
Is that where you're at? You're at 8?
Yeah, 7 dots
Yeah,
away. Yeah,
7.
but notably England is like right behind me. This
Yeah.
is with this game was played with the 35% band as well, so well within the band.
Yeah, that solo is not happening unless somebody throws to you, which looks like nobody is.
No, people are very much balance powering me. This is one of my worst years of this game.
Yeah. I remember seeing this Guarani unit. I was waiting for
Yeah,
that.
so I'm really sad about this one because this is basically the first stab on me from Guarani and Mapuche. But so you're right, the two army builds did get a coalition army to happen. Seems like the Dutch are attacking me, Mapuche is attacking me, Guarani is attacking me, England's attacking me, Ottomans are attacking me. Basically every one of my neighbors. See how it
Yeah.
goes. Yeah.
Now your goal is just to piece out anybody.
Yeah, I'm just trying to piece out anybody. I was already not convinced I was a solo threat at this point, but trying to convince other people of that fact and just be like, hey, I'm the friendly person who wants to play for a group impunity, which is true. Like, just let me get into the group impunity. I don't care who else wants to be there. You know, any of my friends come along. Certainly the South America regional triple. But yeah, I'm very sad by this move, especially because with the South America regional triple devoting resources to Cape Co, I'm like, those are resources you're not using towards getting your own impunity dots. And we know that I'm going to have to force back Cape Co eventually. So, and you're not going to bet on Congo dying, right? Like you're still not, clearly not betting on Congo dying. So it just is awkward because like it's very much a short-term move where, you know, you're not going to
Yeah.
hold Cape Co as one of your final impunity dots. So, and again, yeah, unless you're betting
Un-
on
unless,
me permanently.
yeah,
Yeah,
unless you get coalitioned really hard,
yeah,
which could happen if the game lasts for a while. But
yeah. It
that'd
could.
require a lot of things to go wrong.
Hmm.
Mostly, I think, is just convoys into here. Like
Yeah.
Portugal putting armies on this side. I think is how to break Congo in this position.
Yeah, more armies would certainly do it. Or if they could break, they can get an army into Cape Basin or something and start convoying.
Like this English army to Marig would have been terrifying. Yeah, that would
Yeah,
have.
I don't know. It would have been annoying. I don't know if it would have been terrifying because one army on its own can't support anything inland, so they still can't really break inland. Um,
Yes, but it could open opportunities for more army convoys
I
and
also
like
just don't think that's something
Mugals.
you ever want to do as Portugal because if England starts taking hold of what is one of your best sources of dots, you're not getting much out of it as Portugal.
Oh yeah,
I think
absolutely.
the bigger threat here is if you go over to the west side with Cape Basin. If instead of southern, I think Cape Basin is a
Okay,
much more. Yeah,
now we cut back in. Cool.
yeah. I
Apologies.
think Cape Basin here is much more dangerous because Mapuche and Guarani can put a fleet in there and they can start convoying into Kalahari. And they have all these like leftover armies. Like if you look over at Guarani, they just have some sitting around coring, not doing a whole lot, self-bouncing with each other. Uh, yeah, and they can just start sending all of these armies over. That might be threatening, but really, I mean, as we listed earlier, basically every one of my neighbors are attacking me, but this is a very
Yeah,
defensible position, and we're about to see just how crazy that can go. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, currently on the
Trying
top
to
of the leaderboard, 25 dots, and everyone's attacking me. Boo.
go back to bright
Um,
maps.
break maps, retreats. I think
You
the
gotta
option here is
retreat.
obvious. What would you choose here?
What good issue? No.
Actually, I think I
Oh,
have two
and
choices here that are reasonable. Or maybe even three choices, actually, now that I think about it. I forget all
uh,
the nuance that goes into these, but
yeah. Let me think.
yeah.
Vinyora is a decent one, I think.
Mhm.
Well, actually, no. This one right here.
Yeah.
I think I go here.
Yeah. So I like Sadamo, I like Manura, and I like Harin here. I don't think you ever go to Mogadishu, you just get kicked out and potentially forced out to Harin. I like both
Sadama's
Harin
nice
and
as well.
Manura because they can have guaranteed support holds of Baido, which I believe is actually just guaranteed to hold here. Yeah, so you can just hold Baido for
Yeah.
a year if you want to. which is cool. So I'd probably go for one of those. Sadama is interesting because you can just give up on this entirely and retreat towards the Ottomans' front, but I don't think I would go for that here. Maybe
No,
I do
not
though.
really.
I might. Let's see. I'm curious
Right.
what do I retreat? No, I just go for the
Nura.
basic Benura one. Yeah. I think this was also pro Portugal. I think Harine commits me to sticking around in the Ogeron centers, and it's better tactically because the triple adjacencies, including Mogadishu, mean I can do a lot of crazy options. But
Yeah,
I'm
especially
trying
getting
to do
another
this.
army to Nura.
Yeah, basically every phase of this war, I'm trying to piece out Portugal and try to find some solution that's agreeable to us. And I think giving over all of the Ogeron home centers is like a pretty good way to start that. And the kind of ideas is like, hey, especially this phase, it's like, hey, I can support Burrows. It's going to be guaranteed. You can take all the Algernon home centers. You're going plus on the builds there, and then you can just take Burrows off the board, and we can pretend this never happened, basically. Would you
Yeah.
take that deal as Portugal?
Um, where you get Barotes, and
Yep.
as
And you disband
Portugal,
the
I
army,
get.
and then you get those three. Yeah.
I get to keep Biera.
Well, yeah. I mean, you'd be able to. Like, I wouldn't be able to disband it anyway.
I think yes. This needs to leave though.
Sure. I mean, I don't want to be there either. I just support it.
Then yes,
Yep.
I think that works. The issue is I don't think as Portugal I'm winning this game.
No, you gave up that chance this last winter.
Unless I go crazy against the Ottomans here,
Yeah. I
which
mean,
is I love this position here.
yeah.
This is so like beautiful looking.
Yeah.
it it is very nice
I
seeing.
think the Arabia position also looked similarly good. Like if you look at once they take Adron's home centers, if you scroll down a little bit, that's 5 fleets that can just walk up into Arabia, and there's 2 Ottoman fleets there.
Yeah, and it's a goddamn mess in Arabia, so they could probably take advantage of that.
Yeah, it's a mess, and then like I'm gonna be I can put pressure on Ottomans. Yeah, like I think Portugal
Yeah,
had ways to win this game before they built the armies. Now I think
yeah.
it's very unrealistic
I
unless
don't.
the game goes very, very long.
Yeah, I don't know though. Like even still, that's 30 dots that they're gonna have to make up, and
Mhm.
like all of this will probably stay. Yeah, I imagine that won't be too hard to hold on to. This is 2 fleets holding 4 dots, which is gonna
Sure,
be
but
a
remember
real.
also, if they hadn't built the 2 armies in Moravi, they could have put down like a build in Macau, for example.
Well, they did put a build in Macau when they
Did they?
built the army down. Yeah,
Last year? Last
yeah,
winter? Oh, they did? Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
They they had 1 unit controlling 4 dots. It was quite impressive,
That
but
is hilarious.
it looks like Ming and Tokugawa's jumped on that.
But yeah, I mean, obviously their game became much harder when they lost.
When they lost, sorry, you cut out again.
Let's see. Okay.
You got your issue solved?
Yeah, I saw it cut out there for a second, but I think
Yeah,
it's fine. I don't know. It's weird that I'm cutting out suddenly. But, okay.
yeah, it is. But you said when they lost, and I know you.
Oh, when they lost South America and Oceania.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's really
100%.
hard to win from a position where you've lost those
Yeah,
colonies.
2 big colonies.
Yeah. Okay. But
Yes.
yeah, and actually, like if you look at just their West Africa and East Africa positions, they're way overperforming. Like this is an impunity Portugal if it's just this West Africa and this East Africa.
Yeah. The
Um,
and Iberia, like that's such a nice.
yeah, which is something I'm stressing to Portugal and press quite often is like your best 2 regions are West Africa and East Africa. This is not an accident. This is because we've been in alliance all game. This is because we've been coordinating. It is very possible for us to make it so it's only Congo and only in Portugal in Africa. Like that is a very achievable goal.
Yeah,
And
I agree 100%.
yeah,
There, Tripoli will be the hardest dot. Yes. Do we want to look at?
next spring. All right.
Is it? Yeah,
No.
it's fall.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, sorry. Fall moves.
Ready.
fall
Let's go to
6.
my
Yeah.
favorite spot to look at the start. Looks like you defended this really nice while keeping Darfur open.
Hmm. Yeah, I play really well here tactically. I was doing a lot of Ottoman tactics, so I found this region really interesting to break down.
Oh, Ottoman's got
But
Gondor
this is
though.
like perfect for me. They bounce me in Darfur, so it's covered, but I can even build there. I retake Hawara, which I believe was guaranteed actually. So I was taking a guaranteed Hawara. And then, yep, Abyssinia just loses Gondor, which had they done the different order set in the spring, they would have not lost Gondor. We're sad. Oh well.
Yeah, very sad. And you did keep the dough.
Yep.
It looks like maybe they're doing the peace idea in the fact that they're taking all the Ajran dots. Ooh, Ottomans pushes out into Damblin. Dambalan.
Yeah, I wonder what that was about, honestly.
That
It
is
reads
nice
as a
to
stab
see
on
though.
Portugal, but that's a really weird stab on Portugal. Oh, I think it's supposed Portugal to stab them in the West Africa, right? Uh,
Yeah, because
yeah,
look, they moved to. I imagine it was like they pieced out after Portugal took Rabat, but
yeah,
then Portugal stabbed for Valencia and Tangier right afterwards, anyways.
yeah.
And is
And then Barcelona and more, yeah, just lots of dots.
yeah,
Ottomans actually walks out of an Austria dot too. That's really interesting. They walk out of Sardinia. Or no, they don't actually succeed in walking out, but they try to.
yeah, probably an attempt to piece out, maybe. No, I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Just better than a hold, I guess. Doesn't
Yeah,
really have
we
much
didn't
else to
cover
do.
this actually too closely, but there was a very dramatic moment when Austria and Poland have stabbed each other, which has started, that saga has started. There's a lot of dramatic stabs that go back and forth here, because this is a very big alliance, and these were two top 5 impunity contender powers, so
Yeah,
they've started fighting at this point.
looks like Poland's winning.
Yeah, they go back and forth between fighting and piecing out. This doesn't seem like that. Oh, I guess they are fighting here, yeah. Never mind.
They got Pressburg.
Yeah.
Looks like Poland is getting some dots though.
Yep.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
you do get Baroche though.
Yep, Bros is guaranteed.
Finally,
I think I suggest this bounce in Bemba so that they know that I'm not going further into them. And then they disband it. But they moved to Mutapo, which is kind of weird. I don't like that. Oh, and they stab me anyway. They try to go for Goa here, which I'm very much not happy about because it just
looks
stops me
like
from taking
Irani also
Kongo.
went for Delagoa.
Yeah, so it looks like I'm trying to piece out Portugal here and Portugal stabbing me. Seems like
Oh
what's
wait,
happening.
I see. Is this an arranged uh piffing of this army here? Because it looks like Mapuche's heading
Yes,
that way,
yes.
and
I think I
all these
convinced
fleets are
Guarani.
headed back up this way
Yeah,
again.
I think I convinced Guarani and Mapuche to stop fighting me, which is great. Um,
And England went to Mapuche.
yeah, England stabs Mapuche. I think it's because Mapuche had stabbed England. If we look up at North Atlantic, did Mapuche
Um,
do something weird? Oh, I think it's because, okay, so they just stabbed Mapuche for Nyani in the spring. Mapuche gets really mad about that, and Mapuche does something up in North Atlantic, I think. Maybe not yet, actually. I think it's just Mapuche was really mad about Nyani, and then England doubles down and stabs them elsewhere as well.
oh,
Oh,
it's
here it is. Never
because
mind. Rockall.
yeah,
I just
Rocco
couldn't find the
Rise.
frigate. Okay.
I was like, what
Yeah.
in the world? I looked at this one. I was like, that's Ajon. He's in Brathlid, which is awesome. I remember seeing that.
Yeah. I was also doing press with Inuit, Portugal, and Mapuche throughout the game. Maybe not so much this phase because they're currently actively fighting me, but I was constantly trying to organize this like anti-England thing in North Atlantic to help those powers communicate because they weren't really communicating too much themselves. And this is like one of the results of it is that we have Mapuche and Rockall Rise. This is intentional, by the way. The Portugal is intentionally dislodging Mapuche so they get this retreat into Iceland.
Yeah,
This is not a pro-England Portugal move. So
or
Portugal's actually,
Plymouth.
or Plymouth, yeah. So Portugal's actually kind of
That'd be
missing
awesome,
England
actually.
here. Yeah.
Because yeah,
I
because
think Plymouth
then
is the one they go for, yeah.
Iceland would be easier to hold, though.
Yeah,
I'd probably
we
do
see
Iceland if
Ogeron finally gets to Greenland as well.
Yeah, I do Iceland if England is building
Yeah,
because
which England's probably building. It's always
they
building.
would build Army Oxford at Fleet London and
Yeah,
you had immediately.
yeah, I think that's likely what we're going to see. I think they're going to retreat to Plymouth and then England's going to build. That's probably what we're going to see. If we look over to West Africa, we see Ottomans stabbing me here.
And
I
the
offer them
Dutch
support into Timbuktu,
lost.
which they would have gotten.
Oh yeah,
Uh, Dutch just misorders here in a really bad way that just loses them Ouagadougou. So I
they
guess I was
forced
wrong about them
disband.
not doing stuff that I asked them not to anymore.
You do get a Mandan though.
I do get
Yes.
an Amandine, so there's that at least. Although it's with a fleet instead of an army this time, so much worse. Not only do I get an Amandine, Mandan is. Oh no, I do get an Amandine, but Mandan is not forced disbanded. Mandan would have been forced disbanded, I think, otherwise. Because yeah, I think I just asked
Mm.
Dutch to double support to support whole Ouagadougou here, which would have been great.
Oh yeah.
That's not what happens. I'm very sad. I've had a lot of these moments this game, and this just makes me sad when like someone doesn't do the moveset you suggested and they just die because of it. And like the moveset, and it's not just because they think they have a better order set, which maybe is what I guess sometimes it is because they think they have a better order set, but there's no real argument that what the Dutch is doing here is better than just support holding.
Yeah.
So I'm sad because I
Yeah.
just want them to live, and instead they did this.
Nice that they did not take Timbuktu from me or Agadez from me though.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd even offered Ottoman support into Timbuktu. They would have had it. They didn't take it. Sad. Um, oh well. We do see Portugal's continuing to fight Poland, which is cool,
Yeah.
but not like really. They're doing arranged bounces mostly.
You are not back in SAO though.
No,
It
because England gets
bounces.
bounced, right? So
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I'm maintaining my defensive line here.
Yeah. It's not too big of a deal, especially now that these two, Mapuche and Guarani, have pulled
Yeah.
back off you.
So overall, I'm feeling fine about this, especially if I can get Portugal to disband Barotes here. And yeah, like you said, Guarani and Mapuche. Oftentimes people in diplomacy focus on these like micro interactions about one dot. And it's true that I'm not happy about this Cape Co here, but it's much more important that Portugal and Guarani aren't sending like 15 units my way than it is that Guarani is currently in Cape Co, right? Because
Yeah.
Guarani being in Cape Co is a very temporary short-term one dot problem. And I wasn't even that upset about it because I think part of it was like, oh, my dot count's going to go down, so I can just take it back next year, and then my dot count will go back up, and people will not be freaked out about my dot count. And something really cool, and actually the first thing that I was super excited about when this phase resolves is England passes me on the leaderboard. At this phase, I fall to second place on the leaderboard, right behind England, at least when the fall moves resolve before the retreats. Funnily enough, as soon as retreats resolve, I go back up to first. But because England had that one moment of being in first place, so much tension alleviates on me. People start worrying about England more. And I think this is just kind of silly board leader watching. The fact that England and I are literally a one dot differential, and but just the fact of who's first and who's second on the leaderboard makes such a big difference in terms of like the way people are treating us. Um,
Yeah.
but
I
that
think,
was a big moment for this for me, and I'm able to start doing press and start negotiating people down because I think people realized, oh, Kongo was actually not going to solo. And in fact, I might even go down this year, but I'm happy about it. If we look over at the leaderboard, how many dots am I at after this fall? I was at 25. I'm
25 is
still
what
at
you
25.
started with.
Or maybe
At,
it just hasn't gone through actually. No,
yeah,
yeah, okay, there we go. I'm
.24.
down to 24, so -1. And England's up 7 or something.
Yeah.
Great.
You're -1, which I think is just
Well, there's a
Marig
lot of dots changed hands. Yeah,
and Cape
I lost
Co.
Marie, I lost Cape Co. I gained Barotes. I gained Hawara, maybe. No, I already had Hawara.
Yeah. I think that you just
So I
gained
just lost those 2
roads.
and gained 1. Okay, it's maybe less than I thought. Changed hands.
Yeah. Lots of retreats, though.
Yes,
You
so
got
very
this
sad to see
one.
this retreat, I believe. Oh no, these are just options. Never mind. Okay, because I really want Barotes to be pulled off the board. I have my own retreat. Yeah, that's interesting. This is an interesting fleet retreat because I can do an aggressive option. So I was considering, for example, Imarina or Mascarene Sea are very, Imarina especially is a very strong option against Portugal. Not because you're actually getting any dots, but because you're requiring this Seychelles Sea to stay around for Sakalava and all that sort of stuff. It's a very annoying to deal with retreat. I have options to escape out into INO if I wanted to, potentially, but I don't really want to do that. Southern Sea or Zulu for backtracking are both reasonable to help deal with the Cape Coast situation.
Do Southern Sea.
Yeah, lots of good options. What do you think you would do here? I don't remember what I did. I can tell you I did.
Southern Sea is probably one of my favorite options here,
Yeah,
but
Southern Sea seems reasonable.
I feel like Imarina is just going to get lost and not going to be too useful.
It just messes with Portugal a lot.
Yeah, it's okay if you want to accept a death war with Portugal. If the idea of peace is still happening, like possibly with Barrotes, I think I would not. I would hold off on doing something crazy like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. If Portugal's pulling Barrots, I would not want to do that.
Indian Ocean would be really interesting though. It would probably be super anti Ayutthaya. Um, though it could just be used to tap Portuguese fleets
Hmm.
or something. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think it would really be anti-Ayutthaya. I don't think I'm going to be able to mess with Ayutthaya here with one
I think
fleet.
it. I think it would. I suck though. My vote is Southern Sea.
Yeah, let's see what I do. I think that's probably what I do. And there's also an SAO retreat here. What's that
Nope,
one?
you go in.
I got INO. Interesting. Okay. We'll
Oh,
see
and
what
he
develops
does.
with that.
He
And I do
does.
get Portugal to disband. Okay. Now what's INO doing here? Mapuche. Oh, sorry, not INO. SAO. Mapuche is going
Mapuche
up
is going
to
to NAO
North Atlantic. Cool. Yeah.
and Plymouth.
And Plymouth. Yeah. So anti-England. Because England is now top of the leaderboard. Mapuche especially was a very balance of power oriented player, which was spurred on in part because I think they were lower on the leaderboard, but they were very focused on balance of power. Um, and we see this now, them trying to balance England.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of conversations I was having with them because it was like I was very much being okay with slowing down my own growth here as Congo because and I see Congo as a very slow power. In fact, one of the slowest in imperial diplomacy. That's part of why Congo has actually never gotten a solo win before this game. Of like because
Spoiler.
it's really hard for Congo to take a lot of dots quickly because you're very land based and armies move way slower than fleets. Um, and just in terms of how many fronts you have, it's much lower than like a lot of other powers. So like if you compare them to like um, I don't know, like an Austria or something. Like you're very much on this one land continent. Austria has so many dots around them that's like highly dense.
It's very dense
Yeah,
compared. Like there's
or
a
any of the
lot
South
of
America
open
regionals, for
space.
example. The South America regionals are never running out of dots via land expansion,
Yeah,
really.
there's a lot.
Yeah, there's enough for all three of them to be like mid-sized impunity contenders. Whereas if you look at Africa, if I take every dot in Africa, that's like one person impunities in this version of the map. Um,
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of space for you as Congo, and there's not a lot of different directions you can really go. And one of those is basically a stalemate line for me as well. So very slow power and being like, hey, I'm in check. West Africa is completely stalemated. Sure, I can take some of these dots off Portugal and East Africa, but I can't really do much because they have all these fleets anyway. So talking to Mapuche is like, I need like 8 more dots to reach my impunity. I'm not getting there anywhere anytime soon. Whereas England and Poland are much bigger threats, both because they can get there much faster, which we see with England shooting up the leaderboard with a +8. And also because they have the units and power to just be unstoppable. Like people can just bully them, and they're like if you look at England, like who's gonna like they can win against everyone in North Atlantic Ocean right now. Um, like even if you imagine this like Inuit Portugal,
Yeah.
Mapuche coalition lasts, like they're just eating their way through Inuit right now. France is already dead in North America, so there's really
Yeah.
no resistance. And if they take all the Caribbean because you all have given up on the Caribbean, they're just not they don't really have any contested dot sources anymore. So they have all these fleets that they can just send out to go out into the world. So I was very scared about England and Poland, like truthfully, but I was also conveying that to Mapuche and giving compelling arguments as to why I viewed the board that way. Because I did. I mean, I thought that they were a bigger threat in terms of reaching a point where they were both unstoppable and they would have a duo impunity that no one could do anything about on the board. Um, but also just like emphasizing that the willingness to slow myself down to negotiate with Mapuche, I think also made Mapuche much more comfortable with me than with England or Poland because I don't think they were making similar decisions. I don't think they would have ever consciously chosen like, yeah, I'm going to make this move because it slows down my growth, or I'm okay with sitting with this front being a complete stalemate in West Africa, for example. Stuff like
Yeah.
that. And that's been consistently my rhetoric throughout the game of like, I just want to be in a group impunity, which is just true of my playstyle. Like I don't really value a solo much higher. So when everyone's freaking out about me being a solo threat, I'm immediately like, okay, how can we work that out so I'm no longer viewed as a solo threat? I don't want scary. I want to be working together and in these group wins, and I just want to make sure that I'm going to reach 100% eventually and not get outraced. But as long as I'm not getting outraced, I'm not in a rush to outrace other people.
Yeah.
Because an
Hmm.
impunity is a win regardless of how many people are in it. So
Yeah, it does still count as a win.
exactly. And it's, in my opinion, it's impressive enough. Something else that's interesting I forgot to note slightly earlier is that I found out in spring that people were blaming Tokugawa significantly. I'm also getting a lot of blame on England, Poland, and Portugal as all people coalitioning me. Tokugawa is a bit of an interesting one. Tokugawa is apparently responsible for making the Kongo coalition chat. So I kind of confront them about it and I message them about it. And Toku is just like, yeah, I did it, but you should be more upset with the people who are actually attacking you than me. And I just wanted to point this out was kind of, I think, a fairly big mistake by Tokugawa just doing this in general.
Is saying
Like
that they
sometimes
did it.
it can be the funny way I'd put this is like it's it can be very good to meddle across the map, but if you're gonna do it, don't get caught. And Tokugawa very much got caught and lost a lot of goodwill with me. Because I had a very good relationship with Tokugawa in the early game. I think we talked about this a bit in part one, but I was negotiating a lot of the like Dutch Portugal stabs, and that was happening with Tokugawa and Ming in the early game. And I had a very good relationship with Tokugawa. I would have shared a lot of cross map information with Tokugawa, and Tokugawa is like an impunity contender, and I would have wanted to group impunity with Tokugawa, and I would have encouraged other people to do pro Tokugawa things. And you never know, like, when is that going to come up because it's a Kongo Tokugawa relationship in the future. But you know that Kongo is a powerful like player on this board, and it's one of the impunity contenders. So you really should want to keep a good relationship with them because that can end up mattering in ways in the future that you don't know necessarily how will impact you down the line. That's why, in general, I like to keep good relationships with most people because you don't know how that might come up. And I don't remember exactly how it comes up, but I remember it comes out up later, and I'm like, dang, Toko, I wish you had been my friend, because I would be more inclined to help you out here, but I'm not. Perhaps someone tells me that they're stabbing Tokugawa or something. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, maybe like someone over here,
Mhm.
perhaps. That's funny that they said that they did it. So,
Yeah, I don't even remember if they did. They committed. I don't remember. I just remember having a bad conversation about it, and even if they hadn't, even before that point, just like the fact that everyone else was pointing to Tokugawa as a person who was like pushing them against me is just like you don't want to be that hard pushing someone that way.
yeah, this Ottoman disband, like we mentioned it, that is very nice. Is that
Yeah, I think
that
I have a
attempt to
similar thing
redo
of
those
like,
borders again?
yeah, I think it's the same, very similar pitch of like, hey, can we stop insisting on this? You rebuilt Cairo. We can do the Hawaii Gondar thing again. Um, I wonder if it lasts. Um,
Yeah, and
I did
Abyssinia
not realize the
retreats.
Ottomans did this twice. Yeah, it'd be very funny if they built Army Cairo again. Um,
I don't think they have builds. Um, no,
I don't
maybe
know.
they do. They got
Yeah,
Riyadh
maybe they do. They
back.
just took Isfahan and they just pulled a unit as well. So. Oh, and they took
And they
Radaya as well. They probably
and they
have
got
builds.
Sarajevo.
Yeah, and Arabia, they also have Riyadh as well. So I
They
think they
did
have
like
builds.
lose everything over here though. So
Yeah. But they
oh,
also
they
disbanded a unit
disbanded.
there, which they could have retreated, I believe. So that's also odd. Anyway. Yeah, I think Ottomans is probably building.
You want to look at and see?
Um,
Yeah, see, you're back in.
yeah, I'm back after the retreat. I think it's because
I think it's
because the Plymouth retreat. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Where does
I don't
Ottoman build? Or actually, that's just retreats.
yeah, but
And I
builds.
also they do build Army Cairo. I forgot that happened. I didn't ever. They did it twice in a row.
That's
That's absolutely hilarious.
that's
Wow.
so funny. Oh my god.
Wow, that's kind of baffling to me.
That's awesome. What the
We're
heck?
back to this 5-on-5 army scenario then. I still really want to pull Oromo over to
But they just
Portugal.
lost so much tempo. Come on.
They lost so much tempo, and the other thing is they just stabbed Portugal with Damblin Shore. And
Yeah.
I've been pitching this whole, I mean, to both Portugal and Ottomans at this point, because both of them have stabbed me. I'm just pitching like, hey, like whichever one of you actually wants to work with me, I'll just work with you against the other. Like I'm very happy with that deal. Either I just take all the Abyssinia home centers, or I just take all the Algernon home centers, or something. Like I just don't want to be, or I split them with the other person, whatever. I just don't want to be fighting both of you. Um,
Yeah.
and
Like
also like I'm dot rich enough that I can afford to kind of make a deal like that and not have to fight one of these two.
this is nice though.
Yes, I think that was part of
And
this.
no
Yeah, yeah.
armies.
So we already were making steps towards peace, right? Like they
Yeah,
had disbanded the army, they built the fleet Hobyo, and they're going to fight Ottomans. I don't know how much they're committing to that yet. I remember that this stab saga doesn't end super quickly, so maybe they're still stabbing me a few times. But yeah, there's certainly ways to go.
and no builds from you.
No builds, but no disbands, I believe, because I
I
had
think
a wave or
it's
something.
yeah, either
Maybe I
that or
didn't have
you
a
had a
wave.
force disband.
Maybe I had a
I
force
heard.
disband. What did I have force disbanded? Huh.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Wait,
Oh,
what unit did I take off last year?
uh, maybe you had a wave.
I must have had a wave. Maybe I did wave,
Yeah,
yeah. Instead of putting down
because
the 5 units last year. Interesting.
yeah, you still have that fleet. I would imagine that's the first thing to go.
Probably would be, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh,
You want to
weird.
move into moves or is there any other
Um,
builds of note? Not much
yeah, I'm worried about England
besides.
soloing here. It's just something I was thinking about. Because England still has explosive growth potential, and they have a lot of builds they're putting
Hey,
on.
look, it happened.
Yep, exactly. Form Puche. Oh.
Yeah, Dutch is finally disbanding Europe, which makes sense. That's kind of a lost position at this point.
Yeah, I have another note about thinking a lot about the Ottomans' tactics. That this was a really interesting tactics phase with Ottomans. I think this one especially, I remember doing a lot of. Because you don't often have these scenarios in diplomacy where it's like a 5v5 where the units have this many options and this like can go in because it's kind of like very like I'm very surrounded. It's not just like our units are wedged against each other in a front, right? Like there's a lot of tactical options. I remember this being a very tactically rich position in terms of like what
Yeah,
Ottomans can do here and what I can do here. Um, but
I'm
I ended
very
up deciding
happy
on a
that
move set that I think is very strong.
they disbanded Sonar.
Yeah, I didn't think there was much thought in it. It was just Debre's their last build, so they need to hold on to it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
cool.
remember the tactics around here being very interesting.
Yeah,
Ooh, I would
and
go
I
to
can probably explain them once we see them. I won't be able to explain all the variations, but I was really happy with what I came up with because I think it covers basically everything the Ottomans can do, and it almost always results in good results. So we can look at those. Yeah, this is a very big phase. So we're going into the 7th spring phase.
yeah. So this would have worked. Oh
Yeah,
wait, no.
if
It's fine. It's fine. Makes up for the
yeah,
fact
I did
Abyssinia
want
messed up.
Abyssinia to support me here, but at this point I kind of didn't expect Abyssinia to do anything. And interestingly enough, I think that's a big part of why I moved to Sidamo here. And that's why I thought I might have retreated there earlier, which is that this is actually a very interesting move where it's like, it's partially I'm just giving Bido up to Portugal, right? Because I'm going to lose that anyway. And I'm going to
Yeah,
retreat towards Ottomans because I'm basically making this decision of, okay, Portugal's playing ball, they disbanded Moravi, and also they have all these fleets here, I can't fight them anyway. So if I have to pick a front and neither power is going to work with me, that front is going to be I'm going to attack Ottomans. So that's part of why I'm going to Sadamo. The other reason I'm going to Sadamo here is because um, Abyssinia is just not working with me. And I think after seeing these moves and seeing them not support me to Gajam, I'm basically deciding, okay, I need a unit in Debre Burhan that's going to offer me supports into Gajam. And had they offer me the support, great. But if they're not going to do that, I think I might even just do this in fall. I'm literally just going to take Debre Burhan just so I can have a unit there that's going to offer me supports. And I think I mentioned this
yeah,
in the part one where it makes me really sad when it's like, you literally, if you were just a 1 dot vassal that was just offering supports, I would have never killed you. I literally killed you because I wanted to have, or tried to kill you because I wanted to have a unit there that was doing those things. So it's like completely the opposite of what you usually see, I guess, where it's like, um, someone replaces a unit with something because they want the dot or whatever. It's completely opposite. I don't care about having this dot that much, but I just want a unit there that can offer me supports, and
yeah.
they're not doing
Because
that.
there's other dots to grow from instead of that one right nearby.
Yep. Yep. And like there's 3 other Ottoman dots right there that is actively fighting me. So and
Yeah,
also like I didn't really have a reason to be upset with Abyssinia this game besides they're like not being communicative and doing bad order sets. It's not like they ever stabbed me really. Um so
yeah. If anything, you stabbed them.
yeah, I definitely did, but to a much lesser extent than the Ottomans.
Yeah. I do like getting into Sagawa though. This is this is really funny.
Yeah,
It's-
the second time Ottomans ignores my
and
support into Timbuktu.
this time ignored England's too.
Yeah, I mean, I was just support holding, so I don't know why you'd ever even offer that, really. I don't know. It's not
Yeah,
an option.
I don't know why he moved to yellow though.
Very
So
odd choice. Yeah,
could have
it is
bounced you
interesting,
out.
isn't it?
Maybe he wanted to keep it open for a retreat, though.
Wait, where's Beha even going? Just holding. But not, they
Clap, I
could just support
guess.
themselves? Okay. Yeah, at this point, I think Ottomans is memeing a little bit. I don't know, actually. I guess it's
Yeah,
just,
I
I don't
just
think they're fully memeing, though. Like, this is, like, mostly legitimate order set.
yeah,
Um,
they're just holding with those units.
yeah, and
They
they
could
just
have
like this.
supported to here, but like
Maybe they didn't want to. They were okay with that bouncing.
maybe they were like, ah, there's no way Kongo goes there, which was true.
I definitely
So
don't think they expected me to walk into Axum, though.
no,
And
I
I
think they
think I now have
probably
Axum
expected they
guaranteed to hold as well. Maybe?
they, they probably expected the support in Beja.
Yeah, I'm guaranteed to hold Axum, I believe, here. If as long as Abyssinia taps Mekele, which hopefully they do.
They've got 4 units on.
Yeah, I can tap all of them, I think. I just have to tap Gondor and
Uh,
Godjam,
you
and
can't
then
tap Soken though.
oh, true. I guess they could support something else up with Syoken. But if they do that, that's fine.
I think probably what the best option is just supporting into Gondor,
Um,
supporting Axum to Gondor, and then tapping Gojam.
yeah, I don't know. I think the best option is whatever I ended up doing in the fall, because I was definitely
All
much more
right, all
smart
right.
then
Well,
and
we'll
thinking.
see.
I don't remember what I did in the fall, by the way, so I might have just supported into Gondor. Um, I just remember I thought about this for a long time and I broke down different options. Um, yeah, I don't remember what that was, but let's see. It could
If
have
it
been.
doesn't work,
I
that'll
think
be
I
very
think supporting
funny.
into Gondor is reasonable. I think tapping Gondor and tapping Mekele is reasonable. Of course, if Abyssinia was just cooperative, it would be much easier, but
Yeah,
um, the problem with supporting into Gondor, though, as well, is that you're going to have a retreat, but it is fall. Um,
yeah. You'll probably end up getting a build for Darfur this
but just in
winter.
general, it was kind of shocking as well that like I'm getting a build here against all. We have unit parity. Uh, it's a
Well,
5v5 and even a 6v5
it's because
actually with
they
them pulling over the
disbanded
army.
and built in Cairo
Yeah,
and
that is
didn't
partially.
bounce you out.
Yeah.
Like it's odd. It's odd moves all around.
Portugal does not stab Ottomans here, which makes me very sad. They could have just
No, they
supported
don't.
into Damblin Shore. They have so many fleets. I don't even know what they're doing with
They
them.
they very much verified they were getting. I know.
Yeah, this is kind of
That's
wild to me though, because Ottomans just stabbed you by moving into Damblin Shore, actively attacking them in West Africa, when you could just support yourself into Damblin Shore instead.
they did move here. And
Yeah, and
Ottomans
Ottomans
just
stabbed them.
stab.
Yep.
Stab. Okay. All right.
This stab was wild to me, by the way, and I think this. I talked to Portugal a lot about this
It's like a
Muscat stab.
1 dot stab for
Yep.
what?
I talked to
Uh,
Portugal a lot about this Muscat stab as an example, because again, Portugal at this point is just purely playing balance to power for the sake of the board. And also, if you scroll over to Asia, let's look at how Portugal's doing in Asia.
not great.
Okay.
No, they got Macau again.
Yeah, they were stabbed from Macau, but it looks like they got it back.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, although Formosa to Phocian Strait is not something you want to see. But anyway, um,
No, not really. But
oh. But the fact that like Ottomans is stabbing Portugal here, I think I can use to like try to finally make an alliance with Portugal
it's
work
just
again.
like this.
Because I never wanted to be fighting
This
Portugal.
could go
Portugal has
over
kind of
here.
started all this themselves.
This like this. I guess that is defending Tunis. So they did just leave Tripoli open. So
They
they
also left
kind of
Belarus open. If Portugal had just moved their fleet out, they would have had Belarus completely open.
yeah.
Yeah. which this is a wild level of trust in my opinion for two people who are like kind of at war. Um,
This Polaris looks really pretty.
yeah, a lot of these tactics are very odd to me.
Like with the core, I don't know, and the colors. At random aside,
Oh, I thought you meant pretty as in terms of wanting to take it, but yeah, it does look nice.
it does. It just looks really pretty. I don't know why.
Yeah, now Portugal rotates over this army, which is
Portugal
annoying.
actually has 2 on Timbuktu.
Yep,
That's
which I'm
some
of course
crazy
going to offer them support
maneuvering.
into, and hopefully they'll take it. We hope. And Portugal also could have taken Mali for a very long time now, but they're just not.
It lost. Ooh,
Yes, they also get stabbed by Poland again. Um, that was
yeah.
definitely not initiated by me. That was just Poland decided to stab them again. I forgot England got into. Oh yeah, England got into Ouagadougou last time. Made a mistake, so I'm just trying to push back Ouagadougou. Dutch are helping me with that. Oh, and I succeed,
Oh, you
and it
do,
forced
yeah.
disbands. And it forced disbands England. Yeah, this is just a tactical blunder. I forgot they did this. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what the.
I don't think they
Yeah, I don't
really
know.
had much of an option
I think
here.
no, they did have an option here. I think they had to support England up to Bosa.
Uh,
I think
yeah,
that's
to
the orders
prevent
that I
it
was worried
from
about.
like forced disbanding, yes, but I don't think they were ever going to keep Ouagadougou here,
No, they were not.
as long as the Dutch was going to tap Mali.
Yes. So, and I actually expected them to see that and then support England into Bosa because I think that was the only good order set they had here. I think, but
Yeah,
they did not do that. And I was
that was
actually a little
great
bit
for
worried
you.
about that. Yeah, it's great for me.
That means the
Uh,
stalemate line is you're able to get pushed past it.
yeah, a little bit. I mean, I don't think this is ever a real stalemate line. That's an interesting conversation topic where like a lot of people like there was a lot of talk about like forming a stalemate line here and stopping Congo here. The reason I don't think this is ever like anywhere near a real stalemate line is
It's
both
because
because
it's too
Mandan
chaotic back
exists,
here.
and because it's all connected to South Atlantic. So if I ever in the late game, if I ever just like dump 3, 4 fleets into South Atlantic and then push them north up into like Sierra
Yeah,
Leone or whatever, I can always break this. Like it's not,
yeah.
yeah. So if it's purely on land, yeah, but because it's connected to this mass high seas ocean, I can always put more units in the late
Also, you're
game.
going to be able to core
Yep.
Grimmington
Yeah, and it looks
because
amazing here where it's just it's simultaneously blocking the retreat and also being a core. Yeah.
yeah, that's fantastic.
Throughout this game, I feel really good about my unit movements and like I think this is one of my strongest tactical games, just in terms of like all my units always feel like they're moving places quickly and being very efficient with their turns.
Yeah, I did notice that Soyu moving to Luanda, which I do appreciate
Yeah,
very much. I'm
one of those
happy
tactical
that
small
you
notes.
color.
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
happy that
that's
you
why.
colored that in.
Yeah. I think the
This
reason
is
for that,
still an issue.
yeah, I think that's always going to be an issue. I don't think I'm ever going to walk
I
down here.
know, I know.
Unless they do a recoloring, which sometimes the GMs do. But yeah,
It's really
um,
sad that
and really a lot of these were actually the subject of recolorings anyway. Because I think I never walked into like Voodoo either. Like this entire game, I don't think I ever walked into Voodoo, which is next
voodoo.
to Bunyoro,
Where?
next to
What's that?
Bunyoro and Mongo. I don't think I ever walked into Voodoo, for example, or Lagone. There's a lot of
Uh,
tiles I just completely
I
ignore on this
think you
map.
might have. Maybe,
I don't think so.
maybe not actually.
I can't remember ever moving to Voodoo or Lagone. I definitely don't walk into Fimi, which is near my home centers.
Well, yeah, that's probably started off colored
I
though.
think it starts off, yeah. I
Yes.
forget why I wanted to go to Benguela. Maybe it was a core, but not really. I don't think that was the main reason. I think part of it was I needed to cover that in case they forced their way into Kalahari, something like that.
Also, because you needed progress.
That was the
Maybe
army that originally was used for a convoy into West Africa that got denied. That's kind of funny. It just started marching down.
the thing is because you had to bounce, like organized with Girani here. So you just want because you couldn't backfill Matamba.
Yeah, but I was thinking about this long term because I even sent it. I sent it to Luanda last fall. And I think part of that was I was already feeling Matamba, and I wanted to go to Luanda instead of Malanje because it has this rotation point through Benguela,
Yeah.
yeah, which I viewed as more flexible. Um,
Supported to Kalahari, Matamba goes that east.
Yeah. I think I also just wanted to assert control over Kalahari. Like, I want to always have complete control over Kalahari, because then I can have control over Kipko and Mutapa and Delagoa. It does seem like Portugal is somewhat piecing me out here.
Yeah,
And
I think
Portugal's
they
doing some
did,
weird stuff.
right? Like, I
Yeah.
think pretty much.
I think they're doing it in a confusing way, though. Like, I don't Mozambique to Comoros. is very slow. The fact that they're not stabbing Ottomans is very slow as well. Like they should just be stabbing in Dimlin Shore and stuff and pushing towards
Oh,
Arabia.
you got into Crozet again.
I did, yes. I support myself into Crozet, which is cool.
You get into. You don't. You don't get into South Atlantic.
SAO. But England is also leaving SAO, I think, because of this Mapuche stuff, which is, yeah, good.
Yeah. Or they're just tapping Mapuche.
Yeah. Sure.
Which was smart because it
But
worked.
they're not using SAO for stuff around it, which is cool.
Yeah. Overall, good. Good turn though. Look,
Yeah,
I
I'm pretty
noticed
happy
your
about how this went.
positioning around Moravi and Beira.
Yep, I am. I think, yeah, Portugal and I are definitely at semi-war at this point. I guess that's part of why Portugal's pulling their fleets, actually. They're probably trying to protect Beira and Moravi.
Yeah. I'm surprised though, because it did seem like that peace proposal was working out pretty well.
Yeah.
So I guess you do need the dots to win somehow.
Yeah, I think I want Moravi and Beira here, and I want to disband the army.
Yeah.
So, cool. Oh, sorry. There's one more, actually, if you go back. There's one more big thing that happened this phase. I also had
Yes.
a note, which is trying hard to reconcile with Portugal each phase. They are stabbing me repeatedly. That's what I've written down for this. So I guess this was a stab. If we look over at Europe, though, something interesting is happening. We see
Ooh,
Poland is stabbing England here,
yes.
which
And
is a really big
pouring
deal.
olive
Yeah, and if we
is
go to the
closer.
Caribbean as well, we can see the same thing. This is a full board stab.
Poland is stabbing England, yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah, it looks more awkward than it
Uh
is, but
yeah, it seems like it's agreed. It's like a weird mix of I hate whoever we were already fighting, but also I'm just fighting them too.
yeah.
Because maybe
But
they
I have
just
that
only
noted.
wanted to have like a regional fight in Europe and still be allies everywhere else, because that's kind of what it looks like.
Maybe. Although this France move, Jamaica, Barracoa, I don't know, it looks very negotiated, but maybe that was just like the natural positional moves.
Yeah, just stab or just tap France. Seems like it makes sense.
Yeah, it could be. But I have that noted down. It's a very big deal. The England-Poland alliance breaks apart, which was the strongest power when combined in the board. And it was also freaking me out a lot about. And I think that and part of this is because England was the top on the board for a phase and also was the solo threat. Now Poland is reacting to that. Although I believe Poland said post-game that they were kind of looking for an opportunity to do this eventually anyways. And with this also we see a reconciliation between Poland and Austria, which is cool. I'm very happy about this. I like the Poland-Austria alliance, and I don't like the Poland-England alliance, so
It's
I'm very
crazy
happy this
they got
happens.
into Kiev here.
Oh, that is kind of wild, yeah. Oh, this was spring phase, so it's kind of whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay, I'm ready to move on. Any retreats that were interesting? Oh, I
Bado.
have a retreat here. Yeah. Oh, I think this is actually a repeat of what I was thinking previously, where it's like I have these choices between Bunyoro, Turkana, and Heron. And Heron is very anti-Portugal, is committing myself to fighting them because they keep stopping me. Bunyoro is more
And
like
you can always go to
anti-Ottomans.
Harin later because it's all fleets. So
Yeah, but they can build an army in Hobyo. But yes,
as long as you have an army in Binyoro, you'll always have the opportunity to go into Harin
sure.
before they can bounce you. So
And then Turkana was kind of interesting. It like puts another thing on Kismayo, which is like if I want to support down into Kismayo and like pressure Zanzibar, that's an option. So all three of these have some merits. What would you do?
yeah.
And I don't remember what I do, but I think I can guess.
Last time I liked Harin.
Hmm.
It is committal though.
Yeah, I'm guessing I did Bunyoro. That seems reasonable here, just to rotate up
Yeah,
against
it,
Ottomans.
like as I said, you can just move in whenever.
Yeah, and I
If
kind of
you
just want to full shove Ottomans at this point and take all the Abyssinia dots.
like at least attempt to have peace with Portugal
Yeah. Well, it's
here.
also like even if Portugal wants to re-aggravate, what are they gonna do? Like they just have what is this,
Yeah,
6 fleets just sitting on this coastline.
one
Uh,
army,
yeah, 8
Delagoa,
if you
I
count
guess.
those 9 if you count those 3 as well down there. But
They
um,
already took everything they really could from you up here.
yeah, they can actually hold Beira and Moravi forever. which is annoying. But other than that, they can't really do a whole.
Yeah. See where you go.
Yeah.
Yep, Banura.
Yep, I make the boring choice. Look at me.
Boring choice.
I don't know. I guess it's not that boring, but
It is the boring one. It's not committal, so
I think it's committal. I think
boring.
it's anti-Ottoman. But
Move on to fall.
yep.
Whoa, that's a convoy. Holy.
Holy. So I definitely convinced Portugal to do that one. Or maybe I didn't actually. I don't remember. I think I just wanted to say like I think I just suggested that we disband Moravi, but then they decided to do that instead, which I'm very happy with. They're finally stopping Ottomans.
Yeah, that's a
Although it's
good.
so weak.
That's okay.
Because literally a phase before, they wouldn't go into Damblin Shore and they walked out of Hobyo. Oh yeah, I think it was this Muscat stab that was partially very influential to that. It's like
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you're getting beaten while you're down. It's like they're literally doing everything they can to balance a power me, who was their game long ally, who put them in a great position after the early game. And like I was again emphasizing this whole thing of like Portugal's best two regions were West Africa and East Africa, and a large part of that was because they were allied with Congo throughout the entire game. And then they choose to stab me for the sake of the board, and the way the board treats them is walking into Muscat, like, and then yeah, I don't know. Finally getting Portugal to flip and work with me again, um, which is
Yeah.
all I ever wanted. Um,
Which is nice. You
um,
do lose Bado, but you do get Moravi actually.
yeah, I was expecting to lose by Doe. I was potentially expecting them to. Oh, actually, yeah, no, I forgot. Actually, I had guaranteed Moravi this phase. That's what my
Yeah.
spring moves were trying to set up. I was able to put 3 on Moravi when Portugal was. I think if you look actually back all the way back to like before spring, it was impossible for Portugal to ever put 3 units on Moravi with the orders that I did. So I actually had guaranteed Moravi to start the year or something like that. No, you went too far back. That's last year.
Oh, okay. Here.
Yeah. So okay, let's look at this. Is it ever possible for Portugal to defend Moravi?
This is
No,
setting up
it's
for
not. It's
what?
guaranteed Moravi. Because Kismayo can never go down to Makua because it's a fleet. Oh, I guess they could do Mozambique to Beira and then Seychelles to Comoros. I guess that's the one counter, but that's really hard to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at this point I had guaranteed Moravi,
All
which
right.
I believe, and we'll see in this in the fall, leads to them just giving up on Moravi and Beira entirely, which I'm super happy with. I wasn't expecting them to give up on both Moravi and Beira, but they do, so neat.
Yeah. They moved away.
Yep. I was hoping that they would like bounce Delagoa or something would be figured out with this, but unfortunately it just has to go to Guarani, so Guarani sticks around for another phase.
But it's absolutely disappearing next turn. I don't see
Yeah,
that.
and I was much happier for Guarani to be in Delagoa because if Portugal wants to take Delagoa back now, they're taking it back from Guarani instead of from me. And it also
Yeah.
still denies it as a core from Portugal, so like it's not the worst thing in the world. And also I'm in Kalahari now, so that's not gonna last very long.
Yeah. Up here, you got Deborah Burhan
I do.
tapping
And
Michele,
actually no,
and
don't
you
I
got
bounce? Oh no, I do not bounce.
yeah,
Yeah, so
you tapped Michele and got Deborah Burhan. That
so I suggested different order set to Abyssinia, but after them again not responding and me expecting them to just hold again, I literally stabbed them because I want to have a unit there, which I
I
think is
guess
just one of the craziest reasons to stab I've ever seen. Like I don't think
I
I've
guess you were
how
right
many times
about
I've
this
had it.
being the best order set because like
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's great. I got 2 builds.
yeah,
I didn't think that was possible.
and you got into Pesha
Oh yeah. I don't
and
think this is possible with optimal play from Ottomans. I think they should always kick out Oxum here. I'm kind of shocked that they didn't. It kind of just gives me a build for free with not much justification. Just looking at Ottomans orders, like I don't think there's really a justification to do with this.
yeah.
I don't know if I even convinced them to do this because I think we were clearly at war during this time. I don't think I ever was like, let's peace out and have you take
I
Deborah.
wonder
Because
if they
especially
were
because
just like doing orders last minute, not really paying attention.
Yeah, maybe. In contrast to me, like doing a ton of attention on this specific area because I found it very tactically rich and interesting. And creating a result that was basically not possible. It's like
Yeah, I
just
mean they
reminding,
they did want to cover this, so there's that. Like the army, it is just like super defensive the moves that they took here instead of
yeah,
anything
yeah.
crazy.
This started off as like an even-ish front of a 5-on-5 army war, and even like a 5-on-4 because I brought one over from West Africa, and they had the advantage because they stabbed first. And despite all those advantages, it now looks like I'm absolutely winning on this front, which I'm very
Yeah.
happy about. And with the armies pulled over from the Ajuran home centers as well, that seems guaranteed. And this is part of why, like, whenever you see something like this, like, you always should rewind a few years, and it's like, could Ottomans have seen this coming? Absolutely. Like, this is why as Ottomans, I don't think you ever go for the stab on Congo, at least not at that timing. And I think you accept many of those peace deals and you actually go through with them because Portugal has eaten and is still like eating bits of you. Congo is absolutely happy to go fight Portugal for those 4 Adron home centers instead of the Abyssinia ones, but is left having to fight you because of this is how it pans out. And then Portugal ends up convoying into Tuthar anyway. So yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else is there to talk about here? Um,
Probably the um Gordon Kalahari. This
yeah,
is interesting.
oh,
You support
Yeah, so
him.
Portugal is pretty happy with me at this point, I guess. So I support them into Timbuktu. I definitely don't tell them
No, you don't.
I'm, oh no, I don't.
You
I
support
don't?
them. You support yourself into Hagar.
Ah,
They support them
they
into
tapped
you. They just tapped Timbuktu.
Interesting. I think I expected them to support themselves into Timbuktu, I think is what happened here. Because as a diplomacy player, I very rarely like lie about something like this. So I'm pretty sure I did not lie about this, especially to Portugal, who I'm actively trying to peace out at this point. So I think what I said was like something like, yeah, you should go for Timbuktu or something. Or actually, no, they're just doing it to get Mali. Never mind. But yeah, I don't think I ever offered them support here. Which
Oh
is kind
yeah.
of funny that the first time someone actually taps Timbuktu is not on one of the many phases that I was offering support into it. Um,
Yeah.
I wasn't convinced that Portugal was actually going to work with me here, so that's why I'm supporting into Hagar because I want to push it out. And
Yeah.
Ottoman-Portugal tension is increasing a bit because I think I told Ottomans that Portugal was going to stab them for Tripoli or something, so that's why you see them doing this.
Also, like getting all this covered, like getting surrounding this impassable tile is very nice. Getting
Yep,
into wood
I
eye
think
is not hard at all. So
yeah, and I think part of my justification to this to Portugal as well is like, yeah, I figured if you ended up retreating or something, you'd have a retreat into Tripoli. So yeah,
I noticed you just covered Darfur though.
I did cover Darfur. Why did I do that? Doesn't seem like anything's adjacent to it. Why do I cover Darfur? I guess I just wanted a unit there.
Just
And I
want to
didn't think I
go
was
out
getting enough
fast.
builds. Yeah, I guess I just put builds elsewhere. It's fine. Here's the logic. Because how many builds would I be projecting this year? Not that many, right? Although I'm getting a good amount of builds. I'm
Yeah.
getting
Maybe
well, okay, I don't
Dinka to
expect to get 2
Sonar.
in Ottomans. I'm
Oh,
expecting to get 1, 2.
you tapped Michele and Gojam because you did not want Derbyburhan to be support held. But
My logic was I just want to put down 2 fleets anyway.
maybe. You're getting Ugaduga, you're getting Axum, Derbyburhan, you're losing Bedell, so that's what?
I do end up going +3, but
Plus
that
3.
wasn't possible to project. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
only possible to project +2 because Ottomans, if they do good move sets here, I should never take Oxum.
Yeah. So probably Army Pango. These other two things.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's why I covered Darfur.
Finished core.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, the core finishes. Woo. Yeah, some of my orders here are really interesting. So I'm supporting Mandan out to SAO, which is pretty fascinating, and I'm backfilling it instead of am I doing this? Not just sending Gold Coast out to SAO.
I don't
Oh,
know.
so I was worried about. That is weird. I think I was worried about Mandan getting force disbanded. So I was definitely worried about Niani supports Serra Leoa into Mandan or something like that. And this fleet
Maybe you
getting.
thought that Niani was getting supported into Mandan. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I think okay. Now I think I know. I think I was also worried about all the SAO slots potentially filling up, and that would result in Mandan getting force disbanded, which would have been really painful here. So I'm doing this as a hedge against all the SAO um, tiles being disbanded, and also because
Yeah.
Gold Coast doesn't actually end up going to Mandan unless the move to SAO2 succeeds. And it's just very unlikely that someone sneaks into Gold Coast, I think was my logic, because I'm expecting a tap on Mandan or something, or like Mandan's probably going to bounce. Of course it doesn't,
Yeah.
but even then, no one's actually going for Gold Coast anyways. So.
Yeah. Bit of a risk, but you kind of have to take some guesses here.
It is a bit of a risk. It's also something I'm not telling anyone about. Like I'm not telling anyone I'm moving out of Gold Coast. So my coast is continuing to stay very defensively solid this entire game. I think.
Yeah. Besides, Cormonton's moving out Gold Coast right away. Next turn,
Yes,
anyways.
very happy to have that core done. And
And
you're
you're
right, exactly.
getting more fleets, I'd imagine. I start thinking
Potentially,
about
yeah.
the
I
north up
wonder.
here in Poland.
I wonder what I'm doing here. I probably want to get 2 fleets so I can start sending fleets out to South Atlantic. I don't really see myself needing a lot of armies here, and all my armies would be so far away. So yeah, I think it's probably just 2 fleets here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hopefully
I have
getting
3
a
builds though.
core
So
on
maybe
the
I.
other side of Africa. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I don't think I wave actually. So I guess I'd throw down an army in Pango as well.
Yeah. Anything to discuss left here? I think we looked at all the moves.
We might be able to see more Poland-England war at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we look at oh wow, that's much bigger
Ooh,
stab. Yeah. If we look over at Caribbean, also it might be much clearer.
Dutch is getting stuff back.
Yeah, Poland's walking out of Jamaica and going into Baracoa, for example.
Ooh, interesting.
And yeah, Dutch
And
is getting stuff back.
Guarani's Granny Mapuche are over here now finally.
Yeah, they're fighting England more.
Going for
England,
Bahamas.
England's having a bad year. They're losing their South America holdings, which is kind of inevitable.
Yeah.
Oh, we completely missed the saga that was going on here. I forgot about this. At one point during this, I think it was the
Oh,
spring, Aymara had stabbed Guarani, and this is now Guarani reacting. So that probably happened this spring. That was a pretty big deal.
yeah, that is. Looks like he's still fighting a little bit.
And that was probably also related to why, actually, Guarani and Mapuche pieced me out at this point, but yeah, and they were still fighting a little bit at this point. But I think this was actually fake fighting. I think this was like a deal that they made, where these were the agreed upon center exchanges, basically. Um,
I see just Aymara gets stuff is the agreed upon
yes,
trade.
exactly. Aymara gets stuff as the agreed upon trade. Guarani, in most triples, I feel like you have that one person who's super committed to the idea of the triple and like super pro the other 2 people. That was Guarani in this triple. So they were happy with being like the third person, or like Aymara being really big and successful, to keep the triple together. So that's what ultimately they go through with.
I suppose so.
Yeah. Which will reflect in their leaderboard positions after this year.
Yeah.
I don't think Guarani necessarily played poorly either, because I mean they end up like being consistently like a major player because of this. But they're certainly never going to be topping the leaderboards with that
Yeah.
sort of in this sort of game. Yeah, we're in a 3-way triple and you're the weakest of the 3.
Yeah. Do we want to go to the next phase? See what the builds
Yeah,
are?
actually, but before we do, just look at that. All 3 of them are currently on 15 dots on the leaderboard, actually, which they're all the
That's
same VSCC powers, so you'd expect them to
that's
be
quite
even.
awesome.
That is quite awesome. It's about to change very dramatically.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see Mapuche and Aymara both shoot up to 18, and where's Guarani? 16. Okay, not as bad as I
Yeah.
thought.
Only +1 for them.
Yeah, and again, I
Uh,
don't think they're playing poorly. They're actually in a really strong position.
not many
I shouldn't say
options
really.
in regards to retreats.
Yeah, there's the Chamba retreat, which is going to happen.
Eagle's
Uh,
huge. They have successfully kicked out Algeron out of Keshem.
yep, Keshem goes to Persian Gulf.
Yeah.
Abyssinia retreats after they're dead, though, so Abyssinia's dead.
Yep. They choose it.
The
Just
leaderboard actually is
Kanta.
a bit interesting here as well, if you'll notice.
Yeah,
We
Mughals
have a
in second.
new arrival, Mughals in second place, and they're doing really well for themselves.
Yeah, they really are. Wow.
Yep.
Holy
Part of this
crap, they
was,
crushed England.
yeah, something we mentioned in part 1 was, yeah, England's not doing so well right now because they're getting coalition hard because they were in first. They had a Safavids vassal for most of the game. At this point, they've completely killed off, but we mentioned that in part 1. So the Safavids vassal had given them a lot of room here. Uh,
Russia just getting crushed by
this Ming-Toku alliance that they're working with. This the Ming-Toku alliance is working with Mughals here.
The Mughals Ming War looks like a nightmare to deal with, though.
The other thing is Mapuche, Ming, and Toku are absolutely have all decided to crush Ayutthaya together, so that's happening.
Yeah. This is terrifying border gore. why does Ming have Sambong?
The Dutch one is the worst part. Like, look at those Dutch in the middle of Mapuche land. Oh gosh, and there's the Shoshone are in Solomon Islands.
Yeah, this is very colorful East
Yeah,
Indies, I have to say.
almost as colorful as West Africa. Actually, West
It's
Africa's
losing
cleaning up
colors.
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're losing colors, exactly. Mapuche's gone. Yeah.
It's just becoming big and purple.
Yes.
Let's get
Definitely.
through this here.
Yeah, so builds. I have 3 builds. I'm guessing 2 fleets and then army Pango. Yep. Woo.
Oh, they disbanded it.
Yeah, I think this is another one of those cases where it's like I can fill it in now, so it's okay for you to pull it.
Yeah.
So actually, the interesting thing about this as well is it's good for me if Dutch keeps this on and keeps supporting me. But I was like, you know what? The Dutch have had so many moments this game where they've just like randomly decided to stab me and it's messed with the position. I think I'm in a strong enough position that I don't need the Dutch's position help to win here. So I'd rather just take full control over it.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that's what I'm doing here.
And besides, they got their own little quest here.
Yep, exactly. And I want that to succeed or at least survive for as long as possible. So I'm very pro Dutch survival.
Yeah.
And Portugal pieces me out here. I have the note. This is when Portugal's finally is being nice and disbanding Baido. This is where I felt like I finally got through to them, and we're back to our good old alliance buddy days.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very
And they agreed
different
to give me
borders,
Beira,
but
which I didn't even expect them to necessarily.
yeah,
So
that is nice. You're
it's
gonna have
nice.
this whole southern coastline, just not
Yep.
fleets on it.
And they're finally in Arabian Sea and stuff, and we can see just like how strong their position on Ottomans was this entire time. They just weren't really doing or using, because they're about to get so many builds in this region if they want them.
Yeah, Ottomans got another build, and they put it.
And they put an army down in Tripoli. So sad. At this point, it doesn't really matter though. It's too little, too late. All the sure they can
It's
stack
not gonna
armies
do
top of North
anything.
Africa, but all the dots are in Abyssinia, and that is over.
Can't really do anything actually. Like what?
Slows down Portugal. I think that's about it.
Can support themselves into Hagar, and that's all I see.
I think they just support hold Tripoli. I think that's what it's there for.
Yeah.
And support hold Tunis. Yeah, I think that's literally what it's there for. Which I think a fleet is better for. Also, I don't. Yeah, but
yeah, because there's this here.
yeah, and I don't really like coastal armies also because if you get dislodged, you can't retreat and you just get popped. So.
Yeah. Much. Instead, there's Marstad.
Wait, Marstad's a little bit spooky, but I mean, they're pretty clearly Caribbean focused at this point. We're starting to do much more coordination with SAO now, with Puche Guarani and I. At some point, like basically like every phase, we're communicating all of our moves with SAO. Around now, we're starting to do that.
Yeah.
So relationships are starting to repair.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, they were already pretty good. Even when they stabbed me, they kind of stayed good in most of the game, but they're especially good now, like to the point that we have enough trust that we can basically communicate entire move sets. Maybe that's a year from now, actually, but we're going that direction, if not there yet.
Yeah. Do you want to see moves?
Yeah, we can look at spring moves.
1949.
I also have a note. There's more interesting tactics against Ottomans that were thought heavily on here, so in the spring. So we want to look at the Ottomans region first.
Yes, I always do.
Yeah, I remember these ones a bit more. Yeah, okay, I really liked these tactics.
Is this the one where Ali was helping?
I think so.
I remember that one. Like there was some huge conversation about tactics there.
Yeah, that might be this one. Yeah. I just remember that these were really interesting and super effective, the results end up being. But part of why these are effective tactics is you don't just look at the result, but you also look at all the options the Ottomans had. And like, is there any Ottomans order set that's really good against this? Not really. It's pretty darn strong against most of their options here.
Yeah.
And we end up getting into Mekele here. We pop Gotcham, and we're moving into Sanar, and we're getting into Suikin.
Yeah, I think this like pretty much sets up force disbanding everything.
Yeah, it's
Right?
pretty beautiful. I do have to cover Hawara, but that's like fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like I'm even getting into Timbuktu on the edge of the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are.
Portugal's finally working with
Impressive.
me again, so they're just letting me into Timbuktu. That's cool. They're still holding the stalemate line of Poland. I'm fine with that. I wasn't expecting to get into Niani here. I'm just kind of pressure testing the stalemate line to make sure that Poland's not doing anything else.
It could break though if
Yes,
Portugal helps you.
and Portugal is stabbing Poland as well. But yeah,
Yeah. If they tapped, no, it wouldn't have worked. They
mhm.
needed the. So maybe
We're
this
also
fall they can help you.
forcing into Serra Leoa here, which I believe, yeah, I'm the one forcing. Guarani supports me in. I believe this is a deal for something I had done last year or something. I was like, hey, can I get support into this in exchange for something I did last year, which I don't remember what that was, but it works out.
Yeah. Got another fleet into SAO.
Yep, Portugal makes my life
He's
really
just
easy in
he's
terms
just
of Beira.
tapping Yipko.
Yep, just tapping keep code, getting pushed out in the fall. And Portugal doesn't bounce me
Yeah.
out of Beira, so that's easy. I don't have to choose between Delago and Beira.
They moved
And I'm
away
leaving
into
Portugal all the Adron centers. Yep, they're coming into INO. And I'm pitching all these like expansion routes because Portugal has been very sad. They're like, I'm not getting any dots. My position sucks. And I'm like, okay, here's all these expansion routes that I've been pitching for years since before you stabbed me. You can eat all of Arabia here. You can get all these INO
Aurora.
dots. Yeah. And they get Namara here, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it's short-lived because Ottomans chooses to rotate everything over. Um,
Yeah.
but they do get Namara. And with all those fleets coming, they're going to get much more if they want.
Forgot the Dutch still had Reunion.
They did. They kept one fleet there too. Um,
Yeah, not a bad turn. Not a lot of crazy stuff's going on, I
oh,
don't
great
think,
turn. And
though.
I'm getting into SAO. Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly just like Portugal's an ally. Things are great.
Something interesting I have
Ottomans.
noted as well for this spring was I was intentionally doing low press at this time. Just in general, my energy levels went a bit down during the year where I was getting mass coalitioned, but I was very happy with the status quo and I wanted to avoid attracting attention. Um, and I felt like this was the point of the game where we started to reach a general apathy about checking me due to the long status quo of me being the board leader. At this point, I've been the board leader for like 5+ years, and we kind of had a boy who cried wolf moment where everyone was saying, I'm going to solo this year, I'm going to solo this year. Like on the year where everyone was coalitioning me and I went like +0 or like -1 or whatever, I think it was -1. During that year, people were projecting me to go like +9. And Tokugawa, who made the coalition chat, was one of the people doing that. England was pushing that. So when you have those moments where people are projecting these like very crazy, like this is what this person's going to do, and then it doesn't end up happening, then people get much more apathetic because it's like you can only get people to drop everything else on the board and address this one person so many times. Um,
Yeah.
it felt like a lot of that was wearing down. And the other thing is I'm doing everything I can through press and moves to keep everyone happy with me. I'm pushing for these group impunities. Like if someone ever has a request, like when it comes to the SAO stuff, I'm keeping with it. So for example, in South Atlantic Ocean, I can put more fleets into South Atlantic Ocean here, but I'm not. I think we had some sort of agreement in terms of how many fleets that we can put in here. So I'm intentionally trying to make sure that Guarani and Mapuche feel very comfortable exploring their own growth paths and not worried about me potentially attacking into them. And because I'm giving them that space to grow, they're very happy with me and they don't feel like they feel like I'm committed to this idea of them reaching the group impunity.
Yeah.
And I am to a certain extent, like because the way I see this in this position is I'm very happy to have a group impunity. I just don't want to ever be cut. I don't want anyone to like coalition me, and I don't want another person to emerge as a solo threat and kick me out. Like I just want to win the game, and a group impunity seems like a really easy, safe, solid way to do that. That being said, I did also start to think a solo might be possible on this board. Is around here is when I'm starting to think that because the position is going so well for me.
Yeah. Like this is a pretty fantastic turn. Like
Yeah,
Portugal just not fighting you anymore.
yeah, and the big thing is I'm getting a lot of quick growth here that's not being contested at all. Um,
Yeah. You finally broke through Ottomans.
yeah, I'm getting a big jump of Ottomans. I'm getting a couple Portugal dots that are getting like Delagoa and Beira. I'm getting Timbuktu. Like this is gonna be a big build year for sure. And I have the cores to use it as well.
Yeah.
I can build in 6 places.
Yeah. Pretty good.
It's definitely not a guaranteed solo, but it's reopened as a possibility, I think. And the way I approach a solo this game and just in general with my playstyle, it's always group impunity first, solo is the secondary possibility, and if it happens, it happens. But most important to me is getting into impunity, winning the game, and ensuring people don't. So I don't want to go too fast. I don't want to go for like hasty stabs that get people mad at me, and then I get coalition cut out of it entirely. So I just want to make sure I'm over 100%, I'm defensively solid, and then maybe if the opportunity comes, then I'll go for it. But that's kind of my
Yeah.
attitude right now.
It's like 100% guaranteed that there's a solo.
Yeah, I especially compared to most people that's have a very high bright line for what I go for. So like
Yeah.
if it's basically yeah, like because I value the win so much more than I value the solo, um, if I have an impunity on the table, to give that up for a group impunity on the table, to give that up for a solo impunity, it would have to be basically guaranteed because otherwise I'm not going to risk like a 5% chance of winning just for being able to say I won by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to look at retreats here.
Oh, another thing that's interesting about this, we're not at falls yet, but when we get to fall, before fall moves, so like after spring retreats, so you can go in spring retreats, that's fine.
Yeah. Forced
Oh, it's a forced
disbanded.
disband.
Go to Tigray.
I retreat to Tigray. Oh yeah, so I can doubly cover Hawara here, so yeah, that's all fine. Timbuktu is forced disband, which is great. England's gone from Africa.
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, I mean, we did mention it briefly, but I'm in Sierra Leone now. That's like a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Stamina line is super broken.
That is
Like,
super huge. That's
yeah,
Niani and Mali.
yeah,
Especially now that you're in Timbuktu. Like you can maybe even start thinking about Portuguese dots if you want to start fighting them again.
yeah.
He chose Jacob Fort.
Which is
That's
interesting as it
Cabo
gives me
Verde.
guaranteed Cabo Verde. Yeah.
That's another dot.
Yep. Although it is interesting, like I don't think it's a terrible retreat because Cabo Verde is an awkward place for my fleet to be. Like Cerro Leo is a much better place. But I could just send another fleet through, which I think is probably what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
Um,
like where else is
yeah.
South 4 going? You already
I don't
told all
know.
these other guys to go everywhere else.
Yep. Um, what other things am I doing here? Oh yeah, so before fall moves resolve, so when we start like the clean map of fall, like very shortly before the phase resolves, like before moves go through, like the day of. Most of these phases are multiple days, but the day of, right before fall resolves, Ottomans sends in the all chat to everyone a message saying that they're throwing to me. They say that they're throwing to Congo.
Did you ask them to throw or?
No, we have not talked in a very long time at this point.
Oh,
Ottomans has gone basically very unresponsive in press. Is very inactive
I
with press.
wonder if that's like something broke down. Austria, Mughals,
Yeah. So after Ottoman send this, I immediately message them saying, "Are
Portugal.
you genuine about this? Like, is this real? Like, do you want to throw?" No response. I also sent a message to every single person, basically, saying, "Hey, Ottomans have sent this message in all chat saying that they're throwing to me. This is a diplomatic tactic. Like, they're just making this up because they want people to attack me or whatever. If they were actually going to throw to me, they wouldn't say this publicly because we would just they would just throw to me and the game would be over uh, in a Congo solo, right?"
Yeah,
Um, so this is just a negotiating tactic. Like they're just making this stuff up. Um, so and that seems relatively successful. I don't think most people even really take Ottomans at their word, but just kind of an annoying wrench that I had to deal with. Unfortunately, I was online shortly a few hours before adjudication, so I was able to deal with that fire instead of just not noticing it.
that is a pretty unique tactic, though. I will admit, I kind of
Yeah,
like it.
it's interesting. I don't think it's very believable because again, if you are actually throwing to someone, why would you announce it publicly?
I think,
Um,
yeah, I think it would be more so just threaten that you're gonna throw if you, but
yeah, I think you could do something like if Portugal does this move, I will throw
yeah,
to Congo or something. Say
yeah.
that in
If
all
like
chat.
if
I could see that.
Austria takes, I don't
Yeah.
know, Greece from me, I'll
Certainly Ottomans
throw.
was annoyed that Portugal had just stabbed them and Austria is fighting them and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. You take Tunis, the game ends now.
That was part of why I like the Austria-Poland alliance repairing, because it means Austria goes back to fighting Ottomans. Their game long
Yeah.
past. Yeah.
We want to look at fall moves?
Yeah, we can look at fall moves now.
Hey, look, they're not throwing to you.
They're not throwing to me. Surprise. Um, which I
You
also think is like one of the easiest ways to shoot your
credibility.
throw. And who's gonna believe you about anything anymore? Anyway, not
Yeah.
that they were really probably thinking about that. Yeah, I get another good result tactically that was probably impossible. I think I get an extra dot that I wasn't supposed to get here. Like I'm getting.
Yeah, because they walked out of Axum.
Yeah, so I get both Gondor and Mekhalaya, which was supposed to be impossible. Something that was really interesting as well is like there's a lot of conversations with a lot of people around the board of like dot estimations and stuff. And so there's a lot of conversations about like whether or not I'm a solo threat. And I would always give like dot estimations and we'd talk through like what possible dots I can get each year. And I'd always give like accurate dot estimations. So I'd be like, this is how many dots I'm getting. Like you can count all my fronts. Like here's I'm getting +1 from Gondor or whatever, and I'm getting whatever. Like I just straight up give the truth because I think most players who are strong enough tactically who like want to look through it can like find those numbers so it looks good on you if you're being like authentic and truthful when it comes to representing those numbers. Instead of people finding like that you're undercutting it or whatever. So I'd always give these numbers. And then Ottomans would go and do something tactically that would give me more dots than was supposed to be theoretically possible. I'd just be like, my dot maximum is 2 last year or whatever, or like my dot maximum is whatever this. And then Ottomans would just give me more and more like
So
reasonably
maybe they
possible.
did throw to you.
Yeah,
You think
maybe
about
they did.
that. Maybe that's just the secret that he did. Like, because it didn't it force disband 2 armies too?
Did they force disband? I don't know, maybe.
I think so
I don't
because
think this is Ottomans.
they self bounced in Gajam. So
This is
that
definitely not
was
Ottomans trying to throw to me. I can say that. You never
yeah,
go for like Hawara here or Suakin or whatever. Um,
but it definitely didn't really work out great for them.
no, it did not.
I don't think they could have done much at this point, but still,
No, but they could have died slower for sure.
yeah. Yeah, you sent 2 fleets.
Yep, and I'm backfilling Serra Leoa, which looks like it bounces, so I'm actually gonna end up with 3 fleets in there. The good thing about this though is that all my moves into this is another one of those phases where I know that all these SAO moves are so Mapuche and Guarani know I'm doing these exact SAO moves, and I know exactly what they're doing in SAO. So I do end up with 3 fleets, but I also did it doing moves that they completely agreed on, which I'm happy with,
Yeah,
and they can't really complain about because they knew I was doing those moves. So
yeah, that's great.
yeah, a very weird set of circumstances that led to that though.
And you got Delagoa
Yep,
and Vieira
yep,
and all these dots in
yep.
Timbuktu. That's a great turn.
Timbuktu, very happy. I don't know if this is like what is +5 something.
Probably more like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you're right. No, 6. Cabo Verde,
Oh yeah, 6. Yeah.
the best dot in the game.
Something that is interesting actually, if you go back slightly, I will say I am supporting the moves that I want to succeed more in South Atlantic. I think that's kind of interesting if you just like look at like, for example, actually no, I couldn't have supported myself through to Serra Leoa, so I guess that's its own thing. But it's just like, um,
You could have technically.
oh, you're right, I
Ooh,
could have.
Portugal got into.
Oh, Portugal finally takes Mali, and it's guaranteed, and it blows up the unit. Nice.
If they just tapped Cuba, you absolutely destroyed
Oh, so
Poland's
interesting
position.
thing about this, Portugal actually agreed to tap Geba and then didn't do it.
Ooh,
So
soft
this was
stab.
so Portugal does soft stab me. Or not even really a soft stab. It's kind of a hard stab, but it's just a small stab because it's with 1 unit. But yeah, they straight up
Yeah.
stabbed me here.
And they moved to
Um,
Bay of. Maybe they're stabbing you.
yes, so Portugal looks like they're stabbing me here, which I'm so sad about. Like, and also like why, and also it doesn't really make sense, but whatever. So Portugal stabs me here. Um, People are accusing Portugal of throwing for attacking Ottomans. I'm
And
having
then
a
they
lot of
stabbed you.
conversations and debates with them about this.
I guess
In
it's like,
general, yeah. My attitude is that it's hypocritical to call Portugal stabbing for attacking Ottomans right after Ottomans walked into Bagat the previous year. Um,
yeah. They've
yeah,
kind of just been at war with each other the whole game, though. Like, this is
that's also
not
true.
like it's not Muscat is the first thing that happened.
But
They
yeah, some
worked
people were
together
really
against
upset.
Spain, but as soon as they had a border in Spain, they fought each other, and they've been fighting since.
But yeah, I also just found it funny. People were very upset with Portugal this year, and I also think it's like one of their best performing years in terms of like I think they're definitely building and building by like multiple builds. It's like one of their best performing years in a long time. And their
Yeah.
previous best performing year, I think, was also when they were working with me. So um,
Oh,
it's
oops.
basically like they have this terrible period where they're fighting me, and then it goes back to being good.
I moved to the next phase on accident, but
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. They get into Riyadh, for example. They're getting into Tunis. Uh,
there's Mara,
they did lose
but
Mara.
Mali.
They get Mali. Yeah, it's like they get into
Yes.
Nadakaru as well over
Like
there.
and
They get
Reunion.
Reunion. Yeah, it's like +5.
Yeah, that isn't that bad. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Jacob Fort, not Nadakaru. They're already in Nadakaru. Um, West Africa. Yeah, Jacob Fort. I think they also
Mm-hmm.
get this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's look at. Is there any retreats that matter to you?
I
Not
also am
really.
convincing Guarani and Mapuche to keep England out of South Atlantic again this year. I remember in the fall. Oh yeah, because we fill all the South Atlantic. Yeah, right. We fill all of South Atlantic, and this is generally what we're going to try to do now. Is like try to keep all of South Atlantic in control of us three.
Yeah.
There's a talk of a large 8-person impunity, which would be a record. There's never been an 8-person impunity before, so there's talk of trying to form
With
an 8-person
who?
impunity. It would be all of the South America regionals, so all 3 of them,
Okay.
Mughals, me, Tokugawa, Austria, and England. I believe is the
And
8.
England, not
Yes.
Poland. We're cutting out Poland. And
Yeah, we're cutting out Poland. I mean, I
interesting.
wasn't the one who designed this impunity. That was just what was pitched to me. Um,
Interesting.
so I think Mapuche or Guarani had pitched that to me, something like that. Um,
That's where's Gurani getting these 16 dots?
Great question. Caribbean. Where's England getting their dots? I don't know. That's for the 2 of them to figure out, and not for me.
You at the Basque and
Actually,
Inuit.
no, okay, there is a reasonable way for that to happen, which is England just eats all of America, which is happening anyway. So it's not like
Yeah,
impossible. Yeah,
it's just like what you're there.
I'm there. Yeah. Although I'm not really there because the 35% band, which
Yeah,
is
but
very
you're at
close.
your VSCC, so
Yes,
like
sure. But I think everyone expected Guarani to be a bit slower. I didn't realize Mapuche is actually at 21 here, which is like pretty darn good. Um, yeah, it's not a crazy impunity. Like it definitely leaves out people
yeah,
like
Mapuche's in Sumatra, like
the
that.
other thing is if England's getting a lot of dots off of Poland dying, like that also makes it more reasonable, right? Like they can give up more Caribbean space. Like if they're taking over like Sweden stuff, like because that's a big Poland in Europe.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think most of that's going to Austria now. I guess.
uh, Probably. To be fair, I don't think England. Yeah, I think England could be cut. It's just kind of hard to actually cut England because they're big enough and they have a lot of units under control. Um,
Yeah, it's just a colonial in that large of an alliance.
yes, it's just
It's a
that
bit rough.
that's the vague idea for the impunity. I'm pretty happy for this impunity. I like a lot of these powers. I've been good with the South America regionals. I have no problems with Mughals. I used to like Toku, but not anymore. I really like Austria. If there's one other power on this map that I get impunity with besides the South America regionals, probably even counting the South America regionals, actually, it'd probably be Austria. Because Austria had never stabbed me, and we were good friends during press all game. We mentioned in the last recording that there was a 3-way chat between me, Austria, and the Qing, which was like very active, especially in the early game. But
Yeah,
something I say to everyone who like asks me about it is like basically I'm happy with any group impunity. I'm happy with this group impunity, but I want to top it and be in a solid position so I don't get cut out. Um, uh, it is true. I don't want to get cut out, and I also don't want Mughals to jump me in solo, which I was a bit worried about. I think this year Mughals jumps a lot more than I do in terms of VSCC. And if you look at their position, and kind of comparing Kongo to Mughals, they have a lot more growth to go. Like they have a lot of easy expansion routes. India is very easy. They have Ceylon and Maldives. Yeah, Ayutthaya, as you mentioned, is very easy. Ming is a
yeah,
wall of armies, but they're allied with Ming, so it's not that big of a deal. Russia is like collapsing and dying, and I believe Russia is also a Mughal vassal around this time. Um, that they stabbed, but it was still a Mughal vassal before that point.
and
And
I
then
was
there's this
just
Ottomans, but
following.
Ottomans is like dying anyways and threatening to throw and all this stuff. So um,
Yeah,
it's very easy to see Mughals going +5 or more next year. and continue to grow. Whereas in my case, I've actually kind of run out of dots. Like it's just my Portuguese ally around me and
Yeah, you need to
literally nothing
core
else.
something quick to get
Yeah.
to like Madagascar and further.
Yeah, but I don't really have the fleets there. Like, sure, I could core that coast. That's going to be several years before I can do anything.
Mekele, get Arabia,
Yeah. So I've straight up ran out
something.
of dots at this point, and that's kind of like I don't look like a solo threat on this board at this point, and I think people are very easy
Actually,
to accept that.
I think
Yeah.
your only option is Guarani here.
Oh, yeah, for
Like,
expansion.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
think it might be your best option is
Yeah, except there's a
Guarani.
South America triple there that's super unbreakable, so I don't know about that one.
Yeah, make it
Maybe if I Mara stab them
make it
again.
make it a South America triple again, but you're Guarani. That could
Hilarious.
work.
Yeah, right. Every time I've tried that line of press, it's always gone terribly. You might remember. No, you weren't in this game. Oh, okay. I'm remembering there's a particular chaos game that I don't think we're ever really going to cover. Mini chaos game where I stabbed a 1 dot power and I took over where they were, and I'm like, I'm the person here now. Anyway.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I remember that.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Oh,
funny.
you were in that game. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, I was.
I remember now. Okay. Anyway,
I don't think this retreat's valid
no, it's.
because that was
Oh,
a
maybe it
self
is
bounce
actually.
there. No, they
Oh, was
self
there self bounce
bounced
there?
there. Yeah,
Okay. Wait, but no, was it just? Wait, can you go back to full moves?
yeah.
Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, you know what it is?
It is a real self
No.
bounce. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought
Let's
it
see.
might have been like a
This
unit.
this shows
Should
their
have been self.
options, and then this is what their orders were.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they just did random retreat orders. That just
Well,
showed
that one
up
doesn't
on
seem
the
that random. That one seems like they thought it was a legit retreat or something. Maybe not.
yeah.
Because if they thought it wasn't, I think they would have just ordered them both to Galapagos, which is Ottoman's favorite tile, apparently. They've been
must have
consistently doing that with all their holds. Yeah, they're always going to
must have
Galapagos.
been good press with Amara.
Yeah.
Uh, Winter. Let's see it.
Yeah, so going to this winter, I don't think a solo is doable. 35% is wild. I think Mughals might even pass me. So currently my goal is, can I keep above Mughals in the impunity and the group impunity that happens, and also make sure that Mughals doesn't solo. Portugal's acting weird again, I have as a note in the winter. They build Army Tangier without checking in with me, and I explicitly asked them about Army Tangier. So another one of these stabs. Also, again, they didn't tap Geba last fall. I expect another small stab to come in the spring. Also, Fleet Canaries isn't exactly the most friendly build as well. I believe they had like a couple builds, and these were not options I really wanted.
Yeah. Hmm. That is
Uh,
not
Let me look over
amazing.
at Asia, actually. I'm curious what's Portugal doing in Asia right now. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Portugal died in Asia,
So this
apparently.
is another thing. It's like I was going to talk about this earlier when we were talking about all the Muscat stuff. It's like Ming and Toku just killed Portugal in Asia, and that was when Portugal was balance powering me. And it's again, if like you want this person to be doing this balance of power, then you should not be stabbing them, because they're basically being self-sacrificial for the rest of the board. And if you're going to betray them like that, expect them to start not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Portugal's kind of playing for their own growth now. And again, people were very
Mushrooms
unhappy
into
with Portugal for
what the
playing with their own
hell?
growth. Hmm?
Sorry, I just
Yeah,
now
I'll into Tavoy.
process this.
That was the fleet that was in Madurai several years ago.
Is it actually?
Yeah, yeah.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
They're still in Greenland as well, I believe. Unless the oh no, that doesn't let
No, they just lost it.
England stabbed them. That's right. I forgot about that.
But it's still colored that what a voyager.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So I max build. Yeah, I just build everywhere. Mughals is also max building basically.
3 fleets, 3 armies.
Yeah, I feel really good after putting the 3 fleets down, and the SA regionals start to freak out a little bit because they're like, "That's a lot of fleets, and you already have 3 fleets in the Atlantic Ocean." But I'm feeling very strong here. I'm not even intending to stab Guarani or Mapuche. I'm just like, they can never fight me, right? Like I'm feeling so good about this fleet count.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can
Dude,
keep at this point, because I don't trust Portugal very much because Portugal keeps acting weird. I'm starting to look more at this West Africa Portuguese dots and the potential of reopening this war up. Um,
yeah. Makes sense. You kind of need to
Let's
in
see.
case Mugos goes for the win here, because
Yeah,
like they were able to build in all their cores too.
supported unit tuners.
All right, you want to look at
Wait,
the?
actually, yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead. So
All right,
I have a note about some of the press I was sending to Portugal after this phase, because you'll note I do soft stab Portugal this phase. Um,
yeah,
some good stuff. Let's see.
support them to Tripoli.
I do.
It's nice.
I take Niani with the army here. I think that was the soft stab. Portugal wanted me to take Niani with the fleet, and I was basically like, hey, I tried to take it with the fleet last fall, but you stopped me from doing that by not having Geba, so now I'm taking it with the army. And this is the only way for me to guarantee it also, because the fleet is much, like you could just have Ugaduga or something. So, but this guarantees I get Niani.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was my soft stab. Let's see if there's anything. Oh, I didn't go for Crozet. What was that? What was this? There's something about Crozet Basin here. Oh, yeah, I was saying I didn't attack Crozet. Like I'm not actually trying to fight you. We also had an arranged bounce in Seamonts that I also followed through with. So it's kind of like I'm doing the soft stab that you didn't want me to, but I'm still doing. We do this bounce in Seawart.
yeah,
Um, what's interesting, actually, is there anyone trying to backfill my bounce in Seawart? I'm interested if I use that to try to keep an SAO slot. I did, yeah. So I think Guarani asked me which SAO slot to backfill, and I say SAO4, knowing that that's the one that's going to bounce with Seawart. Um,
can't believe that. So
yeah.
scummy.
It's less because I want to, well, it's less because I want to be an SAO and more because I want them to be an SAO. I don't want them to have a bunch of units in SAO that can stab into St. Helena. The original deal that they wanted to agree to was Kongo could have 2 fleets in SAO at any given time, and they can have 3 between them. But I didn't really love that because I can't cover St. Helena and Cape Co with 3 fleets consistently. Like that's just a nightmare. That's not possible. But 2 is pretty easy. So like I'm covering Cape Co here with 2. Anyway. And I am truly not intending to stab any of them. I'm just trying to keep myself safe.
Yeah,
I'm getting into Serra Leoa here, and Portugal is a bit anxious about me doing this, rightfully so. But I'm just saying it's anti-Poland.
oh, there's this.
Yeah, there's that. That's also a soft stab, I guess. Um, yeah, so it's a mix of me doing
Baido
stuff
is
working with.
guaranteed here.
Yeah, it is. And I was going for Zanzibar, but that works too. So it's a mix of me doing these like stabby things on Portugal, but also like doing other things that are like very pro Portugal and were arranged. Um,
Yeah,
Oh, and this is because we're negotiating dot trades as part of it. I think something about um, trading Portugal Cabo Verde back because I have Cabo Verde now. So there's ideas of like, I'll give Portugal Cabo Verde in exchange. Portugal might give me Zanzibar or Bido or something like that.
yeah, that makes sense. That's a good trade, I'd say.
Yeah, because you want Cabo Verde back. I want you to have Cabo Verde back because it's a core and you can build units there, and that's cool. Um, but and like Bido is like impossible to defend, or like Zanzibar or whatever. Um,
Yeah,
And I was also worried that they were working with Poland at this point. Part of that is because Poland kept the fleet on, which I thought was kind of odd. And Portugal built this fleet Canaries. So, and we actually noticed Canaries is being supported up at Canary Basin. So Portugal is definitely already on alert about me. Although, interestingly enough, Portugal also did something that I completely did not expect, which is Tukulor to St. Louis here.
Galore to
Uh,
Saint. Oh,
which is a really weird one too, because it doesn't even guard against like Poland. But the interesting thing about this that I totally did not expect to happen, because I just expected Tukulor to stay there, is I now have guaranteed Mali.
you do, yes.
I do, um, which might inspire me to take this soft stab a bit further.
Yeah, I can see that. I would do it.
Yeah. Some other things to note. Mughals is trying to outpace Tokugawa and trying to go for a duo win here. Originally, there was talk of a triple. Impunity was another one of the big ones between Mughals, Tokugawa, and I. This would be like the 3 bigger powers. But Mughals is trying to outpace Tokugawa for a duo, and they're looking very close to being able to do it.
A duel with Mugos isn't bad.
No. But yeah, that's like the biggest 35% gap on the leaderboard right now is it's looking way more, and that's also why the board is like very on high alert about Mughals specifically, because the gap between Mughals and Tokugawa is much larger than the gap between me and Mughals. Like Mughals is right next to me, potentially even going to pass me, whereas Mughals can easily jump Tokugawa by 35%. And that is also the
Yeah.
narrative that I'm sharing. Because I don't want Mughals to pass me, so I want people to be a little bit worried about Mughals, and I don't want Mughals to jump me by 35%, because then that's basically my only lose condition at this point is Mughals jumps me by 35%. So and
Yeah.
solos without me, because any big group impunity, I'm going to be in it. Obviously, if a Kongo solo could happen, I'd be in it. Some other things, Port wasn't very press active this phase, so I actually planned a pro Portugal and an anti Portugal order set. That's kind of what arrives me at this very interesting order set. So I basically did 3 order sets this phase. I decided to pull some things in from the anti-Portugal order set that I liked, like moving to Gizmayo, but I didn't do others. For example, I didn't go to take. Actually, sorry, I'm talking mostly about the fall now. Never mind. So, oops. This coming fall, because Portugal was not very press active, and because I'm in this position now where I can kind of choose how much I want to continue, I'm going to plan a pro-Portugal and anti-Portugal order set, and I'll end up doing a mix of both. But yeah, is there anything else we want to talk about these spring moves?
Um, Not really. I do like the positioning though.
Yeah, I get pretty lucky here as well with Ottomans, and Sonar gets force disbanded, which is pretty cool.
Yes, that is nice. And
Um,
you don't. You might be able to force this Tigray next turn as well.
Probably not force because it will always have a retreat to Beha, but at least
Well,
pushing it out.
if
Yeah.
you move into Beha, I think you could technically force disband it.
Well, they're not even in Tigray, right? They're in.
No, they
They're getting
are.
retreated out of Suakin, right? Because Tigray
Oh
bounces
wait.
tomorrow.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
they're
that's
not
not
gonna.
happening. They're gonna retreat to
That's not
Beha
good.
or Cairo. Yeah.
Yeah.
But regardless,
And
very happy to be pulling these Ottomans units off, because especially because Ottomans is continuously disbanding, force disbands become so important because you get to set where their disbands are basically.
hey,
Um,
there's worse Sangali you can go for as well.
I think that's already been offered to Portugal at this point. Um,
Yeah.
and I might even support Portugal in. I forget how nice I'm feeling. Um,
Yeah. Well, do you want to find out?
yeah, I guess we can find out. Um,
Yep.
yep,
Wonder if
scalar
Poland
retreat.
takes that off.
Yeah, so it's interesting. They could even support in and take a dot there, but they don't. They
Yeah,
had
they do.
Jacob Fort guaranteed if they wanted it, but they didn't take Jacob Fort. I don't really understand this because Poland and Portugal were stopping each other all game for like basically nothing, and now when they have a guaranteed dot, they're choosing not to. And also, I was willing to support Poland here potentially against Portugal because I'm preparing for potentially going to war with Portugal, but Poland seemed to be just like, yeah, I'm just done with this area,
Yeah.
which is weird because I think they finally could have gone positive in this region. Um, but yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense, I guess. Like you've been at war with them for most of the game, so
Yeah, but I mean, they initiated that war, and they also stabbed their alliance partner who's heavily pushing that war, which is England.
yeah.
But I
That
mean, they're
is
not
the
really in the
nice thing
winning
about
picture anymore, so I guess they're just kind of doing whatever they want.
this position now.
Hmm.
There's just you and Portugal in West Africa,
Yep, just me in Portugal
which
and in East Africa.
means which means like you don't have these two trying to kill you now.
Yep. So I mean, and something that we noticed throughout most of the game is I was very big on denying the Cormonton core. England never got a chance to build from there besides the second year, which I convinced them to wave in. And a big part of that was I didn't want England funneling in these builds from other regions into
Yeah.
Africa. And we see this consistently as well. With like, I very much controlled the Portugal cores for most of the game and controlled what Portugal was able to put down in Moravia and Beira, and then eventually taking them,
Same
but
with
also
the
taking
Dutch.
Delagoa. Yeah, the Dutch builds, Adron builds. Like this is very much a story of having very like strong long-term position because of having all these diplomatic relations and also sometimes tactical advantages that allowed me to control like what builds are being put down around us.
Yeah.
Like like trading for Fernando Po really early on, for example, meaning that the Dutch could basically never build units to attack me. Um,
Yeah. Speaking of, they do finally have their 4 dots here,
yeah,
which
they went
is
up.
beautiful.
Yeah, and they have this nice little Caribbean regional
Also, this
situation.
is just a fucking ugly Caribbean.
That's
There's
Guarani and Dutch, and there's Mapuche in there. France,
yeah,
Poland, England.
yeah. Like what? And Aymara's now here too.
Are they? Not really. They're on the
uh,
other side of it. That's an
Panama.
army,
That's
sure. They don't have a
yeah.
fleet in the Caribbean.
Like if we like, that's close
They are
enough.
coring Pamerbo though to start building fleets into the Caribbean, which is funny. By the way, I find this whole Caribbean thing very beautiful. They're coring Cayenne and Pamerbo, and all the South America regionals are working together to take Caribbean dots. It's great.
Yeah,
It's
more
just also very
dangerous
slow.
than this
But a lot
guy.
of them have alternate, like the ones that are doing really well, which is Aymara and Mapuche mainly, have alternate expansion routes as well. Like Aymara is starting to get into a pretty good spot in North America. If you look
Yeah,
over at
Hawaii.
Oceania, I mean, Mapuche is doing great in Oceania. Um,
Yeah, they're doing amazing. So they have a giant Mugos to worry about
although
now.
they might have a problem here actually. Uh, yeah, they have a giant Migos to worry about, and I don't know if it happens just yet. But
And
these Tokugawa
Tokugawa.
fleets are not going to be friendly for long. I think they might have
I,
already stabbed them this
yeah, I
spring.
think they might have already
Yeah,
stabbed him.
yeah. So Tokugawa stabs Mapuche,
Yeah.
which is bad, really bad for Mapuche. It's almost game ending on the spot because trying to keep up with the impunity while at war with Tokugawa is really hard. And if Tokugawa is going to make it into the impunity, that also means Mapuche is probably not making it. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
really rough.
Not great at all. No.
And a very questionable move for Tokugawa because it's the best thing you want to see if you're Mughals here and you're trying to go for a duo impunity, for example, is Tokugawa's growth is going to be slowed down significantly by
You
this
know
war
what?
with
You know
Mapuche.
what might be that thing you mentioned where you didn't like Tokugawa creating that coalition against you? They might have
Mhm.
asked you to fight Mapuche, and you said no.
Yeah, that happened. You're right. Tokugawa, yeah, which I probably
Uh,
wouldn't have done anyway, but there was some other stuff like that. Tokugawa was going to make a bunch of requests of me, and also I'm going to learn a lot of things that would be very helpful for Tokugawa to know that I'm not going to share with Tokugawa.
yeah.
It's that, and then I also know about two powers are going to stab Tokugawa in the coming years that tell me beforehand, and I don't tell Tokugawa either time. Uh,
Yeah.
which is totally it's really funny to think that the Kongo Tokugawa relationship, but especially as you get on past the early game and you're starting to get to end game talks, those cross map relationships can become very important.
Especially when it's the top three players on the
Exactly,
board.
especially when these are impunity contenders. Yeah,
Yeah. It does matter.
yeah.
But yes. The next turn. Look at it. Ah, the dark map again. How beautiful.
Although Tokugawa ended up having a lot of other problems. Like I think going for the stab on Mapuche in the first place is not a great idea. Anyway,
Yeah. If you're working with Mugos, I'd say stab Ming. But that might have a Mughal solo, so
no, that would just lead to a duo, I think,
yeah.
or Mughal solo, sure. Oh, somehow I convinced Portugal to give me Warsangali instead. Huh. I don't know how
Yeah.
that did that, but sure, I'll take it. Oh, I don't go for Zanzibar or Baido. Look at me, super friendly.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
Like you give me worse on
Wow.
Gali, I
The
won't
epitome
take
of
it.
restraint. How many players would not do this here? Would not take Baido and Zanzibar here.
I think you are going to.
Well, I didn't this phase.
I mean, look at all these. You can take Varig, Baido, Zanzibar.
Sure, but I didn't take them.
Yeah, but the year isn't over yet.
No, this is the fall
Move it.
phase, right?
No,
This is the
this is
fall phase.
spring, right?
No, this is fall phase.
Oh,
Pretty
it
sure.
is fall. Okay,
Yeah,
never mind.
yeah.
Well, you're setting up for next year then.
No, no, no. I'm just making sure that Portugal sticks to our alliance.
Huh. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so this
I'll
is
believe you.
so this is where the whole thing I said earlier about deciding between a pro Portugal and anti Portugal order set and like including mixes of both. This is a mix of both. I decide not to take Mali, despite having guaranteed Mali. I decide not to take. Yeah, I'm supporting into it, but that's just a safety check. I told Portugal I was doing this, and obviously I could have triple supported or quadruple supported. Um, so I'm not taking Mali, and I'm not taking Baido. So I'm passing on 2 guaranteed dots.
He gave you
And I'm
trouble.
using that middle ground to try to extend cooperation into more phases. And I'm still like working with them in other areas, yeah, like Tripoli and stuff. They actually asked me to go for Tripoli. I was going to support them, but they were right actually about
That's
this.
wild.
Tactically, it's the only way to make this work actually. Um,
I guess, but
Originally, I offered them
I feel
support,
like,
but
yeah, I
they
feel
wanted
like
me to do
they'd
this
want
instead.
it.
Well, you can't. If you try to support Tunis into Tripoli, it doesn't work. Although actually, it might have worked in this situation, which is really funny.
Yeah,
But if you look
because
at the spring moves,
didn't tap.
yeah. But if you look at
Okay.
the spring moves, it would have failed, which is why I think they wanted to do this instead.
See,
And in the spring moves, I did
more
support.
caring about Ottoman disbands than anything, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm happy to take Tripoli, and they're also giving me more Sengali, which is pretty cool. That's I'm even more surprised by that one because I feel like I don't really have a reason to not support them into more Sengali. So I think this might have just been something that they offered, which is interesting.
Yeah,
But I will happily take it.
you're going Michele.
Yep,
Finish the Burig and the
Delgoa
Goa
course,
cores.
which also suspicious as hell. I'm also
Starting to
backfilling
cross it.
closet. That was not negotiated.
No, it's not. I mean,
But hey,
Portugal's fully
I
against
could
the
have taken 2
bugle
dots off of you that I
coalition
didn't
now.
take, right? So we're still friends.
Yep,
Because I could have
Portugal's.
taken 2 dots off of you and I didn't. So I'm not stabbing you.
Yeah, no, that.
And related to this is like part of the pitch was I have 0 leverage in Arabia and India, right? Like I don't have any navy or any fleets in East Africa. And I want to have a strong position in West Africa on land where I'm strongest. So this also goes back to the dot. Oh, I remember now. The justification for why I was able to move into this is all because of the trade conversation, right? We have all these dot trade conversations happening where I'm going to give up like Cabo Verde and stuff. And in exchange, I'm getting, I don't know, some dots, probably Wido. I don't know, something like that. But the idea is like, I want to be, you have a much weaker position than me on land, so we should transfer dots to me on land. And I don't want to stab you because, yeah, you're very important for fighting them. You can trust me to put myself in a position where I have strong leverage, but I'm not going to use it. I didn't take Mali, I didn't take Bido, and then of course there's many years where I've had guaranteed Barotes and I just haven't taken it. And back when we were like early game allies, but I want to keep this leverage because putting myself in a situation where because I'm putting myself in a situation where my growth is entirely dependent on your convoys and naval help. Because we're trying to talk about Portugal convoying me into Arabia and of course, this is a bit of an extreme interpretation of it, but it's also partially true, where it's like I'm relying on Portugal to convoy me into India and convoy me into Arabia if I was to keep doing the alliance play here instead of stabbing them. So I want to be in this position where if you don't convoy me or something, I can do something immediate about it.
See, so strong army though,
Yeah,
pretty
basically.
much.
Mix of strong arming and just
Forced
like
alliance.
yeah, well, it's more like we're in an alliance because we're still getting along pretty well. But if you stab me, I want to be able to retaliate. This is more of the framing.
Yeah.
Of course, this is kind of a ridiculous amount of leverage or position to give someone on you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
I
That's a
don't
lot
think
of
there's a lot of
dots that
diplomacy players that would do this. But something that's interesting is like that's not random, right? So it's like you might be thinking like, why the heck is Portugal doing this? But think about a lot of the framing and a lot of the conversation about how the game's been going, right? The rest of the board has basically been bullying Portugal all game. Portugal's best results were always when they were working with me and always in the regions where they were working with me. And also related to all this, I lost a train of thought. I was thinking, I mean, they know they don't have a chance in winning at this point, so helping someone out who's been helping them also kind of makes sense in that context. Trying to think, there's one more thing I was thinking about. Oh, yeah, and a lot of the board had been stabbing them. Is the other thing. Like while they were playing the good balance of power act that a lot of people expect out of a diplomacy player, right, to keep the board balanced. They were getting relentlessly pushed by basically everyone else on the board. They lost their Asia colony entirely, which was at 1.4 dots. Um,
lost
yeah, like Poland stabbed them
South
numerous times.
America.
England stabbed them, lost all of South America. So it's like I've basically been like the one person that they can depend on. Oh, I remember the other train of thought. The other thing was it's not an accident that this is the reason that Portugal is the only other person in Africa, right? I slowly eliminated people in Africa based on the people I thought would be the most hostile to me and the least willing to work with me long term, right? So, like, for example, when in the early game, when there was a decision between Adran and Portugal, I thought Adran would not be the type of person to be willing to do stuff like this in the long term. So I wanted to work with Portugal. Similarly, when I had a decision between the Dutch and Portugal, I eliminate the Dutch because I think Portugal would be more willing to go along with stuff like this in the long term. And obviously that struggled for a few years when Portugal attacked me, but it ultimately ends up to become more true, right? So it's like I was able to craft a lot of the situation because of the decisions I had made previously to set up such a opportunity to be the case. So it's not an accident that Portugal ends up being the last power in Africa. No, that's because I eliminated everyone else who might be less willing to have me sit next to Waido and Zanzibar, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep
And
your
again, like
best
wanting
allies
England and
alive.
Mapuche to have like minimal influence in Africa, because Mapuche would never do something like this, for example. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's about giving influence to players that I think will make the decisions I want them to make in the long term. I wanted Portugal to be heavily influential over how the final use of this game is going to go. Um, cool. So this is a lot of those conversations happening. So after the fall resolves, I'm actually somewhat regretting not just going for the full stab. Something that's interesting here, Portugal actually goes +2 this year. If I had gone for the full stab on them and taken the 2 dots, they go +0.
Oh,
And the
that would
position
have
on
been.
that looks so good. And so obviously I'm doing all this press work with them after this soft stab, but there's a potential argument that I should have just gone for the full stab and not had to work to this, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm doing my best, and I think I have a good narrative, and I have a good rapport with Portugal, and I can do all these good reasons for why what I did. But even if you look at the board, most diplomacy players will just see this as ridiculous, and there's no way talking your way or explaining your way out of these moves, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Portugal's gonna build army. I mean, like, even still, they only have one core. They can really do anything to you.
they also have Fort Dauphin finished now, so they can build a fleet in Fort Dauphin as well.
That's not
But
reaching you
yes,
in a year because you're in Cross-Up.
sure,
So,
yes,
and you got
it's not the
Pierre
end of the world.
finished.
Um, but and I didn't full regret it, but I was like, maybe I should have gone for a full stab.
Yeah.
Uh,
Possibly. It's not terrible, though. The sub might have just been better, though. Like,
yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Um,
Is there anything of note here? I mean, I do like how you got 3 on Cairo now, all of a sudden.
yeah. Oh, something else. In West Africa, I'm doing something really interesting. Moveset. I'm convoying
Oh, yeah. Cape
all the way from
Co.
Yumko.
Cape
Yeah,
Co
I don't
to
think anyone saw
Geba.
this order set coming.
Oh, yeah, that's another stab on Portugal right there.
Yeah,
And did you bounce them out of this bay here?
yep. That might have been negotiated. I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah. This
Maybe
fleet
it was
is.
actually.
Wait, you went to North Atlantic Ocean.
Did I? Oh yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I did. I think
Mapuche's
they wanted to
square.
finally get me out of having 3 fleets here, so they wanted me to go to North Atlantic, and I was like, cool, sure.
But you
Or
just.
part of why I wanted
Put,
to go to North Atlantic was because you can reroute into Canary Basin. So if you could look up towards North
but you just
Atlantic a bit.
put 3. There's 3 here still, though.
Oh, there's 3. That's funny. I guess I just have so many fleets now. What can I say?
Maybe they just wanted your fleets out of there.
Or they wanted help in North Atlantic. For me,
Wait, I missed this.
yeah,
That's
you did miss
awesome.
this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we had a convoy to Portland.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at Canary Basin is what I'm looking at for this North Atlantic thing. So yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think part of it actually is we can never find enough South Atlantic fleets to spare a support into Canary Basin, and I'd wanted a support into Canary Basin for like years at this point, or I don't know, just like we talked about it as a possibility for years. Because Mapuche and Guarani also want me stabbing Portugal here, because that means I'm sending all my fleets not in their direction. So we've been talking about the idea of me going anti-Portugal here. So I think that was the idea of finally going to North Atlantic so we can have more supports or moves into Canary Basin, which is kind of funny because it's about as South Atlantic as North Atlantic can be.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Yep.
Bugles is
Um,
getting Portugal.
Mugos is getting really big. Even at this point, I believe they go +8 this year.
Yeah.
And this is actually one of the closest points they ever get to me. They're at 109.7% VSCC after this fall, and I'm at 114.3% VSCC. So that's a less than 5% gap. So it's very real that they could pass me next year.
Yeah. You look at
If we look at the winter or like into fall,
yeah.
fall retreats, there we go.
They're
They're
look
right
like
up there, yeah. And I only
they
went like +3 that year or something.
yeah.
So I'm
But
scared, and we knew this
what's
was going to
saved
happen.
you is the victory condition
Yeah,
here.
we knew this was going to happen. I was obviously going to slow down because I ran out of my free dots, but this is exactly what I'm worried about. And I'm worried about a long, grindy game going really poorly for me, right? Like, the longer this game goes, I think the better Mughals has it and the worse I have it. And if Mughals wanted to slowly grind to a solo, that would be possible. It's
Yeah,
either that or it's a
especially
group impunity where I end up second on the leaderboard or maybe even lower down in the leaderboard. Because I don't see myself gaining much more with like 5 more years or something.
yeah. Like as I
Potentially.
said, Guarani is like your best expansion right now.
Yeah, or Portugal. Um, or
Well,
Arabia.
yeah,
But yeah.
Portugal and like, if you can get this core off, Arabia is great. But
Yeah.
even still, you have all these fleets. Portugal, yes, but after Portugal, you need to do something.
Yeah. So going into the spring phase, I'm again preparing a. Do we have winter? We can do winter builds. I don't know how
Yeah.
many. I only have 3, right? But I think they're kind of obvious. I don't know. What do I put down
Um,
here? Probably Fleet Corentin because it's a good unit. Army in Darfur because it's a good unit. Oh no, just triple fleet. Okay. Just very much slamming the door on.
yeah, you don't need more armies,
Yeah.
really.
I guess part of the logic is I'm sending a lot of fleets away from home, so I want to refresh my defensive core near here.
Yeah, you don't really
Um,
have a lot of fleets over here.
exactly, because I've been sending so many in SAO and through SAO, so just keep sending the fleets coming. Um,
Yep. You
Portugal
got
built a
stuff
fleet
down here.
Canaries as well, which is not great to see. I don't love that. That's basically like a fighting me fleet.
But it's Fleet Hobio. It's nice.
That is nice, yeah. And also, if you look over at
Yeah, no door.
no Fort Dauphin, which I did not expect, because it also gives me guaranteed Fort Dauphin, which is really interesting. Um,
Guaranteed. No, not guaranteed fully, but maybe even Bara.
maybe even Barra, yeah. Um,
Like if you can move to Fort Dauphin
yeah, it's actually
and
kind of
support
wild that
yourself
they
in the
didn't build
closet.
there. But yeah, so I guess they're not fighting me actually, because those are pretty friendly in the grand scheme of things. Although I do think Canaries is mostly to defend against me. Um, but the
Yeah,
thing is that they're a tempo too late. I was playing this West Africa again very cleanly tactically, um, in the sense that like you'll notice if you just like look at all the fleets here, it's really hard for them to get in and do much of anything here. Like, and we'll see this with
yeah.
my spring moves in
They
terms of
should
what I
have
end up
built an
doing.
Argon.
Yes, they should have also built a fleet in Argon probably instead of Canaries. But
Yeah,
because they didn't, their option set is very limited here, and I can kind of just, for example, I have guaranteed Senegal estuary. I can also support myself into Bay of Nohibao to stop them from ever really making any progress while pushing them on land. Like I have a lot of good options here.
yeah,
And I definitely looked at them very detailed. At this point, I'm again doing multiple order sets per phase. So I once again do a pro Portugal no stab and a Portugal stab order set. And I end up again settling on a middle ground option, leaning towards no stab, which actually limits my potential center gains this fall. So centers like Baja, for example, I don't think I will be able to get. I am at this point counting how many dots I could get this year and potentially looking at solo opportunities.
where's
Or even
Baja?
if not solos, like can I stay above Mughals is also the other goal. Because I'm not convinced I can solo, especially with Mughals
Okay.
being within 5% of me. That means that I'd have to get at least 30%, assuming Mughals is not building at all. And Mughals is probably going to be building again. Um, in retrospect, this was probably a mistake. I think I didn't do like a full dot count as much as I should have probably, and I was under evaluating the strength of the full stab here, and I probably should have just gone for a full stab. I thought the full stab peaked at 10 dots, and that I would probably get around 7. Like 10 would be the maximum, and that I'd get around 7 was my evaluation like in spring. Um, we'll see once the spring moves resolve. That was a vast underestimation of how hard I could have gone here actually.
Yeah. What do you want to look at them?
Yep.
Cool.
Oh,
Oh
good.
my
There we go.
goodness! What in the
Oh God.
hell?
Okay. So we have to talk about this real quick. Ottomans ordered all their
What
units to
Ottomans?
Galapagos.
Yeah. What?
Which
I
is
don't
basically all
remember this.
holds on all holds NMR. You forgot about this? Oh gosh, there was a lot of talk about this.
Yes. What?
There's a lot of talk about this in throwing and stuff like that. Interestingly enough, Ottomans told Austria they were going to do this. Austria told me that Ottomans told them they were, and then I didn't believe them, and basically no one believed them anyways. But they actually did it.
That's crazy.
So my order sets are not assuming that they would, but they end up working out anyway because it turns out all holds is not a particularly good order set.
It's not like you could take advantage of it much, anyways. Like,
Yeah, I get Cairo,
uh,
which is more than I was expecting to get. I was never expecting to get into Cairo.
yeah, that's pretty good. But that's crazy. What the hell?
Oh, you know what it was? Now I'm remembering why Portugal wanted me in Warsangali. The reason that Portugal wanted me to Warsangali is they wanted me to walk into Socotra and then get convoyed into India. That was it. They wanted my army to move through there.
Oh, well, I see you
Which,
didn't.
well, no, I did not. I went for the middle ground option, which is kind of a stab on Portugal, but you'll notice I'm just not walking into their centers. I'm just walking around their centers menacingly.
You lied.
I think that was agreed.
Oh, okay. Just holds, I guess. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I mean, it wouldn't have
Why
mattered
did you
anyway,
not backfill Timbuktu?
because I want to be in Hogger, I guess.
Why? To bounce, I guess.
That's a
But
good question.
also,
Why did I not get?
Timbuktu tap that, and then Bosa to Mali, or Ouagadougou to Mali.
Timbuktu to Olata, you're saying? I
Yeah.
could lose Timbuktu in that case, right? Mali to
Oh, yeah.
Timbuktu supported by Olata.
But Olata to Timbuktu loses it as well. And
Yeah, but
this,
I can kick it out in the fall.
I think you can kick out the other thing in the fall too, right? Yeah, you can.
It would force to spend my army. Oh no,
No, and if you move
but yeah, it would.
Bosa
Yeah, it would.
in,
But
no.
if
If
Timbuktu is
Bosa moves to
supporting,
Mali,
mhm, and Mali goes to
it
Timbuktu with support of Olata.
yeah, it retreats to Bosa.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better
Well,
because
isn't?
then you have if they're doing this exact moveset, which just holds, you'd have Timbuktu and Mali. You can put a 2 strength attack on Alata.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there anything I'm missing here, or is this just straight up bad tactics? I'm not seeing a whole lot.
I like this though.
Yeah, that's very cute. Um,
Wow. There's a lot of
yeah.
dots that
I mean, I know. Well, I guess it would be the exact same. I just wouldn't be backfilling Bosa, right?
yeah. Instead
Which,
of
if would
instead
leaving
of
Bosa open be fine?
instead of Timbuktu being open, it's Bosa that's open. Or Ogadoga that's open. But probably Bosa because you'd want the Timbuktu retreat.
Yeah.
Which I think is fine because you're moving Cannon Bornu to Agadez, right?
Well, I think the problem with that actually is, wouldn't I not be able to hold Mali? If they could put 3 on Mali, and I could hold it with 3. Can they support into Hogger? Can you look north of Hogger? No, they can't really. Yeah, okay. I think you're right that that is better, in all cases. The only other reason I can think of is it's probably a press tactic that I used, which was, this is a soft stab, I'm not pushing for Olata, which definitely was a press tactic I used. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
because I'm pretty
I
sure in the full
mean
stab orders that I had, I was
this
backfilling
is
Timbuktu. No, this is a soft
that,
stab. Don't worry about it.
yeah, no,
Hey, look at East
I
Africa. Look at East Africa. Absolutely a soft stab. Look at this.
soft
Look at
stab,
this. Yeah, yeah,
soft
soft
stab,
stab. Hey, hey,
soft
hey.
stab. Look,
Yeah, I'm not even looking into Fort Dauphin. I'm moving to INO. Look at that. Very soft
Fort
stab.
Dauphin's still guaranteed.
Yeah, but I could have taken Bara as well.
with a convoy even. You set
Yeah,
up for a convoy into
that was
Fort
my
Duffin.
that was my hard stop too. Yeah. Actually, wait, no, that's not. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, no. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I didn't take Baido and Mogadishu as well, and Marig. I'm missing on dots over there too. So
You
this is
set
part of
up.
why I said maybe I should have gone harder. Like if I just walked into Baido and Marig here, and Fort Dauphin and Bara and Mogadishu. So I think I'm giving up on 2 dots by doing this here.
Yeah.
They're just impossible to get in the fall now. So when I redo the counts after the spring moves, I see that if I push hard, I can go plus 12 with the chance at plus 13, assuming Portugal is helping. If Portugal is defending me, it's a plus 5 minimum, a plus 7 as a realistic estimate. If I
I
full
see.
stabbed in spring, I would have gotten 2 more dots for a minimum of a plus 7 and a realistic plus 9. I just didn't realize I was in a position to push for a solo this year.
I see.
So, and then after doing this move set, this soft slash hard stab, I am starting to do press to try to convince Portugal to let me win here, and just not defend anything, and potentially even like convoy me or do whatever. I'm pushing on a lot of the stuff we've talked about so far in the game, where it's like, I was your best ally this game. You don't have a chance of winning and being in the impunity yourself, otherwise elevate you, which is true. I think I would have helped Portugal reach the impunity had they never stabbed me with the double army build, and had they actually had a chance there. Because out of everyone in this game, they would have been my best ally had it not been for the many stabs. And I would have felt like sort of an obligation or responsibility to them after the way that they treated me in the game, and they helped me have a very favorable matchup into the Dutch and into Ageron. But yeah, and then just like other arguments, I'm trying to think of like other stuff I talked about, but like, yeah, the fact that a lot of the rest of the board had kind of messed with them continuously. It's not a mistake that the 2 sides of Africa were their best performing regions, right? Even now, like on this board, they're still their best performing regions. I guess you can say like Iberia and North Africa kind of, but that's very much tied into me at this point, like fighting Ottomans.
Yeah. I think that's.
Um,
I think
yeah.
this is more their own. But yes, I do agree.
Oh, the other arguments I'm using are actually so for Portugal in terms of so the way Imperial diplomacy games are scored is according to a system called IDR, or like Imperial diplomacy ranking or rating or something like that. And the way that does that, it basically takes a snapshot at the end of the game and it looks at everyone's like position on the leaderboard and how much VSCC they had. And the thing about Portugal's position here, right, is that the longer the game goes on from here, the lower their VSCC is going to get, right? They're currently at 31, but if we look at just like the position in general, if the war drags on, I'm just going to eat all of this Northwest Africa, right? Like that's all gone. I'm going to win this war. So the longer, and like I'm going to take dots like Mogadishu that I can't take this year. The longer the game goes on, the less dots Portugal is going to end on. And the more dots I'll end on, but that doesn't super matter. But the reason that this is relevant is it means that they'll be on a lower position on the leaderboard as well as having less dots, meaning that they'll get less IDR out of it. So a really interesting observation is that arguably their best move in this position is just to end the game with me winning this year, because the longer the game goes, the worse their position will get over time.
Yeah. They're, their center count will be smaller just because you are their only way to grow.
Well, you
Or
mean they're my only, they're
they
my only way to
are
grow.
your
Yeah.
yeah, I got it backwards.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean
So it's like,
alternative is they could just throw the bugles instead. I think that's a pretty
they
similar
could, but like,
argument.
how do they even do that? Like, how's Muggles getting into their dots, really?
Uh
I don't think it would be easy to resolve the game quickly that way.
yeah. I mean by just
Because I would stay
defending
within
against
35% of Muggles, for sure.
if they defended against you and then supported them into stuff like Ceylon and Maldives and Sumatra and
Maybe. I don't know if it's doable after this spring, though.
yeah, I think doing this like that sort of strategy a bit earlier, like a year earlier, like throwing the bugles, probably would have given them a better result.
Oh, just like throwing earlier? Yeah,
Yeah, and defending against you just the whole
maybe.
time, because that would have
Yeah, if we talk about a few years ago, like when they still had Moravia and stuff, potentially. I think
yeah
that, I don't know. Yeah, maybe if they, I just think throwing a solo to Muggles, yeah, maybe it's doable. I don't know. They could very easily
Maybe
end up with a duo as
maybe the
well.
moral moral solo was actually Bugles winning.
I don't, yeah. Um, yeah. Let's see.
Yeah,
I
that is
think,
interesting. That does seem like that might possibly perhaps be a flaw with that ranked system.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of conversations around IDR and stuff. Um, and it's really hard in the game with 25 players, right? There's inevitably going to be people by the end of the game that don't have a chance at winning, and how should they play on? Is a really hard conversation.
Yeah.
Like there's like three main motivations I can think of off the top of my head, which is IDR, maximize your score, right? And this is kind of the logic I was walking through when I was trying to convince Portugal to lose the game, because I don't know Portugal's entire like internal psychology. Obviously, I've talked to them a bit at this point, like a good amount throughout the game, but like there's a bunch of different things that can motivate players. It's usually how do I maximize my score, right? And throwing to me in this case, at least in this position, seems to be the best way to maximize the score. So check that box off. Um, sort of like more like sort of like moral victories, like you were thinking about, like who should I get revenge on? Who should I help? Who's helped me this game? Who's hurt me this game, right? And trying to be like, yeah, Congo was the best power for you this game, which to an extent is true. Like it was their most helpful alliance throughout the game. Um, like obviously you can be like, whoa, you took so many dots off them, but also like if you look at their other regions, like South America, they have 0 dots there, and Oceania is completely dead, and India is also completely dead. So it's not like like they still legitimately fared the best in Africa. Um, let's see. So like these moral victories, sort of like who do you feel good about? Who helped you a lot this game and who hurt you? So like, a lot of people play for revenge, and the third is like survival. And again, ending the game is a good way to make sure you survive until the end of the game. And a lot of people like to play for survival.
Yeah.
So I think it really hits all three of those marks. So I'm sending these, yeah, again, these long messages trying to convince Portugal to let me win here, because looking at the order sets, if Portugal helps me win here, I can get a ridiculous amount of dots, and I'm very convinced I can solo this, because I was doing counts for Mughals as well, and Mughals is not doing as well as I was expecting them to. In part because I managed to convince some people to push back against Mughals. Something else that's actually interesting to note, and I probably should have brought up last fall, but last fall Mughals was 1 dot away from a duo impunity. If Mughals had gotten one more dot, the game would have instantly ended in a duo impunity. So that's how
Oh,
close we came and how big the
so
gap between Mughals and Tokugawa is. Yeah, if you look at them right next to each other,
yeah, I don't know why
very
they're
big
at the
gap between those
bottom.
two.
By the way, that kind of
They
screwed
reversed the
with my
order.
head.
Yeah, that's really weird.
So
Um,
you're at the bottom of the leaderboard now, man.
yeah, had Mughals gotten one more dot, they would have duoed. So that's why we see Tokugawa and Ming sort of pushing into Mughals a bit here.
Yeah.
I think the other thing I was talking about happens here, which is Aimara stabs Tokugawa. Um, Yeah,
Oh
Aimara
yeah.
stabs Tokugawa. And Tokugawa is really upset about this after the spring phase, by the way. And Tokugawa starts saying that they're going to throw to Mughals after this happens. And Tokugawa
Oh.
intends to throw a duo. Um,
Oh
well, they're
exactly.
going to give
Like what?
Mughals that dot, yeah, and then they're going to push into Ming and help Tokugawa help Mughals take everything off of Ming.
Because what did Ming do?
Because Aimara stabbed Tokugawa. And Aimara was also
But
going to be in the group
Ming.
immunity. I believe Aimara's fourth on the leaderboard, but like very much a shoe-in to be third on the leaderboard and like take out
Oh,
Tokugawa.
so that's
So
the
something that was
bottom.
interesting throughout this game was like we have the strong duo impunity that everyone's afraid of, and the three-way um, South America
Surprised our
triple is
morale
very.
got that high. Holy crap.
So yeah, I was about to talk about that. South America triple has actually been throwing dots to Aimara to make sure that they're third place on the leaderboard. Um, so you'll see here they're walking down to take Huarpe, and if you look at the last fall as well, Aimara's been taking these thrown dots from the rest of the South American triple in order to replace Tokugawa as third place on the leaderboard, because the South America triple is very worried about a Mughal Kongo duo, but also Tokugawa just stabbed Mapuche, and Aimara is now helping Mapuche against Tokugawa. So they can't have Tokugawa stay as the third place impunity blocker. So they're trying to replace out the impunity blocker and make it Aimara instead, um,
Yeah.
which is really interesting. It
See.
also is really bad for like Guarani's game, for example, because they're throwing away these dots, and that's good for Aimara, and Aimara is certainly going to be in the impunity picture, but it's making it even harder for Guarani and Mapuche to catch up. Although Guarani is also stabbing Dutch right now to try to take more of the Caribbean as well, so that's happening.
Yeah.
which I was in conversations with again because I knew we were all talking about all the South Atlantic moves every phase at this point still. And you'll notice we're still keeping all of the SAOs covered.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a really interesting endgame board. Yeah, if there's anything you want to talk about in specific, there's a lot of, like, I can go to a lot of detail about these final years because I was analyzing very
Yeah. What
closely.
was press with Ming like during
Ming,
this?
yeah. So I had a great relationship with Ming, and unlike Tokugawa, I didn't sour on Ming. Ming is in a really weird spot because Ming could not win this game. And Ming, in my opinion, kind of played themselves into that spot, although I think Ming was a very strong player, at least in every conversation that I had with them. They seemed to come across like very well thinking through all their moves and stuff like that. Um, but I felt like they had kind of placed themselves in a position where Tokugawa had all the power in their alliance. If you look at the gap between Ming and Tokugawa on the leaderboard, it's absolutely
Yeah.
ridiculous. And Ming's position is basically just to hold this army line against Mughals. Um, Something that's interesting, and I'll say it now. The other stab I knew about that was going to happen is I found out from Ming and Mapuche, Ming is planning on stabbing Tokugawa this fall, and in fact follows through with it. I'm not sure what exactly the last straw was. Maybe it was Tokugawa threatening to throw to Mughal, stab Ming into doing so. That was probably a big part of it.
That was
Um,
I was that's what I was asking earlier. It's like what does Ming think about this? What did Ming do to
Yeah, honestly, it was a really strange relationship to see from the outside in general. It just felt like Ming had a very high trust of Tokugawa in general, and Tokugawa did not have a good relationship with most people on the board because they were doing a lot of balance of power stuff. They were doing a lot of coalition chats across the board, and just like in general, they were doing a lot of coalition chats. I was not the only target of a coalition chat. A lot of meddling in other people's businesses and a lot of like asking other people to do things, which I liked a lot in the early game, but until it became, it's a lot of other people soured on it a lot more than I did. I'm more okay, I think, with other people like meddling and cross-board stuff. I actually enjoy talking to people about cross-board stuff, as long as it's not directed as attacking me. But
Yeah.
but yeah, but they had a really bad relationship with a lot of people by this point in the game. I think obviously fighting Qing together was a big part of like forming their alliance and building up their trust over the years. But yeah, I felt like Ming was consistently getting the bad end of the deal, and they were okay with that, and that kind of kept the alliance together. Where it felt like Tokugawa would consistently like um, and what I mean by that is like Tokugawa seems like who wouldn't want an ally who is acting like Ming? And I don't really understand throughout the game what Ming did to be deserving of Tokugawa. What Tokugawa did to be deserving of Ming giving them such a strong advantage in the relationship, if that makes sense. It felt like they just kind of played their way into this position, and Tokugawa didn't seem like the level of trustworthy to necessarily warrant that, especially when they're literally just offering to sacrifice Ming to throw to Mughals because they're upset about Aymara. Like that is not something you do to a game-long ally who sacrificed their game to play defensive line against Mughals for you, while accepting that you would three-way impunity without them. Like this Ming was so good to you. Um, anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So Ming, I think, also said post game and just in general that they were thinking about Tokugawa throughout. I think maybe this was a case of Ming was wanting to stab Tokugawa, but they never had a good window, and they maybe didn't negotiate aggressively enough in terms of their strength relative to Tokugawa. And also, yes, Mughals was giant and on their border, but that wasn't necessarily a problem in earlier
Yeah.
stages of the game.
When we first started recording today, I noticed that Ming had like all of the good like split with Mugos. Like they had Bamo and Pegu. Like they had
Yeah,
all that.
that could be part of the strength differential as well, is that Ming used to have all these dots that they've lost to Mughals over
Yeah.
time. So it would have been a
Because
more
of
fair
like
split with Tokugawa at the time.
yeah, because Mugos I was doing better on all fronts instead of Ming only doing good on like the southern front.
Yeah. It,
Um
it, it was really strange for multiple years where it was like Ming was just straight up saying
and
to other
I
people that
think
they were okay
Mugos
with
just
not winning.
stabbed
Um,
more maybe against Ming. Because he said that they were working together at times. They probably
yeah, they were.
didn't, and then stabbed each other over and over again. But Mugos just kept being the one to initiate and pull ahead.
Possibly, yeah. And Mughals had the benefits of a Safavid and Russia vassal.
Yeah,
Russia vassal probably played a big role. Um,
yeah. So I think
Also, they
Ming just got
probably.
screwed over by
Oh, the other thing
those.
is, as Ayutthaya was dying, Ayutthaya favored Mughals over everyone else. I think
Yeah,
because something about how Ming and Tokugawa stabbed potentially. I don't know, but regardless, Ayutthaya also became a Mughal vassal. Um, so, or at least was incredibly pro Mughals and defended against Ming and Tokugawa to a much larger extent.
hmm.
Let's see. Okay, yeah.
It's it's very fun though, like these late game Imperial diplomacy matches, because suddenly they start act once more people get cut out, they start acting like lower player count matches, but where all the countries are just stupidly large.
Yeah, and have very interesting tactically rich positions. Yeah.
Because like the chain of influence actually does matter. Like it actually just goes across the world. Your
Yeah.
relationships with Ottomans and Portugal matter with Mapuche and Mughals, which those ones matter with Tokugawa and Ming.
Yeah.
But then
And
over
I
here
have
you
a
got
I
like
have a
these
fleet in Indian
guys.
Ocean. Like I'm adjacent to Mughals centers even, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then like your relationship with Guarani and Mapuche also matters
Mhm.
with Aymara, and then
Yeah.
Aymara is the one staff. Like it's not that far apart, like
Yeah.
all the countries from each other. So
Yeah. And the secret to success
you getting
is being friends with
involved
everyone.
in
Yeah.
Tokugawa does actually have some like merit.
Oh
Also,
yeah,
the
yeah.
fact that you keep getting involved with Austria stuff, like
Yeah, Austria and I are
up
great
in the north,
friends.
like this whole area in Europe.
Yeah. So something you also notice, like, and like you can generally notice this about winning boards. Like, look at everyone who's friends with me on the map or like neutral to me. England and Poland at this point, pretty neutral to me. They just don't interact with me. The three South America triple, all friendly with me. Mughals like tacitly friendly. We're talking about duoing together, but also like there's a fear on both sides of the other person soloing. Portugal allies until this stab potentially. Um, Mapuche is also in Austria. Sorry, is also in Australia. Ming, friendly, and they're also telling me a lot about the situation, which is how I know all this stuff about Asia, because Tokugawa was not necessarily communicating as much with me, besides just saying that they want to throw. Um, and yeah, I was somewhat friendly with Russia as well, which told me some stuff about. That's how I found out that Russia was a vast example. Um, oh, obviously good friends with Austria. I didn't mention that either. I was also friendly with Inuit because of all of the talks early in the game when we were doing NAO stuff. So I was getting a little bit of information about.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, I was in NAO. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And I self-bounced in Seawart and moved into Bay of Nahadava. See, I'm
See.
friendly with Portugal. I gave them Cabo Verde. This was not a full stab order set. This is a partial stab order set. I gave them Cabo Verde. So. And I walked in Senegal, and Bay of Nahadava, but don't worry about those.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's funny.
Yeah, and now I'm trying to convince Portugal to throw, and also doing tactics. So I'm doing two sets of orders. One is if I think Portugal's throwing to me, and one is if I don't think Portugal's
Wait,
throwing
how
to
do
me.
you get into Seawarts?
Oh, did I? Oh, that's right. This was not a self bounce. This is a fake self bounce. I forgot about it.
Oh shit!
I tricked myself again. Yeah.
You were thinking about the previous version, man.
Yes, I used that excuse. Yeah. So funnily enough, I played Portugal with Bug as well on the previous version of the map, which is a game we'll cover someday. Which had seawarts adjacent to both North Atlantic and South Atlantic, but you see they cut that
Yeah,
off
it
and slightly
stretched all the
modified it.
way,
So now it's Canary
to the
Basin.
Azores before.
So I did the self bounce and I was like, oh shoot, I thought that knowing that this would not actually bounce because I wanted to be in, but I
So you
wanted to
did an
keep this.
intentional misorder. That's fun.
Yeah, I very rarely do misorders as a strategy, but I did it this phase. In
That's awesome.
fact, this is the only time I think this game that I did a misorder, and yeah, as a strategy.
So yeah, I'm letting him get Cabo Verde.
uh,
Yeah, yeah, I believe
yeah.
you.
Uh-huh. So I had a bunch of different ways I thought this could go. Something else I was considering is like, do I want to maximize my dot count? Because if I'm maximizing my dot count, I should go for something like Maristad here. If you look at South America,
Yeah,
I should support in Maristad. But if I don't solo and the game continues, that would be a very bad move. So I don't want to do that. So I actually don't do that. I take a very conservative approach, even as I'm solo attempting, which again speaks to how ridiculous I am with my standards in terms of wanting to go for a solo or not. Even when I'm actively attempting a solo, which I finally decided to do this phase, I'm still being conservative and trying to do it in a way where if the game continues, I'm still in a good position and people still want to work with me in group impunity. So I'm only going for the solo because I think even if I fail the solo, I'll still get first place in a group impunity. So I don't feel like I'm risking anything by trying it. So yeah, I'm trying to convince Portugal to throw, see how many dots I can get.
yeah. I think 2 are guaranteed here. 3.
Yeah.
right? And
So
then this
the
one.
count I did for after spring again, I can say it again, is if I push hard, I can go plus 12 with a chance at plus 13. Assuming Portugal's helping me, I have a chance at plus 13. I have plus 5 minimum if Portugal defends. Plus 7 is a more realistic estimate. If I full stabbed in spring, that would be plus 2 higher across the board.
To the bottom, even with light mode. Okay.
I believe the threshold for the solo was like a plus 11, was like what I was looking at.
Oh God, you went really?
Yeah.
How much does Mughals
That's
have?
regardless of what Mughals gets. It was a plus 11 as a solo, regardless of what Mughals get. I believe Mughals can go up to plus 4 here or something.
Yeah, but they also have. I remember. I remember this. I think because I think I looked at this a little bit, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe not too crazily.
I think you didn't that much because I think I remember a message after the game where you're like, oh no, I missed the dot counting portion.
Yeah, man, I love counting.
Yeah.
You know how much I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have stuff that Ming is holding on to. So
Yeah.
it doesn't look like they're gonna lose a lot though. Other than that,
Yeah. And also, Ming now seeing me in a position to solo is going to want to give Mughals all that back, is the thing. So.
yeah, for sure.
And I'm trying to. So actually, that's one of the big negotiations that's happening this fall. Is I'm trying to convince Ming I'm not actually going. Portugal and I are fighting. I'm going to go like plus 5 or something, or plus 7 or whatever. And Mughals is going to potentially still pass me. Mughals is still a big threat. You shouldn't just give Mughals your dots back, like take the dots, etc. So it's me trying to convince Ming to keep these 2 dots off of Mughals, because that makes my solo window much more generous. And assuming Portugal's not throwing to me, that's basically necessary for me to solo this phase.
Yeah.
But after many hours of convincing, Portugal finally tells me like 5 hours before that they're good to help me solo. I'm still not even sure if I should believe them. So I'm even like couching into my order set, potentially they're lying to me. And then the phase also gets extended by 24 hours after they say that. So I'm like, crap, are they going to change their mind in 24 hours? Like, that's a long amount of time. So I'm doing the most conservative solo order set I can to keep myself in a good position, still expecting the game to go on. But also, I'm still expecting them to throw to me, and I'm suggesting them to do very specific order sets that can both throw me centers while also not making me take moves that are risky myself. In the case that they do stab me, I'm still not going to be in a risky position, which means I won't even necessarily maximize my dot count because I only need to reach, again, like past this like plus 12, plus 11 threshold or whatever. So I
Yeah.
don't need to go like, I don't know, plus 18 or whatever. I don't know what the ridiculous thing would be, but like I don't need to go for the absolute maximum. I only need to go for what is the safe amount that passes my threshold with complete certainty.
Yeah. Also,
But also
going for the
doesn't.
complete maximum would be kind of counterproductive to their IDR goal.
That's also true. That's the other thing actually, as I was consciously thinking about like, and I even offer them like support in some places. I don't know what exactly, but like I was trying to both take the minimum amount of dots possible off of them, as well as make sure they can actually get dots off of other powers this fall. So like in part of the order sets, I suggest like they actually take a dot from England or something, and some other stuff. Like I think they take
Oh yeah, like support them.
Bermuda or like Brathwaite or something. Yeah, because I'm just like I still want you to have as many dots as you get, like because I don't, like I like Portugal, especially if they're helping me win.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to risk failing solo. And Nuri will never be colored, yeah. If
Yeah,
you want to go
that's
through, we can.
incredibly frustrating. You should have
Yeah.
walked there.
Nope.
All right.
Only efficient movements.
We're looking at it. Looking at the solo
Yeah.
attempt.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see how it goes.
So that's all. That all works. Oh,
Yep.
convoy to Sanaa.
Portugal does help me. Indeed.
That's awesome. You
So
you
we can
keep
look over all the beautiful moves, yeah.
that, and
I keep
he
as
gets
this
a
example,
mecha.
yeah, I'm trying to get Portugal Mecca because just get them a dot, right? Like why not?
Well, it worked. No, it didn't. Never mind.
Just not because I get cut.
Yeah, and they got bounced. So
Yeah.
close, but no cigar.
And there's also some stuff if you look at Tripoli actually, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
I'm
the
not even going
self
for a dot.
bounce.
Yeah, I'm not even going for a dot here. I'm going for a forced to span on Jalo. And
Yeah,
risking losing a dot, which is very interesting to see someone walking out of a dot in a solo attempt. But yeah.
Yeah, well, you had faith in Portugal. It's quite interesting. Yeah, you did end up getting all out anyways.
Did. Oh, this is an example of the dot maximization thing. I could have tapped St. Louis here
Yeah,
and gotten 3 dots instead of 2 if I trusted Portugal here, but I wanted to go for the more safe order set of Monte.
yeah. Because if they move to St. Louis and you move to both those things, then you'd be a dot down.
Yeah, and I calculated this would be enough, assuming they were on my side.
Like how you made sure you like filled the place with your fleets as
Yeah, I'm
well.
still covering South Atlantic, yep. Again, I was very much playing with the mind of like, if this game continues. It's also like, what are you going to do with your units if you're not? Oh, it is actually interesting. I'm not going for Maristad as well, which I could have gotten Maristad here, and that would have been optimal in terms of dot count. But again, I don't want to stab South America regionals. I don't want to start a war.
Yeah,
So I literally did my arranged moves in in the South Atlantic Ocean. I think I literally told Mapuche and Guarani, this is what I'm doing, and I did it. Um,
yeah. You got into the Azores.
I do. This is kind of a clever one here. They move out of Azores 'cause it's guaranteed that way. Because moving to the Azores can't be bounced. And then they support me in Azores. This is the level of meticulous detail I was going to. Um,
That's funny.
it's funny. But I didn't want to risk sending it into North Atlantic because it could get bounced. And
Right.
because they can't, the reason for that as well is they can't support themselves into their own unit, so it wouldn't be dislodged if it bounced.
Did you ask Bugles and Portugal to tap in 04?
I don't think so. I don't think I knew who was doing this.
Okay.
I think I just asked Portugal to. I don't know
Yeah.
why I asked Portugal to do it.
To prevent like I don't know.
I don't
Actually,
know either.
I don't know what that
I
would
guess
do.
just if
There's
the game
only one
continued, it would be good. I don't know.
in case it was like a support, but there's nothing to block anything, so I don't know.
Yeah, I did know this convoy was happening too, so I don't know. It's cool though.
Yeah. It's a cool convoy. I like that.
Yeah, successful.
Crazy that it got through.
Not that crazy, right? I mean, it's a very weird thing to cover.
Yeah.
I
But I
think
mean,
it's
New
clever.
Holland is very suspicious, so
It is. Although it could be going for Sakalava, the Madagascar, right? Or that,
nice,
yeah.
nice
Ming
convoy.
stabs Toku, like I said, yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a good relationship with Ming, so I don't know if I would have ever leaked this, but I don't know. It would have been something maybe that I would have considered if I had a good relationship with Toku.
Oh, and Ming kept this one at
Yeah, and Ming
least.
kept the dots too. And Ming actually was finally showed their ambition. They're like, I wanted to be in the impunity. Whereas for years in the game, they were saying that they were fine with not winning and Toku winning.
Oh, yeah, they stabbed.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Uh,
that's a solo, right?
yeah, this was so, and I ended up going plus 14,
Oh my goodness.
which ends on 164.3% VSCC, which is, as far
Your
as I'm aware,
50
the highest
dots.
VSCC that a 4 center starting power has ever received in Imperial Diplomacy. And this was also the first ever Kongo solo win in Imperial Diplomacy, which I was very proud of. I'm very happy to be the first representative to solo win on this power. And I get why. It's a really,
You get to take over like all of Africa
yeah,
just
like
to
this
do
is a
that.
ridiculous Kongo game, especially if we go back to the early game. Like everything went right to a ridiculous degree. And even then, I still had difficulty soloing, and it still needed a throw. I'm not convinced I ever could have jumped 35% above Mughals
Yeah,
without a throw.
Bugles
Because
had a
yeah,
crazy good position. Like,
yeah. And there's always going to be someone like that in every game, right? So it's like
yeah,
it feels like group impunity, sure, but solo impunity on Congo is so hard because it's such a slow power. Um, and with the new 35, it used to be a 25% ban, but now it's 35%, which means you need to be able to jump a ton in 1 year. Um,
yeah. Also, like the
and
fact that the South America triple pretty much never attacked you. There's that
they did it the
one
one time,
time,
but yeah.
but like not in a serious, like impactful manner.
Yeah, but I think that made sense. I was very proud of my play this game. I think I made myself into a very tactically unassailable position very early on based off of a very strong early game. And I made it so that, and I think this is like, the case in a lot of really strong performances. It was never really the best choice to attack me, right? Like Portugal was doing really well and growing consistently whenever they were working with me, and they had a terrible time when they were fighting me. Mapuche and Guarani, sure, they could have attacked me, but they would have lost on the spot if they did it, right? Like unless, again, we saw the world when I was like majorly coalitioned, when you were thinking about like, oh, okay, what if Congo is majorly coalitioned? Can we bet on Congo dying? Not really. Like, okay, Guarani gets into Cape Co, but then it's like, how do you really continue from here? Congo has about as many fleets as you do combined um,
It'll
around
just be a
there.
really long fight.
Yeah, and then Aymara stabs Guarani anyways, like we know happens, and then you have to pull back anyway. So or something else happens, like England and Poland start bothering them in North South America. So it's like the coalition phase of me that lasted like basically only 1 year, where I went -1. Sure, that could have dragged on a few more years, but I don't think it was very unlikely that dragged on enough, or I went down enough that I ever would have been eliminated from a group impunity. I was in a very solid position to basically guarantee I was going to make it into a group impunity, unless something happens ridiculous on the other side of the world and Mughals gets thrown to in solos. That was like kind of the only threat. And that was
Yeah.
because we have like a Safavid vassal, an Ayutthaya vassal, and a Russia vassal, and an Ottomans now that's also kind of just like done with the game and doing random. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, One of the saddest things, Austria didn't make it. Very sad. I wanted Austria to make it.
Yeah, it is very funny seeing Congo in,
Austria
on
also
the coast
played
like go
really
through it.
well. Like I think Austria is by far the best performing Austria of any of the Austrias in this wave of games. Like all the games that started at the same time. And unfortunately, it was not victorious like all the other
Yeah,
Austrias. It's
this
just such a
is
hard country to play because
yeah
it's similar to
close.
Congo in that it's so confined on land.
Also, Aymara did amazing too. Like this
Aymara did
position,
amazing.
like
I love the South
all
America triple. It had so much character. I liked all three players. They were all great. Um,
yeah. The fact that they all had like a large amount of stuff kind of everywhere,
yeah, it's like you would
like
think it would
it
fall
kind of
apart.
worked.
Yeah, and it kind of worked exactly is the point. Like they were healthily managing this like third place to keep the duo
The
from
three of them
happening.
to get like together had very large influence.
Yes.
Um,
Had the years
and that
gone on, they definitely would have made it as a group, I think.
at least Aymara for sure. Like
I think they would have done it as a trio.
yeah,
Because I think if Aymara ever tries to cut the other two out, unless it's like a very quick trio situation where it's like they jump up and then Mugos Congo Aymara trio, which would have been hard because again you have this big Austria and England that are still relevant. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I could have also seen like Mapuche getting impatient and stabbing Guarani at some point, but at that point, like for emotional reasons, I didn't see that triple ever coming apart. Um, Another big moment of the game that you're zooming in on, England and Poland going to war was really big. Until that happened, those two as a duo were the strongest alliance in the game and were very scary to me. And I was worried about them
yeah.
winning as opposed to me or Mughal. But as soon
Looks
as
like
they
they've
split
been
apart, obviously one of the easiest
fighting
ways to
most of
weaken
it.
a position is to go from working together than to working against each other. Um,
Looks like the border between Austria and Poland changed a lot, but in reality, not a lot of centers got swapped.
yeah, and that was one of Austria's problems. And similarly with Ottomans, this is part of why I feel like Austria is such a brutal nation to play. If you look at Austria's early game, they're kind of pumping out a fleet every year, and they're playing very responsibly with their fleet count. And even still, it's like they really did not get that much out of Ottomans, and it felt like Ottomans were constantly dying and being attacked by all fronts. And yeah,
Yeah, they
it's
only got
brutal.
a lot at the end here because of their crazy Galapagos attack.
Yep, yep, exactly. So maybe they just
Yeah,
need like a Spain that's more successful and also pushing Ottomans, but then it feels like Spain just takes over the Med. I don't know. I really struggle. Maybe
yeah.
we should look at a
Maybe they need
successful
an
Austria game.
I think they need an Abyssinia to be strong and a Russia to be strong.
But yeah,
Maybe.
but Austria is definitely a country that consistently struggles in imperial diplomacy. Um, yeah, what other things to talk about? Something else that's
Like
interesting.
we like never covered North America at all. It looks
Oh, it
really
was a mess. All
it
the
looks
regionals stabbed each
ugly.
other constantly.
It looks so
England killed everybody. I
yeah.
tried consistently to work with Inuits to get them to check England, but they kept getting stabbed or stabbing the other NAA regionals and continuing the mess.
And
Also,
Tobu
France just
got
could never work with
Alaska.
any of the regionals.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we see Tokugawa and Aymara in there. Something else. Oh, something else that's interesting is I was kind of positioning around the throw. I didn't really talk about this too much, but I was positioning heavily as soon as I started thinking about the solo, like 2, 3 years out from the game that I was talking about. Like I was like, okay, maybe now I could solo. I was straight up being like, the only way I can solo is if either Portugal throws to me or a combination of Mapuche and Guarani throw to me. So, and I straight up told Mapuche and Guarani at some points, like in all these conversations that are happening about like, oh, Congo's a solo threat, I was basically like, I cannot see myself soloing this game unless you and Guarani want me to solo this game. And this also goes to like, why were they never attacking me? Why were we always working? Well, I should have told Mapuche at certain points, like, I'm going to do everything in my power to help you, Mapuche, reach the impunity. And if you don't reach the impunity because other people screw you over, like Tokugawa, etc., um, and like you no longer have a chance to win the game, then like my expectation on my end is that maybe you'll have some good feelings about the fact that I helped you do with everything on my power, and that you would help me solo, right, or help me win the game, right? Um, so I think this is part of why Mapuche felt so comfortable thinking that I would never stab them, is because I was consistently like in press, like, yeah, like the only way I would ever solo this game is if you threw to me. And I want you to feel good about me enough to the point that you would throw to me. Um, so I was positioning that for that many years out, and that's also part of why potentially I was so reluctant to stab Guarani for such a long time. Also, I liked
Yeah,
Guarani, I liked the triple, but I really did not want to potentially aggravate a front that was going fairly well for me. Generally, I don't like to be the first aggressor. I mean, if you look throughout this game and just my games in general, I'm very rarely going to attack another person first. I typically get balanced power stabbed or whatever first. Um, yeah.
yeah,
Um,
it makes sense.
but yeah, just to note that like, and again, goes back to it's not an accident. Like I was game planning around opening. Um, and I made a lot of choices to try to slow down my dot count and like help out. Like there's a lot of plans to help out Mapuche around Indian Ocean. Didn't necessarily come to pass as much because of the Tokugawa stab on Mapuche. And when Tokugawa stabbed Mapuche, I did kind of check in and I was like, hey, do you think that you still have a chance to impunity? Are you interested in potentially um, helping me win the game now? Although the triple ended up in a much better position after that stab than I thought they would be.
Yeah,
I
looks like
thought Mapuche was done for after Tokugawa
oop,
stabbed them. Nope.
Mapuche recovered most of everything they lost and even gained some.
Yeah. Even still, I think it's pretty hard for Mapuche, but Aymara and stuff are in stronger spots than I thought. And also Ming joining in against Tokugawa is pretty big, which I'm sure that obviously Mapuche was negotiating to make happen. I don't
Yeah,
know though. It's so hard
Raja
to imagine them
instead.
keeping up with like Mughals, for example.
Yeah,
Especially if I start helping Mughals. Like if I'm like just like trying to help Mughals duo, for example, like this becomes a nightmare. Um,
yeah, that would
like
pretty much be
yeah.
unstoppable at that
Yeah,
point.
I was doing some math and like, because I do think I just eat all of Africa if the game continues, and I eat all of Madagascar as well, because I finished a cores on Beira and Moravia as well, so I'm putting down like
Yeah,
fleets there, or not
and
Moravia, sorry, Delago and Beira. So
and
like, if this game
Michele.
continues, my position is ridiculous. Like, look at all the builds I'm putting down. Like, I'm plus 14, so I'm putting down, and I have almost all the cores to use it. So like, yeah, this would just be a ridiculous position from here if the game had continued. Like, 200% VSCC would be very easily achievable, um, which is ridiculous.
That would be so fun to see. But
Yeah. That's what I was like that was my consolation prize in my void. I kept talking about like, okay, if the solo doesn't happen, this is gonna be really cool because we're gonna see how high up on the VSCC I can go. Because even with this game ending here, and this wasn't even with me maximizing my dot count, right? Like I ignored Maristad, I ignored what was it, like Jacob Fort or the one near it, not a car or something like that. St. Louis, I think it was. Like I ignored a lot of dots so that the VSCC could have been higher, and it's like, how high can I bring this thing? And I
yeah,
die after.
wanted to see the Mughal Congo hyper war. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. I mean, actually, if we think about it, I could have gone +4 just straight off of Marstad, Bara in Madagascar, um, Mogadishu in East Africa, and St. Louis. Just those four +4 this year alone. Um, and then of course, if the game continues, I can just eat all of that Portugal and Madagascar, and then I can start doing stuff in Indian Ocean and eat all of Arabia. And yeah, it just gets ridiculous to see how big Congo could get. And I would be mega colonial sized because I'd be reaching like 64 dots and stuff.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, which would have been kind of fun, but also like also the game is just over and it should be over at this point, obviously, because yeah.
yeah. So I want to play a Imperial diplomacy game where the win condition is half the map.
Oh God. I mean,
True diplomacy rules.
well, first of all, it doesn't work at all with colonials, but even ignoring that, it's like that would suck so much for like a lot of the dying powers. You'd be dying for so long.
Yeah, that would, but it would be incredibly unique.
I feel like a more fun way to do that would be like a draft variant that's like you start with like 5 players or something. Or I don't know, however many. Um,
Oh, like it's just only colonials.
well, I mean, it can be whatever. You're drafting centers.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I don't know what the right number of players would be because you wouldn't want people to just draft. I'm Africa. I guess if they wanted to do that, that's fine, but it would just be really awkward.
Yeah. We want to look at the last few things that I got on here.
Yeah, sure. So I saw the next one you had, which is just like all purple.
Yeah.
There's actually some
This is,
missing. Like whatever. Fido
hey,
is
don't
missing
blame
on
me.
this
I
one.
didn't make this.
Yeah, I
This is
know, I
your
know,
GM.
I know. I pointed them out. They just didn't make a second one, which is fair. The game's already over. Who wants to do more
Yeah.
work?
What Bido is missing?
Yeah, Fido's missing. I think there might be something else missing as well, but who cares?
Nri.
Yeah. Oh, they kept their.
This is sad, but this is cool.
Yeah,
Shows
it's
how
cool.
big you were.
Yeah, Kongo did
And
not achieve
then
the goal of only purple armies in Africa, though.
okay, that's the only other. That's the last map I got.
Oh, I thought you might have more. Okay.
I thought I did too, but
Yeah, it
turns
sounded
out I
like
didn't.
it. Yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Um, Not really. I mean, this was quite a cool game to
Yeah, it was a cool
watch.
game.
But
My third ever game of Imperial diplomacy. Um,
yeah, that was fun. I think
yeah,
that's it though. Yeah,
thanks for listening to a many-hour deep dive into an Imperial diplomacy game. Um,
yeah,
the first ever Congo solo, and hopefully not the last. Something funny, I guess, every time I play a country, especially countries that I do well on, I just get a lot of like nationalistic pride, I guess, seeing them do well in imperial diplomacy context. I'm like, yeah, go Congo, go Congo. Um, or like,
that's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. So I'd love to see more Congos doing well and advice on Congo. Something that was interesting, like I felt like going into my Congo game, this is something I mentioned a little bit in my void, potentially early on as well when we were talking about the first year, is that there isn't a ton of maybe content is the right word, or just like there's not a lot of, especially because Congo hasn't had a lot of success. There's definitely a few that have happened before, but much less than other powers, where it feels like a lot of other powers have a bunch of examples or a bunch of people that you can go to and look at their games and see what they did successfully, and they have all these like super well written voids about like every thought that they've done. I felt like that was a little bit less present for Congo, and especially on the newer versions of the map. Like a lot of those were like from very old versions of the map that were very different because Congo, especially after the Dutch changes that I mentioned in the first video, has changed significantly as a power. Um, so it's just cool to like it felt more new in that way, or like it felt like there was less reference materials and stuff to look at, which is cool. So I'm hoping for more Congo representation out there because I feel like it's very popular as a beginner power, and a lot of people recommend it as your first power to play. But I don't really see that many Congo fans. So hopefully, we made a few more Congo fans, and people want to try playing Congo this time.
Yeah, attack
Yeah.
Rani.
Or Donut Attack Colony. That's actually really interesting. I kind of wish you had it available, but the one other Congo game I'm thinking about that's like kind of a contrary to everything I said was a very successful A2 Congo game. It was like a three. Actually, I won't spoil the result, but Congo ends up being one of the group impunity winners, and it's a very different map from mine, and it involves a very heavy attack and invasion of South America, which at the time didn't have
Yeah,
any. Um,
I think I saw that. Yeah, where they
yeah,
had like all the way up here of
yeah,
of South America, which is quite
yeah.
impressive.
That's the main one I looked into, but then I kind of I was gonna read a lot more, but then I very quickly realized, oh, this map is completely different because it was played on the Alpha 2 version of the map, so it felt like almost all of their stuff was basically inapplicable to the current version.
Yeah.
Also, the way that their game went was completely different from mine, like every step along the way. Like they basically instantly stabbed the Dutch multiple times in like year one, so very very different game. Which is cool. It's always cool to see multiple different ways to play power go well, and I don't expect other people to play Congo the way I did. One of the things that like I kind of took away, and something it just reminds me of a conversation I had very early into the game about Congo. was I was talking to England about, because at this time, going into this game, Congo is one of the worst performing countries. Like almost, especially in the previous patch, I think it might have been the worst performing country. Like it just keeps dying really quickly. Obviously, we knew it was going to be a bit better given the Dutch changes, but we didn't know how much better. At least like playable was the hope. And I think that's probably where it sits, like kind of in the middle, like as a playable power, but not a great power. Um, I mean, most of these powers are playable, of course, but I just mean in the sense of like, yeah, like if you're putting it on a tier list. Um, let's see. I was saying something about, a lot of people play Kongo as a very like, I feel like it's a very like hyper aggressive power, or like they use the like inland strength very early on to try to push someone or bully someone, or like I don't know. I see, and I was joking about being like the friendly Congo, or like not with England, like just wanting to be friends with everyone, and we saw how that really played out in like the early game with being friends with the Dutch and Audron and Portugal and England, and how that was able to like navigate this. It's much more not using your strength until absolutely overwhelming force to like completely take out something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thus having like a ridiculous growth curve, because I think as part of like having the highest VSCC ever as a 4-dot power, this is one of the highest VSCC per year in terms of increases, because the game went 10 years. So it's an average increase of 16%, which is pretty high, especially for a regional. Colonials tend to be much higher on that scale. But for such a slow power like Congo, I mean, I wouldn't ever try to play this fast or like try to win this quickly, but that's just kind of how it went. And I think a large part of how it went so quickly was because of those strong early game diplomatic relationships and trying to be friendly with everyone, and avoid wars at all costs.
Yeah. Being being the one who strikes first uh doesn't usually work out the greatest.
Yeah,
Which is
no, it
interesting.
doesn't.
And by usually I really do mean usually, because sometimes it is really good to just attack
Yeah,
first.
it's interesting. I go back and forth on that. Like sometimes I like hyper aggressive early openings.
Yeah, like
The thing
with this game you went pretty aggressive against Abyssinia early on. I think
against
that was like the
Abyssinia?
only
No, I think
yeah.
you're thinking wrong. I was in a three-way
No.
alliance with Abyssinia for the first 2 to 3 years. I
It
took
was like
Darfur and Azande at one
yeah,
point,
yeah.
but that was fully agreed on or something.
I think they just didn't care. I think that was the thing. They
Yeah,
already got it, and also you were the first one to attack. Never mind.
it definitely wasn't the first one to attack them, no.
This this analogy doesn't work. Never mind.
um,
Yeah. How many? Now the question is, before we go, I gotta count how
mhm.
many hexagons that aren't purple on Africa.
Oh, good question.
Looks
Not that
like
many.
that one shouldn't count because I one got
No,
forced
that one doesn't count.
suspended.
That one's force disbanded, so
One,
just the Portugal
two,
ones.
three, four, five.
That's
That's it.
pretty good.
That's it.
You know what? Screw beating the VSCC record for Congo or even 4-dot powers. I want to see someone beat this record for least amount of non-Congo armies on it. See if we can do better than 5. Um,
It doesn't have to be just a Congo thing.
doesn't have to be Congo. You're right. Pick any. I guess Africa country would probably be the most comparable, but really any country on any continent. Although I think you'll have a harder time with like Asia.
Yeah, that might be a little bit difficult.
Also, like Oceania and stuff don't really count. Like you can't just say Australia. Woo.
Yeah.
But I feel like everywhere else is like pretty difficult. Although Africa's so big, it's bigger than North America. It's bigger than South America. Uh, Bigger than Europe too, I think, in terms of dots. Not like actual size. Actually, I don't know. Does Europe have more dots? Europe is so dot dense. It's really hard to
I think
compare.
Europe has more dots. I think Europe has like 80 dots or something.
Maybe. Although if you count together Austria and Poland, it's not 80, right? It's not anywhere near.
It's 20 and 50. And England's got like a few. Depending on where you like Europe's
Where you
probably
cut the
like
Eurasia line, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's pretty similar. Actually, I wonder because if you're
Yeah.
counting the UK and Iberia, it might be smaller if you count like Madagascar and stuff.
Yeah, depends on where the islands go to.
Yeah, I also think of Canaries and stuff as all Africa and Cabo Verde.
Yeah, where do you count these islands? Are they
Oh,
Europe or
Med.
are they
I would count the
Africa?
Mediterranean as Europe. Yeah, all the
Because
islands.
they're all owned by European countries.
Sure, both in the real world and I think in the game as well. Well, I guess Ottomans is both.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you for
That was it.
watching again.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
And that's it. Bye bye.
Bye.